Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pickside Podcast. My name is Joel Moran. I'm here with River Brown, Andrew Velez, and John Carlos. This is now episode 129. In this episode, we will give our top 5 MVP candidates, talk about the Suns and Clippers 6-game win streak, the Wizards' hot start, what's wrong with the Hawks, and potential Marvin Bagley trades, plus more like Cam Newton going back to the Panthers and OBJ signing with the Rams. This is now episode 129, and a quick Patreon shout out to PJs, Mario, Langston, Jazzy Juice, Johannes, Ruben, Brian, Ricky, E, Enzo, Sean Solis, Sean, The Muffins, John, Sean Triplet, Burner Hoops, Court Cousins, Ben Mack, P. George, Hikari, Mateen, Dave 2 Freedom, and Jay Aqua.
Good old Jay Aqua, man.
This is going to be a great show. I say that every single show because every single show we try to make it as great as we can hopefully possibly try to make it. But this show I'm going to be hosting for the audience out there, because if you guys notice I'm not chiming in on topics, it's because today I'm going to hone in my inner Ernie Johnson and just host the show.
That means you got to be funny.
You don't think I'm funny?
I didn't say that. I said that means you just got to be funny today.
Ernie Johnson has a dry sense of humor.
And it hits.
It hits.
Every
Yeah,
time.
it's like a Jerry Seinfeld
God
sense
bless
of humor.
that, man.
But yeah, I'm going to hone in my inner Ernie Johnson on this episode. I'm just going to host it, so I'm going to let you guys shine, my crew of basketball analysts. Riv doesn't have a laptop today because he feels uber confident in his skills and the knowledge he possesses, although he does have a bit of a brain fog still.
Why did you pick today to point out that I don't have a laptop? You've never done that.
No, you know what? I'm glad he did. Because you better come right. Because you were talking spicy, so you better come right.
I'm ready, bro.
All right.
Lock me in.
All right.
We'll start with football first because I think
geez.
football is
You're toast.
Who's toast?
you
All right,
boy.
watch this.
two major headlines happen in football that have to be talked about. Cam Newton is returning back to the Panthers, and he's their all-time leading passer in NFL history. He revived the Panthers, at least in that 2010s era.
Oh, no
Now he's back. The Teddy Bridgewater experiment didn't work. The Sam Darnold experiment didn't work. Now he's back in Carolina. They are 4-5 right now. 26th ranked offense, but 7th ranked defense. Can he take the Panthers to the playoffs?
Wait, so remember how we was having that discussion about how Stafford changed the Detroit Lions? Could we say that Cam sort of changed the Carolina Panthers?
He definitely did.
The thing is, Carolina went to a Super Bowl. Obviously, it was a few years in between, but it's not like Carolina was like a laughingstock organization. They had a bad season, which is why they got the #1 overall pick. But it's not like they have been a disgrace as a franchise.
So you would say no?
I would say not to the degree that Stafford did for the Lions.
Before Cam got there was a period where they sucked.
No, for sure. No, definitely.
Jimmy Clausen was their quarterback.
I'm not saying they were good.
So you're saying, yeah. You're sticking
I'm
on
not
the
saying
edge
that
here.
they were an embarrassment. They weren't an embarrassment.
Lions with Barry Sanders were actually, you know that the
Of
Lions,
course.
you know the Lions are 10th in most wins all time by the NFL franchise.
I mean, how long
I
have they
did
been
not
founded?
know that.
Were they like one of the OG teams founded?
I don't know if they were the OG teams founded. I think they were, but
Yeah.
I think in the 90s they were a winning organization. I don't know. Don't fact check me on that. Well, you can fact check me on that, but I know that before Stafford, like not right before, because obviously they went winless,
in
but
16. Mm-hmm.
I know that before that period, like in the 90s, they were one of the teams that were winning, and
Relevant.
you know Barry Sanders
Of course,
had a lot
Barry
to do
Sanders
with
is a legend.
Big Barry. The question is, of course, can Cam get them to the playoffs? I don't know. You know, the last time we've seen Cam on the scene, you know, he still had the same problems. He's inconsistency with throwing the ball deep, his inaccuracy. I mean, Cam still has I feel like Cam still has that ability to get a team a win. You know, he still has that running ability. He still can make those passes at times. And, you know, this team is loaded on the offensive end. But I don't know. This team right now it's at a buzzkill right now. You know, Sam hasn't worked. Teddy didn't work. You know, bringing in Cam Newton, a guy who hasn't played all year, a guy who lost his spot to a rookie. You know, it's hard to say that he's going to just come in and not win this division, but make the playoffs, especially in the NFC where teams are so tough. You know, you got the NFC West. You got, even in your division, Atlanta looks good. You know, the Saints look good. And then you got Tampa Bay. It's going to be tough to say Cam Newton, who hasn't played all year and didn't play that well last year, is going to come in and take them to the playoffs. So I'm going to have to go and say, no, I don't think Cam's going to get them to the playoffs. But I hope he does play, and I hope he does play well, though.
All right, so first off, I want to start with good things because obviously Cam Newton, what he's meant to not just the franchise of the Carolina Panthers, the NFL as a whole. Just his swag off the field, his demeanor that he carries himself is a way that other NFL players want to carry themselves as well. He's an inspiration to a lot of these guys in the league. So credit to Cam Newton. I'm very happy that he's back in the NFL. That being said, in terms of talking about his football play, he was really great at one point, but unfortunately at this current point in time, he's not the best quarterback. If we had to rank Cam Newton right now, we'll probably rank him late 20s, in that 20 range. He doesn't have the great ability to throw the football. Throwing the football was never his strength. His strength was always his legs, his body, his physical attributes were always at the forefront of his game. At this point in his career, his arm is lacking. The fact that Mac Jones was able to beat him out in a camp as a rookie after he had a full season to learn the playbook, really get a grasp of it, finally have a full training camp with the New England Patriots, still wasn't able to get the job in New England. Had some time off, obviously, after he was released by the Patriots. Now he's back with Carolina. Carolina obviously has some weapons. McCaffrey's back. Who knows for how long, because McCaffrey these last 2 seasons has been a question mark whether he's going to play or not. Obviously, you have DJ Moore, who's broken out these last couple of seasons, and he was excellent to start the season, but once Sam Darnold's body started to fail him, DJ Moore's numbers started to slip up. Robbie Anderson, who was great last year, but this season leads the league in drops. It all comes down to whether Cam Newton's going to be able to throw the ball. I know that him and McCaffrey are going to have immediate success because McCaffrey and Newton already had time together in Carolina. But at the same time, Cam Newton's one of his strengths is seeing the check down, seeing the seeing the running back in the flat. So I know that McCaffrey's going to be taken care of. My concern becomes DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. Do I think he'll be a factor in some games and getting them a few W's? For sure, because Cam Newton has those abilities. Whether he's going to impact it with his legs, I'm pretty confident he could win a few games with his arms, but not overly confident, truthfully. So I don't know if it's going to relate to them making the playoffs. I think that he'll have a difference in the win column, but not by much. I think that by adding Cam Newton, you're maybe adding 2 wins to the record.
By the way, from 1990 to 2000, the Lions had 6 seasons where they won 9 or more games.
Tough.
1990 to 2000 flat.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Very tough.
60%. That's pretty solid.
Barry Sanders vibes.
Bro, Barry was
Backpack.
God mode, bro. He was ridiculous.
For the football topics, I'm going to chime in. There's just 2. And the reason for that is because you guys know I'm in football mode right now. So
let's go.
I'm actually planning on just hosting these basketball episodes moving forward because I'm in football mode 100% right now. I love this move. I love that the Panthers went out and got Cam Newton, and the Panthers are making the playoffs. This, to me, when they first went out to get Stephon Gilmore, that to me was a move that told me that they're bought in on this roster.
Definitely.
When Sam Darnold goes down, PJ Walker is not good. And one of the reporters asked the general manager of the Panthers, do you not trust PJ Walker? Because that's how it feels like on the outside. And he tried to kind of go around the question, but the truth is they don't trust PJ. That's why they brought in Cam. Cam Newton is going to take the Panthers to the playoffs, and I'm going to love every single moment of it. All-time leading passer in Panthers history. Walking into the NFC, before the season started, we thought there were going to be at least 3 teams to make the playoffs in the NFC West. Right now, it just looks like it's going to be the Rams and Cardinals. The 49ers don't look good. The Seahawks don't look that good. Russell Wilson is back, but do I fully trust the Seahawks? I don't. NFC North, the Vikings continue to lose very close games. I'm not much of a believer in them because they can't finish out any games. Green Bay is the only playoff team in that division. NFC East, Cowboys, only team in that division to make the playoffs. I'm certain of that. So now it's down to the NFC South. The Bucks, I think, will win the division. But who is that second team? Do I trust Atlanta to finish the season off strong? I think there are more holes in their roster than Carolina. Do I trust Carolina? I do. Their defense is elite. They have a top 10 defense in the NFL. Some of these weeks they have gotten a bit exposed, but now that Stephon Gilmore is there to solidify that back end, J.C. Horn isn't too far away from a potential return. Now you have a lot of pieces there, And the Panthers, they just need consistency at the quarterback position. Cam wasn't horrible in New England. He threw for 8 touchdowns and 10 interceptions, and the passing numbers don't look great. But then you realize he rushed for over 500 yards and had 12 touchdowns on the ground. So in reality, he had 20 total touchdowns and 10 interceptions. He's going to give you solid quarterback play. This is the first time, I think, in Cam Newton's career where he has a supporting cast this good in Robbie, DJ Moore, and CMC, at least on the offensive side of the ball. Because in his glory days in Carolina, the best offensive weapon was Greg Olsen, one of the better tight ends at the time. But at receiver, you had Ted Ginn. And Ted Ginn is an okay receiver. He's a burner, but is he as great as DJ Moore? No. Is he as good as Robbie Anderson? I don't think so. Yeah. So now Cam Newton actually has some receiving threats. So Carolina has the offense, they have the defense, and now most importantly, they have stability at the quarterback position. And I was going to mention another team from the NFC South. It's the Panthers, Bucks, Saints. Saints don't have a quarterback. And because the Saints don't have a quarterback, nor a receiving threat, or a tight end, they don't have anything. And Alvin Kamara is out for this upcoming game. I don't believe in them. So I think my final playoff picture for the NFC is going to be the Bucks, Cowboys, Packers,
Arizona,
Rams. The Rams, the Panthers, and the Vikings.
Vikings still creep in.
Yes.
Interesting.
He's
interesting.
gonna ride that
interesting.
one.
They're 3-5, right?
3 and 5 or 4 and 5. They're one of those.
This is tough. I don't think with the addition of Cam Newton that the Panthers can make the playoffs. Panthers are bottom 5 in terms of passing, and that was with Sam Darnold. I don't think as a thrower, Cam Newton is honestly. I think Sam Darnold might be a better thrower of the football than Cam Newton.
Ooh.
At this point. I mean, they're both. It's not saying much because they're both bad.
Okay.
They're ranked 17th in the run. I know when they get CMC back, he'll help them out. Cam Newton can help them out in the run, but a lot of this, to me, is predicated on if Christian McCaffrey can stay healthy. Because even when he was healthy, we saw Carolina winning a couple games with him. So he's that, he's that all-purpose back. He's that back that's going to take a percentage of the offense. He's going to have the ball a lot. So if he comes back and he's healthy and he can remain healthy, I think he'll help. I think he'll help them. In terms of their offensive line, I'm not too high on their offensive line. I saw their rankings. I think they're ranked 22nd and in the offensive line. And another thing that I found kind of crazy was the fact that they had the third most difficult schedule remaining in the NFL with an opponent win percentage of 58%. And right now they're sitting at 4 and 5, and I just think it's too much to ask of Cam Newton, a guy who hasn't really played football in a while, who came off a pretty, average season with New England. I think it's just too much for him to ask to take over this roster and take them to the playoffs. Do I think he can get them some wins? Yeah, I think they'll probably finish with 7-8 wins, but I don't think that'll be enough to get them to the playoffs.
I'll tell you what, JC said a lot of good stuff right there. I mean, you look at what's going on in that division right now. It's a really tight race. You have obviously the Buccaneers, who are probably going to run away with the division.
They will.
Then you got the Saints 5-3. You got the Falcons 4-4, and then in last place are the Carolina.
4 and 5 with Carolina.
Excuse me, that's what I meant. Thank you, I appreciate that. I'll tell you what, Falcons are sneaky. They are definitely a team that I'm looking at and I'm not overlooking. Offensively, Cordero Patterson's had this renaissance. Exact, bro. He's just I think he might be one of the few players that
He's a weird guy.
has broken out at the age of 30 or later in his career. That is just one of the more impressive things that needs to be spoken about more. I feel like news lines haven't spoken about Cordero not nearly as much as he deserves. He's been excellent. Matty Ice has been playing very great, and this is all without Calvin Ridley, their number one wide receiver. Cordero Patterson has taken this burden and put it upon himself. Boy. Kyle Pitts has been pretty good, but he's been up and down. He'll probably will still break the record for yards by a rookie tight end.
He's breaking a record.
Yeah, he's which is impressive for sure. But he had his moments of greatness. He's had his moments of being.
He's only been down because they weren't using him.
It started against the Jets, where he started going off.
Last week, I feel like he didn't do that much. You know what I'm saying? And now he's finally getting this full opportunity of being that wide receiver one, because obviously we know he's listed as a tight end.
JC mentioned the Panthers' remaining schedule and how they're tough. They face Arizona this weekend, Sunday. Kyler Murray might not play. If Kyler Murray...
He just logged the practice, so I think he'll play.
But I think they said he was doubtful.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really?
Yeah, against the Panthers. Defense is very stout. Colt McCoy, I don't believe in him, to be honest.
He looked damn good against San Fran.
The 49ers have a abysmal
terrible
defense. Then after
Secondary's
that,
good, though.
If they can beat Arizona and they can be 5-5. Next up is Washington. They can beat Washington. Then they have Miami. They can beat Miami.
Yep.
That's 3 wins in a row. They can win right there. That's
Yeah.
7-5. Then they face Atlanta. They can beat them 8-5. They face the Bills. That's a loss. 8-6. They face the Bucks. 8-7 against the Saints. 9-7, and then against the Bucks last game of the season. Depending on if the Bucks have to play for anything, they'll probably easily win that game. So I think
Let's
the
also take into
Panthers.
account Saints did lose to the Panthers earlier in the season. So who knows what goes on in that
Yeah,
last
but
Division
they
games are
don't
always
have.
tough.
That's why I
the
say
Jays
that.
don't have a quarterback though. Like,
Trevor Siemian hasn't been awful though,
you really think I'm gonna trust Trevor Siemian?
which I understand and I agree with that. Fair enough. That being
I don't
said,
even trust Taysom Hill.
which is understandable again. That being said, these last 2 weeks, Taysom Hill not only beat the Bucks but came back against the Falcons, gave him a chance to win the game. Just wasn't enough.
They can
defense.
win that game, bro.
I think the Panthers will finish 9-8 or 10-7. And to reiterate my NFC standings, this is how I feel like the NFC playoff picture is going to ultimately finish. I think the division winners are going to be the Cowboys, Arizona, the Buccaneers, and I always keep and the Green Bay Packers.
Mm-hmm.
So the division winners are the Green Bay Packers, the Dallas Cowboys, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Arizona Cardinals. And I think the wild card teams will be the Rams, the Vikings, and the Panthers. I think they all get into playoffs. So that would be my final playoff picture for the NFC.
That don't sound too bad to me.
What about the Falcons? You're out on the Falcons?
I'm not out on the Falcons, but I don't know if I can fully trust them. I just think that the Panthers have a better roster top to bottom.
Can you trust Cam? You think he's going to
I
come in and
think
make an immediate
I
impact?
trust Cam. I really do trust Cam.
So this is a faith thing.
No, I think he's good. And I think in New England, I think Cam Newton has become one of those quarterbacks that is kind of underrated by people. People think that he's washed. He's not washed. You mentioned he's in the 20s of the quarterbacks.
yeah.
You know, he's a top 25 quarterback in the league, I think.
I agree.
Like, for example,
Yuck.
for
No,
example,
it's not the best.
between him and Jalen Hurts, who's better?
It would be pretty rude.
I might go
I
Cam.
think it's Cam Newton, and Jalen Hurts has been playing good quarter. He's been playing okay for the Eagles to
That's such
All
a
right,
be competitive.
all right.
That's such a
Listen,
good question.
I'm not a
bro,
Hurts
to be
guy.
CMC,
but
man, he's gotta play for them
don't
to
do
win.
that.
Cam is better than Hurts, bro.
Come on. See,
See,
don't get me. I'm not a
That's the
Hurts
thing.
guy,
That's
but you
where,
can't
that's
do
where
that.
like the fans will call us casuals for saying that if Jalen Hurts is better than Cam Newton. That being said,
No, I don't
Jalen
think it's
Hur-
casual
no,
take because Hurts is statistically he's been playing okay.
But people just say, "Oh, have you guys ever seen Cam Newton play?" Like it's preposterous to even think. But that, bro, Jalen Hurts has been more than respectable this season. A lot of his production though has come in garbage time of a lot of games. That being said, over the last couple of weeks, Hurts has looked solid. He just needs to be more consistent of a passer.
Are we sure CMC's coming back?
no, he is
100%.
no,
He's here.
already
He's
back.
here.
good?
He's here. He's here.
Alright,
Yeah.
bet.
But that's right now, at least at this point in time, I think I would take Hurts, but not by a big margin. I think at this point in time, I just think Hurts' arm is a little bit better than
You
Cam's.
only take Hurts because he's younger.
Yes, and his arm is better than Cam's.
So
at
back
this
to the
point.
question of like the Herbert Mahomes that we had last podcast.
Yeah.
If you're starting a team today, age aside, let's say they're the same age,
I'd probably
Cam
take
Newton
Hurts.
or Hurts.
I'd probably take Hurts.
Hurts.
I don't know about that. I think Cam is because you got to think about it. In New England, he wasn't working with anything.
Yeah.
He wasn't
No, it's a
working with
fact.
anything at all.
And Carolina's similar, other than McCaffrey. I mean, once he came along, before McCaffrey, barely Kelvin Benjamin. He had that one season, even that MVP season, he didn't have Kelvin Benjamin, only had Greg Olsen. He had Steve Smith for his rookie season, and we saw what happened with that. It's like
And
once he's had
difference-
targets, that's a fair point.
And there's a huge difference between Sam and Cam. And Panthers fans are finally going to get some good quarterback play because Sam
Someone they want to
Darnold
root for.
Sam Darnold is not good. The Carolina Panthers don't have a good offensive line, but when Sam gets pressured, he's a deer in headlights.
Yeah.
Cam Newton is going to step up in that pocket and make a big time throw. He's going to be confident, and I think the Panthers needed some new life. They needed some new energy. It's like a person that's choking on water getting CPR. That was the Panthers. Now Cam is the person doing the CPR. He's bringing some fresh air into the organization. The fan base is excited. I think the team is now excited because every person in that locker room, I don't know this for sure, I'm just inferring. I just felt like they put on a facade and acted like they believed in Sam. I don't think anybody on that offense ever believed in Sam, at least after like week 5. They realized that, okay, this guy is not good. Robbie already got tired of him. Now we're going to see
Tired of hearing about
Now we're going
Robbie.
to see, see, second half of the season, we're going to see Robbie start to play way better. And now we're going to say, damn, Sam Darnold is really the damn problem. DJ Moore is going to play better. Terrace Marshall Jr., on also a good weapon who really hasn't been involved in the offense. Mm-hmm. So this team is good, man, and I think they're going to make a playoff run.
It just comes down to
not a playoff run, but they'll make the playoffs.
It just comes down to whether Cam can be confident throwing the football. Truthfully, that's my only concern.
I mean, he completed 66% of his passes last season.
Yeah, but it was a lot of checkdowns.
I mean, Cam Newton.
No, and that's not. I don't want that to come off like I'm being snide or rude.
It's not. It's not even that.
Yeah.
Cam Newton has always been a short passing quarterback.
No doubt about that.
He's always been an intermediate thrower. Yep. So that's why, like, he's not a Josh Allen. He's not a Stafford. He's not going to throw deep bombs.
Yeah.
So 66% of his passes, the Panthers play that style. It's similar to like Teddy Bridgewater.
Does Robbie play that style?
Exactly.
Robbie plays that style.
You have a deep threat in DJ Moore. He can do everything essentially, but he is a deep threat as well. Robbie Anderson, an obvious deep threat. They're gonna want to let the ball fly down the field.
I don't think so because even with Teddy Bridgewater, they didn't. That wasn't their offensive game plan.
And then we
Isn't
saw
Teddy
it
limited though?
Wins.
Teddy's limited, but that wasn't their offensive game plan at the time.
I feel like they need a slinger. Bringing in Cam Newton's basically like bringing in a Teddy. I wouldn't say bringing in a Sam, obviously.
Yeah, if they had Teddy, if the Panthers had Teddy,
yes,
they have like 6 wins right now.
Yeah, bro. They might.
If the Panthers have Teddy, they're in a far better position. Teddy is a good quarterback.
He is. He's definitely solid for sure.
And he's leading y'all to y'all might make the playoffs because of Teddy.
A lot of it's been on our
Mr.
defense.
Drew Lock?
Listen. Teddy Bridgewater's been basically around what I expected, and that's
true.
But at the same time, our defense really has been a huge part of our shocking success after losing to Cleveland with backups.
Another big time thing that happened was that the Rams signed Odell Beckham Jr. and now they have a star-studded cast: Von Miller, Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, Cooper Kupp, Odell Beckham Jr. They are like the Warriors in terms of name recognition at this point. At least the 2017 Warriors with KD, Clay, Steph, Draymond, Iggy. Are the Rams the favorites to win the entire thing now?
I'm excited. I'm excited for Odell to finally get somewhere where he can finally show his talents and get back to playing the way he needs to play. Are they the favorites? It's tough. You still got the Bucks out there. You still got to worry about Green Bay. Arizona is creeping, but I would say this definitely puts them in a better position than they were before. I mean, Cooper Kupp was already having a dominant season as he was. Robert Woods is still a really good number 2. Now you make Robert Woods a number 3 and you put Odell a number 2 or a number 1. It really doesn't matter. That's a scary duo, a guy who can do it all. Cooper Kupp, he's been doing his thing. Then Matthew Stafford, a slinger. Their offense is going to be dangerous. And then you bring in Von Miller. That's a dangerous defense. I think they definitely – I had him as a number 2 team in the NFC. I had the Bucks at 1.
What about your Cardinals?
Nah, they're young. I gotta wait.
Right.
I'm still ride with them, but I gotta wait. But you still gotta pay respect to the Bucks. They just came up with chip and they're the same team, and they still got Tom Brady, so you gotta pay respect to them. Green Bay, you gotta pay respect to them. They have Aaron Rodgers, and even with all their injuries, they still been able to pull out some wins. But it's definitely a 3-man race, and this definitely puts them in that conversation for real with the Packers, with Tampa. I'll probably put them a little bit over the Packers and right under Tampa right now.
Okay. All right. Instead of a 3-team race, I'll probably still have a 4. I'll show respect to Arizona. Without Kyler Murray, without DeAndre Hopkins, obviously they're playing an inferior San Francisco, but it didn't even look as if Kyler Murray or they missed him at all, truthfully. So on to the topic at hand. Are the Rams the favorites? I'm gonna continue to ride with the Rams. You bring in Von Miller, and now you bring in Odell. I was surprised at this move for sure. Truthfully, I thought that either Green Bay or the Patriots were better fits for what he wanted to do. Not be a second, third option. Second option, I could have seen because obviously the Packers, he would have been a second option. But a third option, I wasn't expecting him to go into the Rams.
He would have been second option with any of those teams except New England.
New England, he would have been 1. Patriots, he would have been. Yes, New England would have been 1.
Kansas City probably would have been 2.
Yes, he would have. He would have been 3. He would have been 3. He would have been third option.
Where?
Oh, because of
Tyreek
Kelce?
Hill, Kelce, and then him.
Okay.
So then you go now and you look at the Rams. Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods has been playing excellent. And Odell, I mean, at this point in time, as crazy as people are going to hear this sound, Robert Woods and Odell are closer than people think. Robert Woods is not a household name, but he still is excellent at what he does. What's going to be an interesting dynamic is is Cooper Kupp going to be the sole slot receiver, or because he's been so dynamic this season, are they just going to continue to move him wherever he wants on the field? I feel like that would be the best possible thing that they could do, because why ruin something that's already having success? Robert Woods is an interesting thing too, because as the last couple of weeks have gone by, Robert Woods and Matthew Stafford's chemistry have only gotten better. And Van Jefferson obviously has been that hit or miss type receiver for them, and that's probably why they decided to go all in and get a receiver like Odell to fix mistakes like last week of dropping 2 balls that obviously Odell might not drop. But I've seen some passes dropped by Odell this season that a regular Odell that I know in New York would not have dropped. So it was just interesting to see that and see that he was willing to take that type of I don't want to say a backseat, because obviously you can't take a backseat on Odell. Like, Antonio Brown went to Tampa Bay, and he's a third option there, and he's still Antonio Brown that we know. So it's possible that Odell goes there, and he's still a freak of nature, especially given the fact that Matthew Stafford's playing excellent football. So, yeah, I mean, this offense only gets more dynamic that you bring in Odell. You can do so many more things, and it's not as if Odell's going to have to come in there and really learn the playbook like we've mentioned. He's a freestyle type receiver, so he's going to be he's going to get more and more comfortable as the weeks go on, but it's not going to take that long for Staffy and him to click. I feel like Odell, if he really is that guy that we all still think that he could be, they have immediate success off rip, truthfully. So does this make them the favorites? They've been the favorites for me personally. You add Von Miller, you add Odell, it only increases their odds to win a championship. But you cannot overlook the Packers, whose defense has been stout even with injuries. Buccaneers, obviously. And Cardinals, who right now are one of the best coached teams in football. So it's going to be a great race, but I'm having the Rams right now.
Odell's going to occupy Van Jefferson's role. And Van Jefferson gets about 4 or 5 targets a game, and his targets usually come by way of a big play.
Definitely.
They usually take shot plays, and that's usually Van Jefferson's role. And last game versus Tennessee, he dropped 2 big plays. He dropped 1 big play. Amani Hooker just swapped the ball. He just swatted the ball out of his hands, and then he dropped a touchdown. Odell is going to play that role. I think Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp are still going to be the featured guys. If they're going to be the X and Y receiver, I think Odell's he's going to occupy the slot. I think Odell's going to occupy the slot more times than not. And this is a huge addition. If the Rams don't win a Super Bowl this year, it's a disappointment because they went all in. I don't think draft picks for this team at least matters because Von Miller's already talking about an extension. I think Odell ultimately picked the Rams because they are in Los Angeles and he didn't want to be in Kansas City or in Green Bay. So Los Angeles fits his personality, his persona. He's with people that he's close to. LeBron James has a great relationship with him and he, shouted him out. So I think Odell is going to fit pretty well on his team. I know that I picked the Rams 2 weeks ago to be my pick, but I've been sleeping on it. And I'm not going with them because the pressure is going to be too grand and something bad is going to happen and they're not going to get it done. I just believe that in my heart that the Rams are not going to get it done. I just can't trust this team. I try to buy into this team, but I can't trust them. And all year, I've made this decision hard for myself, trying to find the perfect team that I can buy into. And I'm going to stop making it tough on myself.
And not pick anyone.
It's going to be the Buccaneers. And it's going to be Tom Brady. Tom Brady's the second best quarterback in football right now. He's the MVP frontrunner. He's probably going to win the MVP. And second year in this offense, he knows it. He's not turning over the ball. And, yeah, the Rams have Odell, Cooper Kupp, and Robert Woods. Sorry, but that's not as good as Chris Godwin, AB, and Mike Evans. It's just not.
They smoked them.
Even though the Rams they just got Odell, it's not even as good as what Tampa Bay got. Tampa Bay got something better. Plus, they got Rob Gronkowski. Plus, they got O.J. Howard. Plus, they got Cameron Brate. Oof. Cameron Brate is just as good as Tyler Higbee. Plus, they got a better offensive line. Oof. So, I just trust Tampa Bay. And once this secondary gets healthy, Jamel Dean, I know you spoke on his name. You spoke badly on his name a couple weeks ago when we had Keith on the show.
That was a minute ago.
That was a while ago. And now you saw that Jamel Dean's one of the best corners in coverage. He locks up. You're getting Richard Sherman back. You're getting Sean Murphy Bunting back. This Tampa Bay Bucks roster is going to win it again. And this team is going to win it again. I've made it tough on myself the entire year, but I'm just going to pick who I picked last season. They still got the same guys in place. I trust them. I trust Tom Brady way more than I trust Stafford. The Bucs will still win the Super Bowl. We made it tough on ourselves, but it shouldn't be tough. The Buccaneers will win it.
I think that they're too injured, truthfully. That secondary, obviously, we've spoken about it. When healthy, it's a solid secondary, and obviously they've shown that they're more than capable of winning a Super Bowl with this roster, as they're one of the only teams. I think they're actually the only team to return all starting 22 players the following season after winning a Super Bowl. So obviously the team is capable. I just think the Rams have too much firepower right now. The missing piece was the quarterback. They went and they got one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I guess you could say one of their missing pieces was a slot receiver, even though Van Jefferson really wasn't that bad. You go and you get a guy like Odell Beckham. My biggest hole for them right now is a second corner. But I feel like with just Jalen Ramsey and the pressure that's going to be put on the quarterback game in, game out with Aaron Donald and Von Miller. Obviously, you still have Leonard Floyd holding down the middle of the linebacking core. I feel like there's just too much firepower on the Rams right now. And it's not as if the Rams aren't well coached either. Sean McVay is one of the greatest offensive minds that we have in our league right now. And if there's anyone that is going to go tit for tat with a team like the Buccaneers, I'll put my money on the Rams right now.
This is the thing. You mentioned their secondary. Jamel Dean is healthy. He's one of the better guys in the league. He's a top 20 corner for sure. Richard Sherman.
Top 20.
Bro said top 20.
Jamel Dean, top 20. What do you mean? There's 32 teams in the NFL. If you're a top 20 corner, that means
you're right.
What do you mean?
It's just weird hearing the number 20. It's just like,
what do you mean?
Nah, but I know what you mean.
He's been playing like a top 15 corner this year.
No, do you think?
Okay. Richard Sherman, always got to trust him. Always got to trust him.
I'm out on him.
You know who else they have that they just recently got? Pierre Desir, who was a solid cornerback for the Colts for years. They got him. Carlton Davis can return after the bye week. So Carlton Davis is coming back. Sean Murphy-Bunting is coming back. So now you got a secondary with Jamel Dean and Sherman, like Desir, Carlton Davis, Murphy-Bunting.
I've seen Dean get burned a few times.
They played already.
I know, but obviously we saw the Saints play the Buccaneers last season, and that didn't mean anything. You know what I mean? So I'm not taking that into account. More so I'm thinking, come down the road, team versus team.
You know what's different about that, though? When the Saints played the Bucs, Drew Brees was on his way out. Stafford is looking like an MVP candidate.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a little different than what it was. I'm not saying it's the end all be all, but it's a little different in the sense of this team is a lot more different than the Saints. Their quarterback was on his way out.
Rams caught them when they were unhealthy at like their most unhealthy.
Yeah.
They had almost no corners playing that game. So it was barbecue chicken. Cooper Kupp was doing whatever he wanted.
Yep.
So I'll give Joel the benefit of the doubt. If these guys are healthy, it'll be a great game. But even still, I think the Rams pull it out.
I am not worried about regular season games when it comes to the Bucs.
I understand.
And
I agree.
I saw the Bucs lose to the Saints twice last year in embarrassing fashion. And even then I said, I don't care about that. I don't care about the Rams loss. I really don't. That's not even in my mind. I just feel like all year we've all been trying to make it so tough on ourselves and trying to say, oh, this team's going to win it. This team's going to win it. Just open your eyes. It's going to be Tampa Bay. It's going to be the Buccaneers. I'm going with Tom Brady. They're getting healthy at corner. Sherman, Jamel Dean has been amazing. Murphy-Bunting's coming back. Carlton Davis is coming back. We know their defensive line is elite. Their offensive line is one of the best.
Yep.
Even though the Rams got Odell, Chris Godwin, AB, and Mike Evans are better than any Rams 3 receiving trio that they can put out there.
That's debatable. Going off this season,
when you talk about Leonard Fournette,
Cooper Kupp has been crazy.
Yeah, I know. Going off this season,
Cooper Kupp's having a great season, but he's not better than Chris Godwin, and he's not better than Mike Evans.
Are we talking about this season?
You can have a better statistical season, somebody not be better than
I feel like he's on the same level as Chris Godwin.
Yeah.
I think Cooper Kupp is on the same level as Chris Godwin.
They're on the same level as Chris, but
in my opinion, I do think, well, when everyone's healthy, I think AB's the best. I do think he is the best. That being said, Godwin might be better than Mike Evans. In terms of everything that he can give me, route running, over the top abilities, catching the ball, he might be at this point in time, he might be better than Mike Evans. That being said, it's not like the Rams 3 are slouches. Cooper Kupp has over.
I'm not saying they're slouches, but they're just not as good as them.
Well, Ramsey's going to take one of those guys out the game.
It's not night and day.
Facts.
You understand what I'm saying? It's definitely not night and day. Like
it's not night and day, but there is a gap.
If they're 1, if the Bucs are 1, the Rams are 2. Like that's easy.
Oh yeah, the Rams are 2, but there's a gap there.
Not that big of a gap. The way that Cooper Kupp has been playing, The fact
what's
that
the gap? I think it's like from a shoe size 8 to 10. That's the gap I think it is. I think there's a pretty good gap there.
It's tough because
who's creating the gap? Robert Woods?
I think it's the third receiver. I think
if anyone, it's like we got to see what
Evans.
Odell is.
It's Evans and for one, Evans and Godwin. Just them two are better than Woods and Kupp. Let's just get it out there.
That's fair.
And then you match up AB and Odell. It's AB. Then if we bring in the tight ends
but
into
needs
it,
to be health has to be played a factor.
But then if we bring the tight ends into it, Rob Gronkowski's way better than Higbee.
No doubt.
Way better than Higbee.
No doubt.
And then you talk about the running backs. I'm taking Fournette and Ronald Jones over Darrell Henderson.
Darrell Henderson's
That's what I'm
been
doing.
A tweak this
I like
season,
Darrell
man.
Henderson, but I think Leonard Fournette is better. I like Darrell Henderson, but I think Fournette is better.
Leonard Fournette is
and Rojo hasn't even been playing this year. He's taking a huge back
because he doesn't listen. I'll be honest. If Leonard Fournette got 95% of the snaps,
that's what I'm saying. This is my final point.
Let's not sleep on Darrell.
Tom Brady has already shown us that the times that this guy go, oh my gosh, Tom Brady has a better chance of going to the Super Bowl than Steph Curry has at making a three. Why are we overthinking this? Tom Brady is going to get to the Super Bowl once again, and he's going to win once again. It's just that's what's going to happen.
Damn, my boy.
Nah, you go the easy route. I'll take the for sure route.
I'm going the I'm right route. That's the route I want to go. And
is this your final pick? We're gonna ask you this one more time. Is this your final pick, or
this is my final pick?
This is it. Yeah. You're not gonna do this again
because
in 2
there's
weeks.
nothing that I can't trust, that I can't not trust about the Bucks.
All right, cool.
I think anybody saying the Bucks won't win want to be different.
I mean, if you go with the Rams, it's really not that bad.
The two teams are the Rams.
Packers.
The two teams are the Rams and the Bucks. I don't think the Packers. They don't have a number 2 receiver for me to be like, okay, I'm buying on the Packers.
But I mean, it's been all right enough to still make it to the NFC Championship game 2 years in a row. So you can't count them out.
But that's why. But that's why they've made it to the NFC Championship 2 years in a row. They haven't made it to the Super Bowl because they're missing that one thing.
They lost by a score last year.
And they got embarrassed by the San Fran.
And they got embarrassed.
Yeah, San Fran did it to him.
Yeah, they got embarrassed because they didn't have the run defense. Most of them ran wild.
San Fran ran wild against everybody.
And also, you mentioned that the Bucks faced the Saints when Breeze was already on his way out. Let's not forget, Brady had a knee injury all throughout the playoffs last season.
No, I didn't
MCL.
know that.
MCL injury. Tom Brady had an MCL injury all throughout the playoffs.
I didn't know that.
Now he's healthy. So now even a bigger reason for me to say, the Bucks, I'm all in on them. I'm all in on them now. I don't know why it took me so long to say that. I'm glad I did.
You've been a flippy flop, so you know.
No, I just picked the Rams because I just something about them I liked. But
they're
like
flashy.
I said,
they're nice to watch.
I just can't trust Stafford. That's what it comes down to.
The Rams are very exciting.
I'm glad we got his bad vibes off. Now we're good.
If the Rams had Tom Brady, I would definitely go all in.
They had the greatest quarterback ever, right?
Yeah, I got to go with the greatest quarterback ever.
I guess.
That's the greatest quarterback ever. We're going to move on to the basketball portion of the podcast. So now this is where I'm going to start honing in my inner Ernie Johnson, and I'm going to be the host of this portion of the show. Like I said before, I'm all in on football right now, just watching a bunch of film on football. So I'm going to leave it up to JC, Riv, and Drew to talk basketball because I know they're much more into basketball. Well, Drew's much more into football than basketball, but Riv and JC like basketball much more. First topic of this basketball portion, Suns and Clippers. They're both on 6-game win streaks. Suns are 7-3. They're second in the West, and the Clippers are 7-4, 6th in the West. Which team have you been more impressed with so far? These two teams faced off in the Western Conference Finals just this past season, but which team are you impressed with so far? I'll start with you, Riv.
It has giggling because it has to be the Clippers, like easily. Like this team, this team on the stretch, missing Marcus Morris, Serge Ibaka hasn't been playing. He's still getting his feet wet. A team that's been down 20, down 17, down 13, like down big on repeated games, coming back, fighting through the adversity. In Minnesota, for example, they was down 20, came back, won that game. Even against Portland, they was down big last night against Miami. Down 17, came back. Not to say Phoenix's run hasn't been great. It's been great. They've been under the radar, low-key, winning 6 games, continuing on doing what they've been doing. But I think with the Clippers being as hampered and injured as they are, being as undermanned as they are, and still finding ways to win games, they were just 1-4 not too long ago, So coming back, not giving up in games, that adversity, you see the Tyronn Lue, the coaching, Zubac has stepped up his game. Paul George is being Paul George. Nicholas Batum has been phenomenal the last 3 games. So it's like people who you wouldn't expect, to show up is really showing out. Reggie Jackson hasn't been great, but he's hit clutch shots. Eric Bledsoe's finally starting to find his way on the offensive end. Luke Kennard is finally starting to get minutes and hit shots. So it has to be the Clippers just because of the simple fact of the continuity, the way they play, and the fact that they've been outgunned and outmanned in almost every matchup, and they still find a way to win games. So I got to go with the Clippers.
And the fact that they're playing without Kawhi Leonard and they're still having the success that they've had. Defensively, they've been stellar. They're top 3 right now in defensive rating. I think only
they're 2.
They're third in defensive rating.
They're third right now. So you have the Nuggets that are 2, and then
Warriors.
The Warriors who are on historic pace right now with, I think, under 100. I think it's 99, something ridiculous. But regardless of that, we spoke about it before the season started. If they wanted to have a chance of competing for a playoff spot, playoff P, I'll give him the respect because he's been hooping, man. Paul George had to be the catalyst to the squad that made them go. We needed to see Paul George go to that spot that he was at when he was in Indiana, backpacking his squad. And we've seen him doing that, averaging almost, 27 points per game, averaging over 7 rebounds, just under 6 assists a game. He's been amazing. Everything you could ask for out of your star player. And defensively, you knew that the Clippers were one of the best defensive teams in the league, but you didn't know how losing Kawhi Leonard was going to impact that defense. And it hasn't slowed down at all. Obviously, not to take...
Crazy part about that is this is the best defensive ranking they've been, even with Kawhi playing. Yes. So this is the best they've been defensively so far.
But regardless of that, we look at the Suns, and I say it's not as impressive as the Clippers because Suns have had their lineup. This is their lineup that they're probably hoping that is going to carry over into the postseason. Clippers are playing without arguably a top 5 player when healthy in Kawhi Leonard, and they're still winning games. So if we're going by impressed, it's a no-brainer. It's got to be the Clippers.
I'm going to take the different route from you, too.
Okay.
I think I like the Phoenix Suns. I was actually kind of surprised when I saw their 6-game winning streak. That's how under the radar they've fallen. But this is a team that started the season 1-3. They've won 6 straight. This is a team that started 1-3. This is a team that's top 5 in offense right now, with the same core that they went to the championship with. The reason I feel they're falling a little under the radar is because if you look at the teams that they've beat, it's not really impressive. I mean, Cleveland's a good win. I think we can all say Cleveland's a solid team. New Orleans, one of the worst teams in the league. Houston, one of the worst teams in the league. Atlanta's been bad this year. Sacramento's, they're okay. Portland is a team that I don't think is going to make the playoffs. But the thing that stands out to me about this Phoenix Suns team is, and it's hard for a lot of teams to do because even my team has done it, they don't play down to their competition. Every game that they've played, whether it's against an elite team, whether it's against a team that's not so good, the Phoenix Suns run their sets well. They play well. Defensively, they're getting better every week. They're about to enter the top 10. And I think that's just huge to me. A team that's coming off a championship that I think we all really forgot that they are a team that really came off a championship. But the fact that they don't play down to their competition, I mean, it's easy to see Houston, even Atlanta, Sacramento on your schedule and think like, oh, this is like, we're going to coast this game. But no, this is a team that's going all in, that's playing every game to the top of their ability. So, I mean, the fact that that the Clippers started 1-4 and where they are now is impressive. But the Phoenix Suns also started 1-3 and they've won the last 7 games. And they've been dominating. They got a game against Memphis tonight, who I think we can all agree Memphis is a pretty good team. My money's on the Suns to continue this win streak and get to 7.
And I don't think the reason why I don't think they play down the competition, I don't think they can. I think they've heard the noise about last year. They've heard the fact that people don't respect last year. They keep telling them it's a fluke run. So I think they walked into this year thinking we have something to prove. Yeah, we just made the finals, but nobody cares. Nobody believes that they would have happened if everybody was healthy. We believe it, but nobody else does. So now we got to come in this year and we got to repeat that success. Chris Paul's getting older. He's not going to be here forever. Mm-hmm. So we have to repeat that success and we have to come in and play like we play every night at our best. So I think that's probably why they play down the competition. I think both teams, they play their best when they need to. They step up and they go out there and they have something to prove because the same way the Suns, people feel like it was a fluke. People think this team was done without Kawhi. People thought this team wasn't
I was
good.
out on them when they were 1-4.
Yeah, people thought they wasn't good without Kawhi, so they have something to prove too. So I think this is 2 teams having something to prove, and they're proving it to people right now. I know it's still early, and obviously teams can flop, but right now these teams are both proving that they they're no slouches, and these are two good teams in the West. I was gonna say AFC.
Okay.
I personally think, like, in the long, like, I mean, what the Clippers is doing is excellent. In the long run, though, I trust Phoenix more. This is the core they went to the championship. Yep. The Clippers are missing their best player in Kawhi Leonard. I mean, Chris Paul's been playing really well. Devin Booker's playing well. Bridges is playing good. This is a team that it's coached very well by Monty Williams. This is a team that's primed, like you said, to try to make another run to the finals. So in the long run, while what the Clippers is doing is incredible, the fact they started 1-4 and they won 6 straight, they're tied with the Suns for the highest streak. I just think that the Suns are just the better team and they're more primed for this continued success.
I think they are definitely the better team because they don't have another guy averaging over 15 points on this team right now, and they still are having success like they've had. You have Devin Booker obviously averaging
23,
but a significant amount less than what we're accustomed to seeing Devin Booker averaging. And then you have Chris Paul averaging around 14 points per game, DeAndre Ayton averaging around 14 points per game. I believe Mikal Bridges. Not Miles Bridges. Miles Bridges plays in Charlotte. Mikal Bridges, he's averaging just under 15 as well. So they're not really having that second primetime scorer that obviously they were expecting to have in Ayton and or CP3. Just hasn't been there, but yet they're still winning games. Why I'm looking at the Clippers and I'm still why I'm a little bit more impressed with what they're doing is because Reggie Jackson is just continuing to be that ball player that we saw him flash a little bit in the playoffs, averaging 18 points this season. Being a big part of what's going on in Clippers right now while Kawhi Leonard's been out, facilitating the offense with Paul George. It's been great to see, and I just think overall right now you got to give it to the Clippers because, like we've all said, no one was expecting them to have any kind of success once they started the season 1-4. Losing to the Warriors, though, that's a slept-on game that
they played them tough.
They were one of the best games that the Warriors have had right now, and people really didn't look at that game too much and just thought, you know what, it's kind of getting to that point where it's a wash now. But now they're on a huge win streak, and people are looking at them definitely differently.
Like, do you trust the Clippers offensively? Because I know the Suns are a top 5 offense. The Suns right now are 20th ranked in defense. I think as time comes on, they'll get better. I don't know what place the Clippers are in terms of like NBA rankings for
they're 18th in offensive rating.
I can tell you this: they are a top 5 team in
defensively. They are.
No, they're a top 5 team in getting open looks. Mm-hmm. I can tell you that. So they're getting their shots. Yeah, they're getting their shots. They're just not hitting. They haven't been as efficient as they was last year. But do I trust them offensively? It's tricky because if you're getting your shots and you're not hitting, then it's like,
who's their second scorer?
Reggie Jackson.
He's averaging 18 flat.
Reggie Jackson is their second.
Hasn't he been like not good these past couple of games I've been hearing from Clippers fans? Last game he was good. 0 in the half, and then he had a 15-point third quarter.
Yeah, he's streaky. You know, he's streaky. His shot selection is horrible, so he's streaky at times.
I personally don't trust the Clippers to just, you know.
Well, one thing you can trust is that their defense is going to be solid.
No, their defense
that'll
is good.
Be enough to win games.
Their defense is good.
At least keep them afloat during the regular season. It's official. Kawhi's not coming back too, which also hurts. But at least they have shown themselves, one, they can compete without Kawhi. Mm-hmm. They already showed that in the playoffs without him. And two, it's continued over into the regular season. It's not out of the realm of possibility that this defense keeps them afloat.
I want to speak to a point that you talked about within the Suns and how they're a slept-on team this season. The teams that we talk about in terms of making it out the West are the Lakers, the Warriors, and we even get some rumblings about the Jazz. Nobody talks about the Suns, even though you mentioned they made the finals. Yeah. So do you think that the Suns can make the finals again?
They could make the finals.
I don't think they could.
They could.
I don't think they could. I think the Warriors are better.
Yes.
I think Utah is better. And I think LA.
I think that Warriors and Phoenix series will be much more closer than people anticipate.
I think that series would be closer than you guys versus 7. Utah.
I like the Lakers versus Phoenix healthy. I like Lakers healthy.
I think AD versus anyone against in that front court is.
It's tough. I mean, could they? Yeah, you could probably say yeah, but. I like matchups. I think Utah matches up really well with the Suns.
And they're basically the same team.
And I like Donovan Mitchell more than I like Devin Booker in the playoffs so far. And then Golden State, I'm picking Steph Curry over anybody not named LeBron in a series. So that's
fair.
That's me personally. And then the Lakers, if AD and LeBron is healthy, I believe only the Warriors in the West can beat them. if LeBron and Anthony Davis are healthy. So it's hard for me to say Phoenix can make the finals.
So what's their second round team?
Yeah, I would say second round team. Because you're going to have to see one of those 3 teams.
So let's say it shapes out like this. Utah plays the Suns. The Lakers will have to play the Warriors. You don't think that the Suns could beat
I
the
think the
Jazz?
Suns can beat the Jazz.
I think they could, but I would pick
That's
Utah.
their most favorable matchup.
Yeah, they would have to play Utah.
That's
I think
the
they could
one
beat the
scenario.
Jazz.
That's why I say could. There's a possibility they could go, because if the
Probably,
bracket
yeah.
works out that way, they go to the Western Conference Finals. It would be hard to beat the Warriors, but it's possible. It would be hard to beat the Lakers, but they've shown that obviously they can do it if we're banged up. So I'll give them that it's possible.
Yeah.
So since this is a Suns and Clippers topic, I want to get in this Clippers question in as well, and then we'll move on. Tyronn Lue, in the past, he got a lot of slack because people felt like he was carried by LeBron and he wasn't a good coach in his own right. But we saw in the playoffs last season that he won 2 series basically with Kawhi not being there. Well, they beat Dallas. They came down from 0-2 to beat Dallas. Very next series versus Utah came down 0-2 to beat Utah. Then took the Suns to 6 in the Western Conference Finals. Has Tyronn Lue finally deserved the right to be called a great coach?
I think so. Yeah, because of the situations. Dallas, they were down 0-2. Even in that one, they were down 0-2. They got all the slouch. They go 2-2, and then they're down 3-2. Down 3-2, and then you're going back to Dallas is a tough game. Then in Utah, down 0-2, then it's 2-2. Then you got to go back to Utah, one of the best places to play at home. You got to go back to without your best player. And then in Phoenix, you give them hell in that series. I think he definitely, and right now with the way the season's starting, for the way he makes adjustments, the way he communicates and he interacts with his players, the way he puts confidence in his players, I think you have to put him as a great coach right now.
What do you think? You think he's a great coach?
Yeah, I absolutely think. What's crazy is I thought he was a great coach, honestly, and it's going to sound crazy. I thought he was a great coach when he came back down 3-1, and he was somebody that I wanted to be the Nets head coach. If it wasn't for, the Greg Popovich rumblings, I wanted Tyronn Lue just because how he makes adjustments. What you pointed to, Kawhi Leonard being out the rest of the series for you to go to the Western Conference Finals and honestly be a free throw away. Paul George hits the free throw. If DeAndre Ayton doesn't get that tip dunk, for that to go 7 without your best player is incredible. So, the adjustments he make, the fact that even years ago he came back down 3-1, a lot of people give credit to LeBron and Kyrie Irving, rightfully so, but he is the person who coached that roster, so he definitely deserves some credit. So yeah, I think it's long overdue that Tyronn Lue should be called a great head coach.
I'm going to wait on calling him a great coach. I just need to see how this season plays out. Obviously, still early. Anything can happen. We saw last year the Lakers were 21-8 or something like that, and we ended up being a 7 seed. It's just how the NBA is. Things can happen. Blink of an eye. So what he did last postseason was spectacular, and I'll give him endless credit for that. And what he's doing early on in the season has been very impressive as well. But I need to see it over the duration of the season. Right now, he is a good coach. He is just on that cusp of being great for me. I just need to see it sustained.
We don't talk about that Nets coaching search as much as we should because the Nets ended up going with Steve Nash. And if it was between Steve Nash and Tyronn Lue and they went with Steve Nash, that was an egregious mistake.
I'm sure they're punching themselves over that.
I wanted
one.
Tyronn Lue. If it wasn't Greg Popovich, I really
Big
wanted Tyronn
Pop.
Lue. Think about it. I mean, he deals with superstars. He's dealing with LeBron. Nets have superstars. He's coming off a championship, one of the greatest championships of all time.
True.
And then he just furthermore proven it down 0-2 against Dallas when Dallas was hitting from all cylinders and they were down 0-2. To come back and beat them, down 3-2, come back to beat them in Dallas, then beat them in a Game 7. Then play Utah. I know Donovan Mitchell was banged up, but like you said, that's one of the hardest places to play in the NBA. The fact that you were able to make it out of that series, and the fact that you were maybe a Paul George free throw away from going to 7 with a team that went to the NBA championship. I mean, that's enough for me to call him a good coach. And just the fact that they were 1-4 this season, now they're on a 6-game winning streak, they quickly turned their season around due to his adjustments. So I'm calling him a great coach.
Oh, I've noticed this trend within the NBA and coaches, specifically within the realm of Hall of Fame point guards and coaching. Players that formerly played in the NBA that were Hall of Fame point guards don't make great coaches. Jason Kidd is not a great coach. I wouldn't even say he's a good coach. Steve Nash, from what he's shown, is not a good coach. Magic Johnson, when he coached the Lakers for that short amount of time, he wasn't a good coach. Chauncey Billups.
We have to wait and see
Now
on
we
that
have to
one.
wait and see on that one.
IT was not that great.
Isaiah Thomas wasn't a good coach. For all
Scott Skiles.
it feels like role players make for much better coaches than stars.
You know who's been a great GM though? That's a Hall of Famer, Jerry West.
True.
Yeah.
Jerry West has been elite at that. He's one of those basketball minds. For
So
real.
between Tyronn Lue and Doc Rivers, you're taking Tyronn Lue?
I would take Tyronn Lue.
You think it's an easy answer?
For me personally, yeah.
I'm not gonna say it's easy. I think I actually would still lean Doc.
Can I ask you 2 questions?
Yeah,
Do you think Rick Carlisle is a great coach?
probably.
Okay, you think that, right?
Yeah.
From the moment Rick Carlisle has won that championship to now, Tyronn Lue has done, if not the same, a little
Easy.
bit more
Fair
than
enough.
what he's done since
Listen,
that. Right?
Pacers are
The
4-8
accolades
right
are
now.
fine. He also see. I don't want to sound like I'm hating because that's why I'm stuttering. But at the same time, play with LeBron. Like he has that benefit.
I
of
knew
data
you were
playing
gonna
with
do
LeBron.
that.
LeBron.
That's
fair.
exactly. That's
I mean,
what
the
I'm
other
saying.
guy did coach Dirk, but okay.
True.
I mean, those 2 championship runs were probably one of the most impressive that I've ever seen. So
And Rick gets he gets the ups for that one.
I mean, rightfully so.
Yeah, Tyronn Lue, I think, deserves to be in that same catalog. He's done something as great as Rick Carlisle, and probably even more greater because it was 3-1, the first 3-1 ever in the finals.
and we always say how badly Kevin Love performed.
And he
so
also-
that's somebody else he had to adjust around Kevin Love's poor play.
And
you
that's
know? Like,
another record too. Last year, coming back 2 straight times from down 0-2, that's another record placed on Tyronn Lue's resume.
He's the only
so,
coach to come back down 3-1
Yeah, so,
in the finals. I
you
mean,
got a few records in his resume. You got to.
I just need a little bit more.
what do you need?
I'll wait
You
till
need a
then.
playoff this year?
Wait, yeah. Well,
I
I think they'll make the playoffs, but I need to see it happen.
Respectfully.
Moving on to the next topic, the Washington Wizards have been amazing this season. They are the first seed in the Eastern Conference. They're
Dinwiddie,
8-3 so far. They're 14th in offensive rating. Bradley Beal hasn't even gotten to the best start yet. His efficiency numbers are down, but they're 5th in defensive rating so far. So Wes Unseld Jr. has changed the culture around this team. And Wizards fans have been screaming about this for a while. Scott Brooks is not a good coach. He was one of the worst coaches in the NBA, and now they get a coach who looks to have a lot of promise in Wes Unseld, and now they're drastically better. And I think also trading Westbrook, a star, for multiple players that can just fill a role has benefited them. 4 players for them are averaging close to 15 points per game or more. Kuzma is just under 15 at 14.8, but he's averaging 9 boards. So how impressed have you been with the Wizards' hot start? Can they keep it up? Are they really the surprise team of the NBA?
Well, you have to be surprised. And you have to be excited because it's like, Washington. This is a podcast where we've destroyed Washington. We've destroyed Bradley Beal. We've said a lot of bad things about them, and yet they've come out and they've punched us in the mouth so far.
They really have.
They've come out and they've played defense on that end where we've said a lot of their players don't play defense. They've come out and they've played as the team. The guys who we thought coming from LA who were complete scrubs, they've come into this new environment and they've performed. Bradley Beal, he looks more like a leader. He looks like he's trying on the defensive end again, and it's been a sight to see. This Washington team has looked legit so far. Can they keep it going? I think that's the question today, and that's the question: can we rely on Bradley Beal and those guys to continue on this pace? And it's tough because, the East is in a weird circumstance right now. You got teams like the Bucks, Atlanta struggling, Boston's trying to find their way. You still got the Nets up top, the Bulls up top, the Knicks up top. It's like Indiana's falling off, but they're not even healthy yet. So until they get healthy, we don't know. Miami's not healthy. So the East is in a real tricky place right now. But if I had to guess, I think Washington can definitely still hover around the playoff area. I don't know if they're going to sustain that number 1, number 2, or even number 3 seed, but I definitely believe that they can hover around that playoff spot because I think when you have the right group of guys that respect each other and that play for each other, I think that benefits throughout the regular season. And not to mention, he said it, Bradley Beal hasn't gotten it going again. I think we can expect him to eventually get it going. So if he starts getting it going, this team continues to play that defense. Defense wins out in the regular season for sure.
God bless.
So I think they'll definitely hover in that playoff area for sure.
Right now, obviously, they've been probably the most surprising team in the NBA. I was very low on them preseason. I thought they were going to be amongst one of the worst teams in the East. They've completely told me to shut my mouth and to start, paying attention to what's going on. But I'm still going to stay firm on my stance. I'm not that high on Washington. They're right now the 18th ranked offense in offensive rating, and their top 4 number 4 specifically in defensive rating. The defense part of their game has been the most surprising to me, obviously, because last year their biggest hole was defense. They had no type of defensive presence at all. This year they completely changed that. You bring in KCP, you bring in Kyle Kuzma. Now we're seeing a motivated Bradley Beal on the defensive side, but now it's starting to take a hold of the things they can do on the offensive side, because it takes a lot of energy to play both sides of the court. Now he's starting to do that, and it's inevitable once he gets his fitness level up, where he can maintain the stamina that it takes to play both sides of the ball, then we'll start to see his offensive numbers increase. But I just don't think Montrezl Harrell averaging 18 points is sustainable. And even with that happening right now, they're still the 18th ranked defense. Dinwiddie, fair
Offense.
enough. Thank you. That's what I meant. 4th ranked defense.
14th in defense in offensive rating.
They're 18th.
That might be points per game.
Offensive rating, I'm looking at it. Washington Wizards, 18 with 107.
So you're probably talking about points.
Yeah, maybe.
So 14, regardless.
So they're around the middle of the pack.
So I don't think that one by any means is sustainable. Obviously, Milwaukee Bucks are a playing team right now, and they're unhealthy. I think that.
So I have this question for you, because, you haven't been shy about you thinking that Montrezl Harrell can't keep up this production. He's averaging 18-9 right now.
He's been stellar.
With the Clippers in 2019,
He's done that already.
He played 63 games in 27 minutes, and he averaged 18.6 points per game. So he's shown for a season that he can average 18.
Yeah.
So given the fact that he's already shown he can average 18, and the year before that in 2018, he averaged 16.6, you still don't think he can sustain 18 a game?
And especially this is without Dinwiddie getting really cooking either, too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's different because Harrell's coming off the bench.
But I want to add this, though. Bryant and Rui have yet to come
It's
back.
a fact, too.
So that could diminish
What's
his
wrong with Rui?
personal reasons. Don't know. That could, bring his points down, though.
If Bryant comes back, he might not get minutes.
Think so?
Yeah, because he doesn't play defense.
He's a good offensive player, though.
Yeah,
Daniel
but they
Gafford.
have Bertans is basically filling in that role of that spot up shooter, and Gafford has filled in nicely as that starting center. And whose minutes are you going to take away that's coming off that bench?
Bertans right now.
Between Bertans and Bryant, who do you really want? I'd probably go Bryant. I'd probably go Bertans.
This guy can shoot really well.
Bertans hasn't really been shooting it well, though.
But he's a better
And then
shooter.
Rui has to come in. Rui has to get
No,
minutes.
Rui has to come in.
And he plays the 4.
But
But
Harrell's
I
coming
think
off the bench.
I think if anything, Rui is gonna fill in Kuzma's spot.
But then Kuzma comes off the bench.
And what about
Yeah.
Denny, who's getting 21 minutes a game?
I'm not worried about Denny.
That's hilarious.
What,
We didn't
what
think
is
he was
Denny
gonna
gonna
play.
do?
We did not think he
I'm
was
just
going
saying
to play.
he's getting 21 minutes. That's just another spot. Rui
Oh
obviously
yeah, Rui
takes the
could take
minutes.
Denny's minutes easily.
No, Kuzma takes Denny's minutes.
That's-
Rui takes
yeah.
Kuzma's
Yes,
minutes.
correct.
Yeah, it could be either or though, because
And
Kuzma
Kuzma's
right now
averaging
has been
14
really
points,
phenomenal.
But then once Rui comes in, we'll see that start to come down too. We've slowly seen Kuzma's averages start to come down.
He has done it, though, Montrez. Like, he's
No,
been a
but-
6
well,
man of the year.
Montrez, not only that, but Montrez, you're acting as if because these guys are coming in and Montrez is going to drop down. 2019, Lou Will was coming off the bench with him.
Yep.
So Lou was averaging close to 20 off the bench with Harrell.
But
So
Lou Will, to his obvious
So
credit,
Harrell has
he's one of the
shown-
best bench players ever.
no, that's true. But I'm saying his production didn't take away from Harrell's. That's what I'm saying.
Fair.
So I think Harrell, he's going to be their solidified sixth man for the entire year. No matter who comes back, who's in and out, he's going to be their sixth man for the year. So I just want to know if you're still confident in saying that he can't average 18 for the year.
I don't think he'll average 18 this season, especially with Rui coming. We'll see what happens with Thomas Bryant. Obviously, he's coming off a bad knee injury, but he was a big part for them, and they've been pretty firm on believing that Thomas Bryant is a big part of their future. Obviously, Gafford comes in and changes things. Harrell comes in, and that changes things too, but you just don't lose faith in a player like that. So if I do believe that he'll come in and he'll steal some minutes and his points will go down. Listen, I said the same thing with Kuzma. His started to come down, both points and rebounds. It's inevitable we see Harrell's comes down.
Inevitable.
I've been extremely impressed with the Wizards. Obviously, they're 8-3. They're playing really well. They're number 7 in point differential, which I think that really stands out to me. They're number 3 in rebounds per game. Kyle Kuzma's been stepping up on the glass. Montrezl Harrell's basically giving you a double-double. Gafford could rebound. So they're a team that could rebound the ball. And while I was, looking through their stats yesterday, to Joel's point, they have 4 double-digit scorers. Beal's averaging 23, not as efficient, not as much points per game as last year, but it doesn't matter. They're winning. It doesn't matter. Montrezl Harrell's giving you 18 and 9 off the bench. Like Joel said, he's done that with the Clippers before. He's played this role before. I think the Lakers just misused him. I think he really wasn't a good fit to begin with there. I think Washington's a better fit because they need more of them. In Los Angeles, they didn't really need much. Washington, they need much because this is a collective team. Spencer Dinwiddie's giving you 15 and 6 a game. Kuzma's giving you 15 and 9. And then KCP is just under 10 points per game. So he's playing his role player, 3-and-D type of player. They're a number 11 ranked defense. I didn't think defensively they were that good, but for a team like that to almost be top 10, that's showing me that that they have the potential to be a top 10 defensive unit. And they're top 10 in opponents' points per game as well. So I mean, this is a team that plays together. Obviously, you have 4 double-digit scores. You don't have anybody that Bradley Beal has kind of surprised me this year because he hasn't really been dominating the ball as much as he was with Westbrook. Because you have these other players that can chip, and you have Harrell giving you 18 and 9. Yeah, Spencer Dinwiddie giving you 15. I don't think Spencer Dinwiddie's even at his best form right now. I easily think Spencer Dinwiddie can give you 18 and 19 points per game. He's been, his couple games have been off to like a little rough start, but it's only 10 games in the season, so we'll see. I think Dinwiddie's going to get better. 15 and 9 for Kuzma. I think that's sustainable. I mean, he's been really good on the glass this year. He's had seasons in LA where he's averaged 19 points per game, so to think that he can't really give you 15 a game, I think that's his max. Harrell, like I said with Joe, I agree, can give you 18 and 9. Somebody that, I might have to revise my 6th man of the year rankings because he's been playing so well. So, I mean, the fact that this team plays together, they're playing an all-around game, everybody's chipping in. I like this team. Their next 3 games are against all of them are like really bad teams. They play the Pelicans twice, and I think they play somebody else. So they're only going to continue to keep playing really well. I don't think they're going to finish number 1. Obviously, I think, Miami's going to get better when Jimmy Butler comes back and gets healthy. Brooklyn, you have the Bulls playing out of their mind. The Bucks aren't going to be 6-6 for long. So, no, I don't think that they're going to be the number 1 seed, but I think this is a team that you can look at and say, okay, maybe they can be anywhere from the 6th to 8th seed in the East, and I think that's pretty good.
You mentioned Thomas Bryant coming back. I just don't know whose minutes he's going to take. I don't. And you talk about the investment, but he's an unrestricted free agent next season. So there's nothing invested into him long-term as a player. Daniel Gafford has changed around their defense. He's been an anchor for their defense. He's one of the better defensive bigs in the league. Yes. Then behind him, Montrezl Harrell's that starting 5. Is that backup 5. He's the 6th man. So if Rui does come back, Raul Neto's going to get his minutes because he's a defensive and he's just a rugged point guard. Aaron Holiday is going to get his minutes. I just don't see how Bryant fits into the fold of things.
That's rough.
Well, especially with the skill set that he offers, because Bryant he's a good shooter. He's an okay shooter, but he doesn't play defense.
Yeah.
And this team is right now trying to cultivate
we didn't
a defensive identity.
We didn't think Beal would play defense. So maybe now that they're actually a defensive-minded
probably
team,
maybe get him to play defense.
We'll see what happens.
It's a little bit different, though, as opposed for a guard than a big man, because Bradley Beal wasn't playing defense these last couple of seasons because he had averaged 30.
Definitely.
And we even talked about it, how Bradley Beal was never that type of player that can give you that 30 when he has a good supporting cast. When he has a good supporting cast, he is going to hover around 23 to 26 a game. And now we're seeing it right now. Mm-hmm. Thomas Bryant, it's not like he had to take a backseat on defense to give out this great offensive output. He's averaging like 10 a game.
Which is going to be curious.
And your center's supposed to be your defensive
It's
anchor.
Curious because Rui's also a very bad defender. So it's going to be interesting to see when they do come back eventually how that's going to work, because this team is clearly taking the defensive route.
Mm-hmm. I think the difference in that is that Rui, there's really no backup 4 on this team.
Yeah.
You have Harrell, then it's Bertans at the 4, or Rui at the 4. Denny Advia, Aaron Holiday, Raul Neto. Like, I think their guard spots are solidified because they don't really have anybody to play those guard spots. But then at the 3, 4, and 5, it's Bertans, Rui, and Denny. Rui can easily get in over Denny.
Yeah.
Because Denny isn't the best of defender either, and you would rather have Rui's offense. It's going to be interesting to see if he comes back, who's going to take that back seat if maybe KCP comes off the bench. I highly doubt that.
Yeah,
so that's what I think. But I think this team is off to a great start, and I do think that these averages are sustainable. Like, I think Kuzma has shown us in the past that he can average around 15. Carroll has shown us in the past he can average 18. KCP has shown us in the past he can play great defense,
no doubt,
and then just be a shooter. And Bradley Beal has shown us that he's one of the best scorers in the league. So this all to me is sustainable. And like you said, Dinwiddie hasn't been playing his best. Like Dinwiddie, we know can average close to 19, 20 a game, and he has kind of been inefficient these last couple of games. So once all this gets going, it's going to be interesting to see how it all shapes out.
Yeah.
But then again, it is very early in the season.
Definitely. Yeah. Super early.
And the Cavaliers are another team in the East that it's early, and they have had some success. They are 7-5 right now, even though they did lose Colin Sexton. That's a huge loss, and I think you mentioned it, Drew, that he's out for the year at this point. Basically,
almost, yes.
Out for so he's going to be out for a long portion of the season. They have 6 players averaging in double figures. Take out Colin Sexton now because he's not going to be playing in a while. Last season, Cleveland started out 8-7, and they finished the year off 14-43. Do you think that's going to be their same fate this year? Do you have more faith in this team? What's your thoughts?
I'm going to say I probably have a little bit more faith in this team because of the fact that they're much better defensively. You know, I think when you watch them play, you can see the effort is there. You can see the willingness to communicate is there. You can see on 1 through 5, you know, 1 through 5, that as long as the effort is there. Last year, you saw a lot of lackadaisical plays. You saw guys giving up easily. As long as the effort is there, they'll definitely be fine. And then with the addition of Evan Mobley, you know, you could just see a different team. You know, he's able to go out there, guard the perimeter, guard the paint. You know, he's been phenomenal as a rookie. And then the steady improvement of Darius Garland, you know, him as a playmaker, his initiation into the offense, you know, he's shooting better. He's not taking those long ball threes or those heat checks. You know, he's become much better as a point guard, and that's what you like to see. And even Colin Sexton, you've seen some improvement in his game, but of course he went down for the season. Lauri Markkanen, you see improvement in his game. You know, he's starting to play defense on the other end. So, and even Kevin Love, he's showing effort. So it's like this team is showing a collective effort. It's just, you know, the depth. The depth was always the problem with me. Ricky Rubio's been great. Cedi Osman, do you trust him for a year? You know, he struggled a little bit last year. He was pretty inefficient. Do you trust him for a year? Lamar Stevens, do you trust him, a player like that? Taco Fall, I don't want to see him in a game. That's just me personally. I don't want to see him get in at all. But
come on, bro.
No, I don't. Like, I don't.
Like seeing tall people.
No, he's whack. No, he's whack. Like, he's whack.
He is whack.
Yeah, he's terrible. But you know, so this Cleveland team
couldn't even keep it up.
Yeah, this Cleveland team it's a different vibe, but nonetheless, I think they can definitely improve the competitiveness. I don't know if they're going to continue to win games, but I think they can be as competitive as they've been. It's just I don't know if they're going to be able to finish out games, especially with Colin Sexton missing. Because a perfect example, I was watching the Cleveland and the Clippers game, and Colin Sexton, every time Clippers try to make a run, Colin Sexton put it away. His defense, his tenacity, his effort. So I don't know if they're going to continue this, but I think the competitiveness is what's going to keep them alive.
It's going to be tough for them, truthfully, especially after they lose probably their best scorer in Colin Sexton. But as you mentioned, Garland has had a great increase in his play. His efficiency has been excellent, averaging 47% from the field, 41% from three-point range. He's been great, averaging 7 assists per game. He's been everything that you could hope for from the Cleveland Cavaliers organization. Why I have some hesitancy thinking that they could sustain it is because 7-5, and yes, I got to give them their credit right now. Top 14 in offensive rating, top 12 in defensive rating. But now we're going to start to see whether they're for real or not. This schedule gets pretty tough. Detroit, they should win, given the fact that obviously they've shown some steady improvement, which will be pretty interesting. And Cade has been cooking up these last couple of games. But they should win that game. 2 games back-to-back against Boston. If they're like that, they split. But Boston has been playing pretty well lately. Then they play Brooklyn, Golden State, Brooklyn again, Phoenix. Shit. It's a tough span of games. And then you got Orlando, which Orlando's not a gimme win, but obviously Orlando's not the best of teams, but they've been playing hard lately. Then you got Dallas and Miami. So it's a tough schedule coming up, and they're 7-5 still. So
their November, December stinks.
One thing to their credit, they have, I think, 5 or 6 guys averaging double-digit points, which is pretty impressive. But then you take out Colin Sexton. Obviously, you're going to probably expect Mobley and or Garland to have an increase in their points. But even still, Sexton was only averaging a point higher than what they were already. So it's going to be tough to see them sustain that or ask these guys who already are not the most efficient scorers and Mobley and Garland to take that much of an increase in their game. I just think that they're too young, and it's sustainable is probably not the word I would use. I just think that they're going to be a mediocre team for the rest of the season.
Playing or no?
I think it's possible.
Playing.
You think so?
I'm banging it. Playing.
Like 9-10.
A sports surgeon. There was an article that said a sports surgeon said he believes Colin Sexton could return in 4 weeks. That's
what's
being
the injury?
optimistic. Torn meniscus.
Ooh. When did he do that?
Recently.
Yeah, it was recently.
Damn.
Like, that's best case scenario.
That's best case scenario 4 weeks.
Torn meniscus.
And worst
4
case scenario is
weeks.
he's done.
Worst case scenario is that he's gonna miss a significant amount of time. I'm not sure what that time is. I don't think it'll be for the entire season.
I didn't think it was the whole season.
I think probably like January.
So we said a fully torn meniscus is 4 weeks now?
Doctors are crazy nowadays, apparently. I'm about to look.
It depends because the doctor said that it might just be a bone bruise.
Okay.
So it's depending on what it is.
So they didn't go check it yet?
Yeah, they didn't go check. I think MRIs are coming out soon. I'm not sure, though.
Sustain this level of play, I mean, I think this team, I could picture this team getting in as the 8th seed. I think this is a good young team. This is a team with, good young players. Hopefully Colin Sexton comes back because that only helps their team. But so far, this is a team that's 9th in opponents' points per game. They're number 6 in paints in the points, so points in the paint. Number 6 in assists per game. Number 6 in free throw attempts per game, and number 9 in shooting. And the wins that they've had this season, I mean, at the start of the season, they played the Hawks. I mean, we all thought the Hawks were going to be a good team. So I was going to count that as a good win because we all thought the Hawks were going to beat. Obviously, they haven't been that as advertised, but
I still think
they got the Hawks. They beat the Hawks. They beat the Nuggets. They beat the Clippers, Hornets, Blazers, Raptors, and Knicks.
Yeah, they got some
so
wins
they
under
don't
their
have
belt.
any non-impressive wins. And then if we look at their player stats, I mean, Colin Sexton, albeit he's not there anymore, he's giving you 16 points per game. Darius Garland's giving you 16 and 7. He's improved as a playmaker. Evan Mobley, who was my pick for Rookie of the Year, is giving you 15 points, 8 rebounds a game with a steal on the block, playing stellar defense. Jared Allen, who, is, if you're a Nets fan, he's a fan favorite. Good to see that he's still playing. He's playing well, and he's getting better. He's giving you 15 points, close to around 12 rebounds a game, a steal on the block. We already know that he's been a good defender. Ricky Rubio, I mean, he had a game where he had 37 against the Knicks. Obviously, that's not sustainable, but Ricky Rubio is a solid point guard. And, I don't know if around the trade deadline they might trade him. If they're playing well, they might keep him off the bench. Laurie's giving you 13 and 6. And then Kevin Love's giving you 11 and 7. So they have 6 players in double figures, but if you subtract Colin Sexton, they have 5. This is a team like the Washington Wizards. It's a collective team. There's not one person that's really dominating the basketball. This is a complete team effort. So yeah, I mean, I think that this team can be an 8th seed. I think if they get in the play-in, whether it be 10 or 9, I think they beat whoever they play, and I think they have a chance of getting into the playoffs anywhere from 8 to 7 seed. They're 7-5 right now. What Drew said was correct. We're gonna see what they do when they start playing these tough opponents. We're gonna see what this team is really made of. But this is just a season where the Cavaliers have improved, and with the player Evan Mobley, they're kind of like ahead of like my expectations for them because I didn't think that he was going to come and make this much of an impact this early until I started watching the game, started watching the preseason. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think that this team can be the 8th seed. Just in my mind, I don't know why I just see them being the 8th seed and playing the 1 seed in the playoffs when the playoffs comes. But, yeah, I think this team's going to make the playoffs. I think they're really good. They play collectively together. And, hopefully Colin Sexton comes back because that's only going to make them better.
This is a win-win for them, honestly. If they win games, it only helps the young players. And if they lose, another lottery pick to add to this core. So win-win for them, honestly.
Evan Mobley's averaging 15 and 8 right now.
He's been solid.
He has been arguably the best rookie so far. Yeah. So what you said about the Cavs, I think they're a bit different from Washington because Washington has Bradley Beal. Mm-hmm. They have a star. Mm-hmm. At Cleveland, they don't have a star. Mm-hmm. They have budding stars. Darius Garland hasn't taken that next leap. He hasn't taken a gigantic leap. He's been more efficient, but he hasn't been like top 10 point guard category now, or he hasn't been playing at that level. Colin Sexton now out. Lauri Markkanen, average player. Like Evan Mobley, arguably now is their best player with Sexton out. And even with Sexton in the lineup, Mobley was arguably the best player before.
I do want to see Garland be more aggressive in the offensive side of the game. Obviously.
It has to be now.
He definitely has to be. And now, obviously, you're probably taking around 12 to 14 unaccounted shots with Colin Sexton, minimum. Colin Sexton being out. that's going to probably be divvied up amongst Garland and Mobley. But this is what, Garland's third year now, fourth year?
No, this is third.
Third year. I want to see him be a little bit more aggressive. Obviously, he's already upped his, I wouldn't say upped because last year he was still pretty efficient points per game. I want to say he was around like 16, 17. So I want to see those numbers continue to jump. His assist totals, if they stayed around 7, 8, I'm not going to complain because they're already up from last season. But I do want to see those points per game get close to 20, especially if we're projecting him to be a future top 10 point guard.
Yeah.
And this is his moment to really stake that claim.
I think he could be one.
I mean, it's kind of hard, to get your shots off when you're playing with Colin Sexton.
He's going now.
That's a
so
fact.
We're going to see now what he does.
And then this will really show, I don't mean to cut you off, King, but this will really show if the Cavs were in the right mindset of trying to get Colin Sexton off the team. If they start playing more together, if we start to see Garland and Mobley have great chemistry with one another, and Garland's points per game comes up and they're winning games, then I can understand the Colin Sexton trade talk. But if they're around middle of the pack, similar to what they were last season, then they still have to look at Colin Sexton in a different light. And
you just mentioned a worst case scenario for the Cavs.
Yeah.
Because if that happens and Sexton can't be traded, what is he going to be traded for? Can't get nothing for him.
I wouldn't say nothing for him. I just think that if they understand, certain players just don't fit a team sometimes. That just happens. Obviously, if you're good enough, you could fit on any roster. It's just his style of play is not, or might not be beneficial for the Cavaliers, depending on how it goes these next chain of games. Especially because Garland, I wouldn't say needs the ball to be efficient, because obviously he doesn't, but he knows how to facilitate an offense significantly better than what Colin Sexton can do.
That's true. I mean, Sexton is a 6'1" shooting guard.
Exactly, which is why I think.
But I'm saying, back to your point, what I'm saying is that Sexton is a 6'1" shooting guard.
Yeah.
Sexton, in the offseason, no team wanted to trade anything significant for him. So him having a torn meniscus, if the Cavaliers play better without him, you can't get anything for him. What are you going to get for him? Yeah. A second-round pick? Maybe a late first-rounder at best?
I wouldn't say.
Especially if he's a restricted free agent, you can't get nothing from him at that point. So best-case scenario for the Cavs is to...
I was going to say, it's like...
Yeah, he was like 25 last year. Nobody cared.
Nobody cares.
I can't get on board
That's
with
crazy.
that.
He really averaged 25.
Bro,
I like Colin.
Jerry Stackhouse.
The Atlanta Hawks are coming off a Eastern Conference Finals appearance, but they started off the season pretty slow. They started off 4-8. Trae Young is averaging 24-9, shooting 42% from the field goal and 33% from three. So he hasn't taken too big of a dip. And across the Hawks players' numbers, they're pretty efficient. DeAndre Hunter, Cam Reddish has really played better this year. Bogdanovich is still shooting 40% from three. The only player that's taken a big hit has been Clint Capella. He's averaging 10 points, career low. Well, outside, like career low when he plays these much minutes.
Yep.
They're one of the worst seeds right now. They're one of the worst teams in the East record-wise. But last year, they were 14-20 with Lloyd Pierce. They were the 11th seed. Then they got Nate McMillan and went on a gigantic run. So last year, they started off slow as well. I don't know if it's time to quite hit the panic button on this team, but it seems like on the outside, there's a lot of noise about this team isn't the same. So I'll take it to Riff because he's a Hawks expert. He loves to watch the Hawks. To watch Cam Reddish be worse than RJ Barrett. So I want to ask you, what do you think about the Hawks? Do you think there's something wrong with them? Are you concerned about them? Do they look like the same team that they were last season?
No, they don't look like the same team that they were last year. And the difference with last year was they were 14-20 and they made a coaching change and Nate McMillan came in. He instilled this type of culture. He instilled that discipline. And Nate McMillan is still there. Why is that same discipline not there coming into this season, So they're not playing defense. That's just call it like how we see it. The Hawks aren't playing defense.
25th ranked defense.
You mentioned Clint Capella. He's shooting his lowest percentage at the rim at 59% this year. He was supposed to, last year when they got him, he was that guy that anchored that defense for them. And this year he just hasn't been the same. Trae Young, we know what he is in the defensive end, but the team as a whole hasn't been good on defense. And they're blowing leads. Like, they're blowing games. Even you brought it up, that Suns game, they blew that game. That was a Hawks win, and they blew that game.
It really was.
So it's like this team the discipline hasn't been there, and Nate McMillan hasn't been able to instill that same system that he employed last year that got them to where they are, that got that mentality that they had last year, it's not in them right now. I feel like they feel too big of themselves, and they're not playing defense. Granted, Cam Reddish has played better. He looks really great off the bench. Trae Young hasn't gotten it going, but he's going to figure it out eventually. And like you said, the team is fine. It's just defensively they haven't been able to stick, and they have good defensive players. So on defense, they just have to figure it out. The discipline has to get there. But like you said, I'm not going to push the panic button, but it's not the same as last year because they made a coaching change, and then everything was different. They got a player coach. With this situation, they're just not playing defense. And whether it's I don't even know why they're not playing defense. I mean, maybe they just come into the games lazy, or they just don't have that same drive, or they just feel like they're bigger than the world because they just came off ECF. But this team is just not playing defense, and there's no other way you could put it.
Another issue of theirs is their depth right now. We're looking at their bench unit right now. You got Horder, who has just been, I guess, disappointment would be a bit of an understatement right now. Horder's shooting from the field 44%, and then from three, 35%. 35% isn't bad, but for Horder's standards, that definitely could be better.
Those are pretty good. Those are pretty good numbers for a guard.
For regular, for sure. But in terms of what Horder can do from from the 3-point range, you want to see that increased a little bit. Then you have Danilo Gallinari averaging his field goal percentage is 37% from the field, shooting around 38% from three, which is solid. Then you have Lou Will, who I don't know what Lou Will is at this point in time, but I guess. If you're Atlanta, you needed him to be some kind of spark for you off the bench. Hasn't been the case at this point. Shooting 32% from the field, and then from 3-point range, 27% from that territory. They need some depth right now, and it's a lot of Trae Young shouldering. It's a lot of John Collins right now shouldering. And if John Collins and Trae Young are the only two that are going right now, and Trae Young really hasn't gotten going, obviously we expect his 3-point shooting and his field goal percentage to increase a little bit. But Trae Young shot around this basically last season. I mean, if you could do me a favor, look up what Trae Young shot last season. And if it's more than 2% variation from 33%, I'd be shocked.
He shot 34% from three.
So it's not as if Trae Young is doing anything or playing any really different than what he's doing last season. It's just his points per game right now is just a little bit down, and the rest of his guys really haven't been performing.
The foul baiting.
He's still averaging 24.
Yeah, but he
was averaging 30.
With Atlanta, you can tell them not getting calls frustrates them more than any other team in the league.
But I feel like as if even still,
he averaged 25 last year's averaged 24 now.
Yeah, so like
Trae Young's not the problem. It's the rest of these guys on their bench unit right now that need to just take their play right now and turn it up a notch.
Think Trae Young's a problem?
Why is Trae the problem now?
When you're the leader of the team,
I guess,
and the guys follow you. Like if Joel is up here, right, and Joel comes in here with a bad attitude, or somebody makes a phone call to Joel and it just throws his mood off, then it's gonna affect us. Then our moods are down. He comes on the show, he's not feeling it, he's giving attitude, then we're going to kind of feed off him. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's the same with Trae Young. You're the leader of this team. They don't give you a call, and now all of a sudden the team's going to feed off your energy, and then all of a sudden it's infectious. It's going to affect everybody.
Let's just look at the starting roster and their splits right now. You have John Collins, who's shooting 58% from the field and 45% from three. That's excellent. You still got Bogdanovich shooting 45% from the field and 40% from three. Reddish shooting 41% from the field, which could be a little bit better, but then 39% from three.
He takes a lot of threes.
And obviously he's not a starter, but he's like one of their lone bench players that has been actually performing for them.
The only one.
They need more consistency from those guys. This is what separated them last year because they had so much depth coming off this bench. Now they don't have that, and it's translating to losses.
But who did they have coming off the bench last year?
Porter last season was excellent for him.
Herder last season averaged 11.
How about Gallo?
But in his role last season, he was definitely more efficient than what he's been doing up in this.
It's
Gallo
been similar.
Was definitely
like,
more
Herder,
in the playoffs. I'm speaking specifically.
Well, the playoffs was a small sample size.
But that was a big reason why people were so high on Herder. Why Herder was ranked higher than R.J. Barrett on the top 82 or whatever.
The reason why he was ranked, ranked high is because people that made that list were stupid.
Yeah,
that's really what it was.
Fair enough.
Kevin Herter last year averaged 12 points per game, but he played 31 minutes per game. This year he's averaging 9, but playing 22 minutes per game.
Yeah.
So he's averaging 3 less points, but he's playing about 9 less minutes. Last year, he shot 43% from the field.
Well,
this year, he's shooting 44%.
Hunter was out a lot last year.
Yeah,
That's true.
there's no doubt. But I think Kevin Huerter has been fine. And really, the bench has been fine. If anything, it's gotten a bit better because Cam Reddish stepped up. Danilo has been bad.
I think the bench needs a guard. The drop off from Trey to the backups, it's
DeLon
like
Wright,
That was
right?
supposed to be DeLon Wright, but last year they didn't have that because last year was supposed to be Rondo. So last year they didn't have that either.
Yep.
I think that what can help them is getting Onyeka back.
Yeah, that would help.
That's what I think
Yeah.
can help them defensively more than anything, getting Onyeka back. Because right now off the bench is who? Gorky Jang. He's
Whatever.
a journeyman. He's not anything special. So I think Onyeka can help them out defensively. Like you said, I don't think offense has been their problem. You mentioned they're one of the worst defenses right now. Kind of like the Knicks. The Knicks are one of the best offenses, but one of the worst
Which
defenses
is
right
weird.
now.
What's
Yeah,
Atlanta's
but we
offensive
know
rank?
Tom Thibodeau is
Offensive?
going to turn it
What do they
around
rank
sooner
them?
because it's a Tom Thibodeau-led
Yep.
team. We're not sure if Nate McMillan is going to turn around this team.
Yep.
But if you guys were
11.
to bank on the Hawks, I know before the season started, we made our Eastern Conference predictions. You guys had the Hawks very high. So are you still confident in the Hawks finishing as a top 6 seed in the East?
I still believe they'll finish top 6.
I'm going to stay firm on that too. It's still early. Obviously, them being bottom 3 in the East is a shock to anyone watching basketball, but I think they'll get it together.
Just piggybacking off what you guys said. I mean, I think the regression of Clint Capella has definitely made this defense worse. They're the 25th ranked defense, but I don't think they have a really good bench. I mean, I'm looking at their bench statistics right now, like the players off the bench. I mean, like you said, like you alluded to, Lou Williams has been awful. Gallinari's been awful, and Gorgie Jang's he's like you said, he's a journeyman. They don't have much of a bench. I mean, and then I think Trae Young slightly regressed this year. I agree with you. He slightly regressed this year. I think maybe, the foul baiting rules have gotten to him. But, I mean, other than that, I mean, I just, like you said, I don't see the same desire from this team defensively. I mean, they're the 25th ranked defense. I think our DeAndre Hunter coming back has kind of I don't want to say messed up anything because it definitely doesn't mess up anything when you bring back a good 3-and-D player like him. But Kevin Huerter, all these guys have to find a new role now that DeAndre Hunter, and he was an integral piece to their team last year. So him bringing them back, I think the addition to him coming back to the team is kind of like throwing off Kevin Huerter and all these other guys. But they're 4-8 right now. I don't think it's time to press the panic button because there's only 12 games. Defensively, they have to get better, and defensively, Clint Capella has to be better. I mean, this is a guy that you gave up some pieces for him from the Rockets for him to come on your team. Last year, you had a stellar season. I think he was averaging 16 and 12. So for you to take that much of a points decrease, and then your rebounds go down, everything going down. I mean, you were the anchor of the defense. You were Trae Young's lob threat. You were an integral part of the offensive defense. So the fact that he's performing worse, I think that's affecting this
Who
team.
was in that trade? Oh, I forgot.
It was a 3-way trade.
Yeah, it was.
They didn't trade anybody significant at all.
That was the Westbrook trade, right?
That was a Robert Covington trade.
Clint
That's
Capella trades to
Robert
the
Covington,
Hawks, Covington to Houston in 14 deal. Yeah, I don't want to read all this.
Yeah, no, I got it. Got it. Basically, Robert Covington.
Lou Will and Danilo starting off bad, I think, is more so because they're older.
Yeah.
Usually
Lou
older
Will's
players
done.
get better as the year progresses, but Lou Will has already stated
I think Lou
this
was
is
cooked.
his last year. Lou Will, it doesn't seem like he has a desire to play past this year, which makes you wonder if he has a desire to play even this season. I mean, I told you guys before the season, the Hawks were a fluke last year, and I'm not pressing the panic button on them. I think they'll make the playoffs, but they'll definitely lose in the first round, and I hope they face the Knicks because then they're really going to get embarrassed.
Two trash-ass defenses.
We're going to pick it up, though.
Yeah.
We're going to pick it up, and we are because we got Tom Thibodeau.
Yeah. Your offense will be shit when the playoffs come. Not really worried.
Oh, you think so? I don't think so. Kemba just had 17 in the first quarter.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Against who?
Against Boston,
Oh,
his former team.
tough.
Oh,
He
yeah.
needed to do that.
It's better than
You know the
Lonzo.
Bulls are top 10 in offense and defense.
I mean, I thought they were going to be that. I thought they were going to be better offensively, actually. Top 5 offensive team.
We'll get there soon.
It's crazy. DeMar's better than Zach.
If Vucevic was what he's supposed to be, we'd be like top 6.
If Lonzo was actually a star, maybe you guys would be top 6.
He had a star game last
Maybe
night.
if Kemba wasn't washed, you guys would be okay. You ever thought about that?
Well, he's going to be
He's
playing
He's not
better.
playing watch right now,
Oh, good for him.
like today at least.
How many wins you guys got?
Lonzo was averaging, like 11?
Not like 13. But he's locking up. That's what I love. He'll lock up your guards.
If
You know
Lonzo
what
averages 13, 14 points and he's arguably the best,
He's gonna make an all
defender
defensive
in the-
team.
Yeah,
But I thought Lonzo would average around those numbers, but everybody thought he was going to be like this all-star point guard once he got to Chicago. It was
who's
ridiculous.
everyone?
People on Twitter. He can't be talking about people at this table.
Okay, good.
Oh, definitely not Riv.
Yeah, he knew
I'm
I
not
didn't.
talking about Riv.
Ah, hell no.
Yo, have you guys looked at who the Hawks have lost to though? They've lost to like almost every team they've lost to has been an elite team.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
They
read it
lost to
out.
the Jazz. Then they lost to the Warriors. They lost to Phoenix. They lost to the Jazz again. They lost to the Nets. They lost to Philly. They lost to the Wizards.
They lost to Philly
And-
without Embiid,
and then they
though.
lost to the Cavs. So they've lost to like really a lot of really
You said they
good
lost to
teams.
the Cavs, and you said
Yeah, you
elite.
said elite. You did
Oh,
definitely
pardon
say
me.
elite.
Oh, Cavs are a good team, but
Yeah.
they've lost to a lot of really good teams. So I mean, I don't know if we should.
Philly,
That-
no Embiid.
Philly had no Embiid in that game.
Philly's been winning without Embiid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you don't lose that.
They're not an elite team without Embiid.
I mean, we lost to Philly with no Embiid.
That's
so.
what I'm saying. That Philly without Embiid is still good.
That's why I gave you out a question of Doc or Tyronn Lue, because Doc Rivers without Embiid and early on without
He's been
Tobias,
amazing.
they've
Doc
been
is a
great.
regular season coach.
Wow.
That's what Chicago needs, though. Y'all need a regular season coach. Y'all been ass.
I'm not even gonna go into the back and forth with you right now.
Now you got Billy Donovan is good though.
Embiid did play that game.
Is that right?
Oh,
And
he
they got
did?
absolutely smoked.
Oh, he did?
It was 122 to 94.
I thought he didn't
Okay.
play.
Yeah,
Embiid
because
had,
Embiid's been out for a couple
he had
games.
19.
Yeah, they've lost to a lot of really, really good teams. So we'll see.
On the topic about Philly, we're going to talk about Ben Simmons because it was recently reported that the Boston Celtics are interested in a potential Ben Simmons trade. And the only way Boston can trade for Simmons if they trade Tatum, Horford, or Brown. One of those three players they need to trade to match the contracts. I don't think Philly wants Horford. I don't think Boston they won't trade Tatum. The only person they could trade is Jaylen Brown in a potential Ben Simmons deal. So I came up with this trade, and let me know what your guys' thoughts are. So we all know if Boston wants to trade for Ben Simmons, Jaylen Brown has to be involved in the deal. So if I'm Philly and I want Jaylen Brown and you're Boston and you want Ben Simmons, if I'm Daryl Morey, I'll call you and I'll say, you know what? I'll give you Ben Simmons and Seth Curry. You give me Jaylen Brown and Josh Richardson. Are you taking that trade?
Make it simple, bro.
Wait, what?
It's a simple answer.
I give Ben Simmons and I give Seth Curry for Jaylen Brown and who was the other person?
Josh Richardson.
Oh, so Jaylen Brown for Ben Simmons, Seth Curry. Okay.
The only reason why I can understand you think about this because Jaylen Brown has some injury history. That's the only reason I can understand thinking about it.
Because he's significantly better than Ben Simmons.
He is better than Ben Simmons, but it's not even about that.
He's been Boston's best player this season.
I think you think about it.
You have to think about
You
it.
think the reason why you think about it is because Ben Simmons can run the offense. He can be their point guard.
can.
He's going to be great defensively. We know that. And Seth Curry is
Great
is
marksman.
50,
Yes.
40, 90 right
Yes.
now.
45.
Seth Curry is going to give you 16 a game.
Okay, so then you have Tatum, who already is struggling. I do believe
I would
he'll
say
get
this.
Tatum
together.
is going to get it together.
I would say
He's
this:
gonna be fine.
we didn't already seen the JB and JT experiment. We've seen it. We know what it's gonna be. We've seen it. Like we've understand.
Taking
But
turns.
Is making
Boston
this
needs a
move
point
getting
guard.
you a championship.
But I already know JT and JB aren't.
We don't know that. They've already been to 2 Eastern Conference Finals.
With a completely different team.
That's very true, but at the same time, they have shown that they could go. They have lost.
And they also
yes.
have shown that they can't go.
That is true. Like, they did go 2
I
times.
guess.
Once as rookies.
I don't know. I'm looking at Boston. They need a point guard.
They do need
Ben
a
is a point guard.
I agree.
Ben brings the equal defense, probably a little bit. Actually, no, Brett. No, screw that.
It
Ben
just-
brings better defense,
Ben's a better defender.
better
than him, bro.
playmaking, and yeah, he drops in scoring. But I got Seth.
Significantly.
But I got Seth. I still got
Fair.
Jason Tatum, who now I give him the full keys. Like, yo, bro, this is your offense. Run the offense.
Al Horford's playing good too. He's
Yeah.
playing really well.
No, he has been.
No, he
playing.
is.
He's
but it's-
averaging
I-
13, 11, and
He's old,
3
so I'm
blocks
not
a game.
relying on him after the season. Ben is like some young bull. You know what I'm saying?
Prime dude.
So it's like, and now it's like I'm looking at the team like, all right, now I got Ben Simmons, I got Marcus Smart. The defense is there. Like
Defensively, going to be nice for them.
Dennis Schroeder, like this is a good defensive team. I would think about it. I ain't
Now,
gonna sit there and
question,
close the door.
How much are you upgrading at defense from Ben to Jalen?
Big upgrade because Ben is more versatile as a defender. He's also a better off-ball defender, and he's a better on-ball defender. He's just a much better defender than Jaylen Brown.
And also, I think that him going to ball, for one, Jaylen Brown has had to take on a much bigger offensive load So he is dropped down as a defender slightly. Ben Simmons is probably going to Boston, and he's all in on playing a role, being a defender and being the point guard. Ben Simmons, we know, at worst is going to give you 12 to 15 a game. I'm going to say 15 a game. With Seth Curry, he's giving you 15 to 16. That's a combined 30. And then and Jaylen Brown's giving you 25. So I think the scoring output matches. It definitely matches. And you get somebody who can space the floor as good as Seth Curry, that is really intriguing.
I wouldn't hang the phone up as easy as people think. I would definitely think about it.
The only reason I can understand you have that, you entertain that conversation.
I think we need to stop putting Jaylen Brown on this pedestal.
Stop it. Don't
we do.
talk. Stop it.
No, we do.
Bro, he's almost at 50 and 40 right now. Like, he's been tweaking this season.
We need to stop. Okay, I get it. Ben has been a bum. I'm not going to say it.
And he would never, ever, ever in his life touch 50 and 40.
That's fine. But we need to stop acting like Ben doesn't do other things at an elite level.
I'm not saying that you're wrong by any means. Lord knows I've preached that to the mountaintops.
Let's not act. Jaylen Brown is better than Ben Simmons at one thing in the game, scoring. That's it. He's just a significantly better scorer than Ben Simmons.
If Ben Simmons is a 10 out of 10 on defense, is it far-fetched for me to say Jaylen Brown's an 8.59?
Yeah, it is, because Jaylen Brown's only great on ball. He's not a good off-ball defender.
That's why I'm not giving him a 10 out of 10. He's an 8.59.
Give him like a 7.
Oof,
but on ball, that's significant. Because you're going to be off the ball more than you're going to be on the ball.
For sure. See, and I don't want to trash Ben. I don't want to do that. But we saw him get kind of lit up against the Hawks.
You told us he didn't get lit up against the Hawks, so make up your mind.
I didn't say that.
Make up your mind. Did he get lit up or not?
I mean,
because you told us.
No.
And Joe's my witness. You told us Ben didn't get lit up.
That.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
You did, though.
No, what I said
You said he was better
Ben,
than Matisse Thybulle that series, defensively.
He was.
So he didn't get lit up.
Much.
So he didn't get lit up.
No,
that is saying a lot.
Matisse was the better defender than him, bro.
Whoever Trae Young was.
Matisse didn't get lit up, so I don't know what you're saying.
Whoever was guarding Trae Young got lit up. It was that simple. Trae Young was unguardable.
So Ben got lit up now.
He did, unfortunately.
Okay, I just wanted to make. Okay, so
listen, go back.
You're flip-flopping.
I can go back. Not even. That's not me.
You're flip-flopping right now.
That's not me.
So would you?
Especially with Ben. That's not me. It's just in terms of talking about Jaylen Brown to Ben Simmons. Come on, you got to be realistic.
Would that not make them okay? So what's the difference? You bring in Ben, now he plays the one. You have Seth at the 2.
That's a minimum 13, 14 point difference already. 13, 14.
What about
point
defense?
Difference.
Defense is the whole other half of the game.
It's not that significant,
bro.
It's not as significant as you're making it out to be. Especially when I'm getting 13, 14 more points from this player who plays arguably the best defense on my team.
But Ben goes there. There is no argument.
Jaylen Brown doesn't play the best defense on Boston.
Marcus Smart. I mean,
no, not even. Robert Williams and Al Horford are way better defensively this season than Jaylen Brown.
This season, sure, because Jaylen Brown's had to be this offensive.
Now you got Ben, Smart, Horford, Robert. Oh my God,
such minimal offense. It's disgusting to me.
Bro,
but that's what the Seth Curry 16 points per game.
I don't know, man. No, thank you.
JB and JT are one off, one on. First of all, they've been inconsistent all year. One time, one has 30, the other has 18. Then the other guy has 30, the other guy has 18.
Jalen is 49
at least Ben in the regular season, you know you're going to get that consistent 15, 8, and 8 in elite defense. At least you know you're getting that in the regular season. Like, that's going to come. That's every game, every night, you're going to get that. With JB, it's like, you might get this 30.
Or he's hurt.
He's hurt, or you might get this 24. You might get this 18. We've seen, like we this year especially, we've seen him. He's going out to get buckets, but defensively, he hasn't been that same person. And now Ben Simmons would have motivated. Now he's motivated. He's out of Philly. He has a new mindset if he's in Boston. So I'm assuming he's gonna have a new mindset. He's definitely motivated. He wants to prove people wrong. We could possibly see 18, 19 points a game, 8 and 8.
Listen, man. I
like the points that you're bringing up. But I think you're kind of missing the mark on they're getting Seth Curry too.
Yeah, I didn't even get into that. Thank you. Talk about that.
I want you to talk about it because I'm just hosting this time.
I'm gonna talk about it.
They're getting Seth Curry too. I don't need
to talk. They're getting a Curry. That's it. They're getting a Curry. Like,
oh my God.
They're getting one of the best shooters in the NBA.
Uh-huh.
Like that's a guy who can slot in. He's played with Ben. They have great chemistry, and not to mention he shoots way better than Josh. He shoots better than Josh Richardson and Jaylen Brown. So not only are you getting a marksman, but you're getting an elite defender on all sides of the ball to play next to Jason Tatum. So now you really can't double team him.
And also, because of Ben's size and versatility, you could realistically have Seth and Marcus Smart starting with Jaylen Brown and Ben Simmons and Horford at the 5.
Jason,
So what are you doing with Robert?
Tatum.
you said Brown.
Oh, yeah, with Tatum.
And
So
what are you doing with Robert?
He can come off the bench.
he can start or come off the bench. Doesn't matter. Him and Horford are interchangeable. But because Simmons is positionless, basically, and Tatum can play anywhere from the 2 to 4, now you have Smart, Seth, Ben, Tatum, and Horford. And Seth defensively is masked because of all the great defenders around.
And Horford can play on the perimeter. He's not a guy who you can just sit him down low and now he's clogging the floor. He can space the floor.
And
It just
Ben-
sounds
and-
like a horrible offensive game to me personally.
I think your JB love is getting out of hand.
I mean, I guess, but he's been their
Because
best player this season.
Boston's offense doesn't look that great right now, and that's with
Well,
Mr.
he's not
JB.
playing.
When he was playing it, it looks sloppy when they're playing.
I mean, he's been so consistent for them. He's averaging 50 and 40. That's
no, he was balling
Don't say
last year.
50 and 40. Say
all right. Excuse me, 49.3 and 39.7.
50-40. I mean, he was doing this in the beginning of the year last year. I remember me and Joel was legit arguing about it.
Jaylen Brown, I just think that he's just a tier above Ben.
I mean, you could say that.
And
Ben
offensively,
is an All NBA player. He's been an All Star. JB's not. So I mean, okay, if you want to do that,
all right,
we can do
okay.
that.
No, that's
Like,
fine with
okay.
me. Because not too long ago, you were telling me that Ben Simmons absolutely sucks. So now you're flip flopping. You make up your mind.
I'm just saying this.
You make up your mind.
I'm saying
You
this.
did call him whack.
No, I did.
You said he was trash.
No, I did.
Garbage.
Wait.
Shit.
I did. But let's not act like obviously I was trolling him because at the moment he was whack. He
yeah,
was
now
garbage.
now it's
But let's
easy to
not
say.
act like he's this complete bum. He does some
Not
great
this
things.
complete bum.
But don't sit here and
He's not Jaylen Brown.
yeah, but don't sit there and act like you wasn't talking about Ben Simmons like he was a god among men.
I mean,
don't do
I
that
still
because you were also
I still
doing
give
that.
him his credit.
All right, just don't do that because you were also putting him on this pedestal.
I mean,
like he was a
he's
god among
still-
men. You was putting
you did compare him to Giannis.
In what sense?
You said
All right, see, this is when stick to being a host. Because all I said
did.
was he needs to take the Giannis mentality. That's
doesn't
what
have
I
that.
said.
because
and
if he has
doesn't
that
have
mentality, he can be what?
If he had that Giannis
What?
mentality,
He can be what?
it's not as if people haven't said that he
he
could
can be better
LeBron
than JB.
James.
He can be better than JB.
If he had that Giannis mentality,
So he has the skills already to be better than JB. He just needs
just
the
can't
mentality.
shoot. I mean, yeah, if he was aggressive, he'd be a beast. He's a physical freak,
Okay.
and he can handle the ball.
So
He's
everything with him
6'10".
is mentality.
correct.
So the gap between him and JB is mentality. That's what you're telling me right now.
And don't play.
No.
That's like
That's
90% of the game.
No, that's why I'm asking. So is the skill level is comparably
It's close. It's
but the
close.
gap is mentality.
Correct.
Okay. Just want to make sure we're
And
on the
one's
same page.
approach at the game,
Okay. Just
which
want to make sure
comes
we're on
down to mentality. Yeah.
the- Just want to make sure we're on the
So
same
I want to
page.
get your final answers on this trade. So if it's you, are you saying yes or no?
Yes.
You're saying yes.
I'm done with the JB JT tandem.
Are you saying yes or no?
No, thank you.
How about you, Jason?
I'm saying yes. I think it'll benefit both teams.
You're not Kawhi and PG, bro. Give it up.
Yeah, I think Philly gets a
Yeah,
shot
what
creator.
have they done?
Huh?
What have they done?
WCF.
And they went twice.
No, they didn't go. Kawhi Leonard was hurt, bro.
He do was hurt.
You're bad.
Kawhi has 3 championships, bro. like, what are you goggling about? Like,
Yes, too.
Yes, too.
oh, 2. I'm sorry. Still more than
2
JB and
finals
JT.
MVPs.
JT and JB have a bunch of L's everywhere across the board. First round, L. Second round, L. ECF, L. Like, they've lost every
And
round
the Clippers
ever.
blew a 3-1 lead.
Yeah, they did. It's cool. Happens. It's life. Steph did it. Katie did it. It's life. Goats do it.
It's only happened like 7 times, but sure.
It happens. Kawhi has 2
So next
rings, bro.
question.
Come
2
on.
finals MVPs.
Yeah, bro.
And no one's talking about Kawhi not being a GOAT. Like, he's amazing.
At least you know.
What do you guys think about this whole dilemma with the Sixers and Ben Simmons and his mental health? Because Ben Simmons, Rich Paul has said that he's not ready to come back, but Philly has said that they have made everything for him available to seek out help, to seek out mental health advice. And Ben is basically saying he's not ready to come back yet. So what do you think about this situation?
What's interesting, I'm sorry if you didn't want to go first, but he's saying that them finding him is only adding on to the mental stress that's been going on. And listen, if I'm getting fined hundreds and thousands of dollars because I'm not showing up, yeah, it's going to be on my mind and it's not going to make me feel good. But I can understand both sides. Obviously, if I'm Ben and I'm supposed to believe that this team is 100% supporting me and everything that I do, but at the same time, they're still finding me because I'm not present, even though I've stated on multiple times it's due to mental health issues. then I can understand why, why Ben would be upset. You look at Calvin Ridley in the NFL. He came to them flat out and said, listen, mentally, I'm not all here. I need some time away from the game. They respected that wholeheartedly. They put him on the non-injured list, which is a thing apparently, and he's been out. And they're completely compliant. They're completely cool with that. Philly, if they were to take a similar approach, maybe Ben Simmons would be back on the court sooner than what it has been up until this point. But at the same time, I can still understand the 76ers side. You gave him a $180 million contract. You expect him to show up and do his job and be a ball player and come to show up on time, be prepared, be a true team player, and he hasn't been that. So I can understand being Philly and being upset. You're spending all this money on him to not show up and not be a part of this team, not be the number one overall pick that you guys were expecting him to be. So I can understand both sides, but I lean more so on Ben's side here. I think Ben has stated to them multiple times, listen, I need this time away from the game right now. It's not good for my mental sake. I think that you guys just need to bear with me during this time, and them adding on this extra money that's only going to make the situation worse. Forget about his mental status. On top of that, of course, it's just going to make it's going to make it be more turmoil within the situation that doesn't necessarily have to be there.
I think in a situation like this, when it comes to stuff like mental health, you kind of got to take your own route. I think with Philly, I get it. They want him on the court as fast as possible. I don't think they're looking at it. I think they're looking at it from a business standpoint instead of a Ben Simmons health standpoint.
A human standpoint.
Yeah, and I think you have to when it comes to mental health, you have to let somebody take their own path, take their own way. You can offer as much as you want to offer, but at the end of the day, you have to let Ben make the decisions for himself because of the fact that it is his mental health. He knows what's wrong with him. He knows how to fix himself. You can offer help, but you have to kind of let him. You can't pester him. You can't kind of force him to do things or do it at a fast light. And with Rich Paul, I feel like he's kind of being the middleman in all this, and it's kind of annoying because he's not letting Ben be a man about it and speak up on it, or he's just kind of playing both sides of the party. And I feel like you kind of just got to keep stuff out the media. He's coming out too much to the media. But at the same time, I do feel like mental health is something that you got to kind of deal with in home and deal with on your own and figure that path out by yourself. So I think Philly can do everything they want to do, but at the end of the day, you got to let Ben make that choice on his own. Let him be ready when he's ready. When he's ready, you'll know he's ready. Don't rush him. Now we've been waiting for him to tell us what's wrong. Now that he's decided this is a mental health thing, he's come to that. All right, bro, we want you to get better. We want you in the NBA. So now you got to kind of just let him come back on his own.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Philly kind of has a lot more fault in wanting him back so badly. They're playing well without him. Tyrese Maxey has stepped up. It's not like they're in dire need of him. So, I agree with you guys. Whenever anything's mental, just like with the Calvin Ridley situation, I think the player needs to find themselves. They need to be by themselves. So I'm kind of pointing the finger now at Philly. I was pointing the finger at Ben Simmons because I thought he was being stubborn, showing up to practice, not taking the drills correctly, not getting along with Doc Rivers and everybody. But now that I really think about it, Philly right now, a couple days ago, was 8-2, number one in the East. Right now, I think they're 8-4, 9-4. They're playing well with Tyrese Maxey. They're playing well without Joel Embiid. They're doing this without Joel Embiid these last couple of games. They get Joel Embiid back, that they're only going to be a better team. So for Philly to kind of want to force the hand and have him back on your terms, it doesn't make any sense because the team's playing great without him. It's not like you need him. It's not like Philly's 4-8 and they're desperately trying to make the playoffs. No, this is a team that's playing well without Joel Embiid these past couple of games and with Tyrese Maxey playing well. So I'm all on Ben Simmons' side. I think when a player has something mentally, I think that's something that you handle on your own. And I think Philly as an organization has to respect that, and Philly has to see that they're playing well without him. So he's not in dire need to come back to the team. They don't need him that bad right now.
The only reason it makes sense is why it makes sense that Philly is pestering Ben to come back is because they gave him $180 million. It's not like they gave him a middle of the pack type deal. This is a max contract, and obviously they want him to play up to that contract.
Yeah. If
not, make him look even smarter by giving them 180 as opposed to the 200 that some of these guys get. So obviously I can, especially after Ben had such a hiccup in the postseason last year, they're looking at that contract and they're punching themselves right now. They want to maximize that contract as much as possible, and the fact that he's not showing up, basically stealing their money in their eyes, clearly, sure, I can understand why they would be upset.
Yeah.
We can move on after this, but I just want to say one thing real quickly. The Calvin Ridley situation is interesting because I think he was in good terms with the organization.
Definitely.
And Ben Simmons, mental health is a serious thing. And if he's going through something, I hope that he gets better. But it kind of feels like he's using mental health as a cloak to not go to work, to not participate. Because if you look at the timeline of the events that occurred, he doesn't perform in the playoffs. The blame gets put on him. Mm-hmm. He goes out to the media. He gets a bunch of shit for his performance. Then in the offseason, he says he doesn't want to go back to Philly. He's all out on Philly. Then when he notices he's going to get fined, he shows up to practice but doesn't care one bit when he's in practice, has a phone in his pocket. And then after they say, you know what, don't even bother to show up with us because you're not contributing to anything. Doc Rivers kicks him out. Now Ben Simmons says, okay, you know what? This is my mental health is my mental health isn't the best right now and all this other stuff. It kind of reminds me of like a Le'Veon Bell situation, right? When Le'Veon Bell decided not to play for the Steelers because he was holding out for a contract and wanted to get paid, he sat out that entire season. That's like Le'Veon Bell sitting out, getting fined, and then saying, you know what? It's because, I've been acting this way because I'm like depressed and I have anxiety and it's my mental health. And it feels like a cop-out because now that you notice that you don't have leverage in this situation, now you want to say, oh, it's my mental health. And he wants Philly to stop fining him because obviously he doesn't want to lose money, but you got to go to work at some point. You got to go and perform. Philly wants you to go and perform because it's going to enhance your trade value because right now it's at an all-time low and they can't really get anything back for you. To me, at least, it feels like the timeline of these events that have occurred, it feels like Ben Simmons is using mental health as a cloak to just not report to Philly. Because in the offseason, he said he doesn't want to be in Philly at all. Calvin Ridley with Atlanta, it's not like he made a big fuss about it. It's not like Calvin Ridley said, I don't like this organization, they suck and all this other stuff. I want to be out of here, and then sits out, and when it gets fine, I don't want to be a part of you guys because I'm actually dealing with things mentally. No, Calvin Ridley, nobody knew what was happening. Everything was good. He was showing up, but then one day he realized, you know what? I just right now I'm not in the right mindset. Ben Simmons showed up, was kicked out of practice. It's not like Ben Simmons participated in a practice and was doing great and was involved. No, he was out of the loop. He was kicked out. And now when he realizes he has no leverage, he's using this. I hope that he's actually using it in a genuine way and he feels that way rather than him using it just to get his way, because it feels like something that a superstar would do to do that. And he obviously believes he is a superstar player. So I think we can all agree that making money makes us all happy. And if you want a good mental health, you could use DraftKings Sportsbook. The NHL season is underway in a DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. I know we don't talk too much about hockey on this show, but if you're into hockey, NBA, NFL, and UFC, you can use DraftKings and you can win money. But with the NHL, new customers can bet just $1 on any NHL game and win $100 in free bets if either team scores a goal. Doesn't matter if it's a one-time clapper or a deft deflection. However they light the lamp, you win. If Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, DraftKings won't leave you empty-handed because everyone can play all season long for huge prizes, DraftKings Daily Fantasy Sports Contest. And DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at $1 million in total prizes with their final deposit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code TBPN. Throw down $1 on any NHL game and win $100 in free bets if either team scores a goal. This week, one puck in the net nets you a big win with promo code TBPN at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. Shout out to DraftKings. Shout out to the Basketball Podcast Network. And shout out to Riv for handling his braids so well in his cornrows, because I know his head is on fire right now. It's itching pretty bad. How bad is it itching?
1 to 10, 5.
It's at a 5?
Yeah, it's at a 5 right now.
Listen, you look fire. All that matters.
Thank you.
Got you, Brody. He's gonna tell me that
Somebody
sucks,
said
right?
that cornrows isn't helping out your headache.
He didn't cap.
Yeah, it probably is making it worse. It's all right. He's going to stay in.
Since swag comes first.
Yeah.
Pretty hurts. Beyonce said that.
This isn't a big-time player, but I think it's a big-time story in the NBA because he is a former high overall draft pick.
Stinks.
Yeah.
Oof.
And that's Marvin Bagley. Marvin Bagley was the second overall pick in the 2018 NBA draft. He was drafted over Luka. He was drafted over Trey. He was drafted over Jaren Jackson Jr., Colin Sexton, the list goes on. He was drafted over a lot of really talented players. And this season, he has only played 10 minutes. He refused to check in the other night. And I think it's about time Marvin Bagley gets traded. There are rumors that the Pistons are looking at trading for him last year. There were rumors about that, but the Kings wanted back Sadiq Bey, and the Pistons said, no way we're giving you Sadiq Bey for Marvin Bagley. But now talks are popping up again. So what team would you like to see Marvin Bagley go to? I just think I put up a list of teams that I think kind of fit him and he can get playing time on. The Blazers, the Rockets, OKC, the Pistons, and the Timberwolves. What team would you like to see Marvin Bagley go to?
Damn, I was going to say, Detroit embracing that rebuild. If Kelly Olynyk didn't get hurt, I would have said Sacramento is geared to try to make the playoffs. Olynyk, Bagley swap would have been cool for both teams. You get a young player for Detroit that can hopefully build with this young core, and then Sacramento gets a guy who can contribute to this team right now, who they're playing playoff basketball right now. That Timberwolves, I think, with that young core, Cat, you could learn with Cat, Pat Bev, he's got them boys, Ant Edwards, Malik Beasley, D'Angelo Russell, just a young, fun, exciting group that Marvin Bagley can go, have some fun, get the fun of basketball back to him. I think that would have been a different spot for him. Those two definitely would have been my spots. And it's interesting because I was reading some reports and Luke Walton said he wanted to go small this year. He wanted to try a smaller lineup. But it's like Marvin Bagley's kind of like a small ball big. The way he plays, he's mobile, he's agile, he moves well on his feet. He's athletic. So it's like he kind of fits that small ball big. He's not a big 6'10 to 6'11 guy. He's kind of lengthy, kind of skinny. So it's interesting that him dealing with a lot of injuries in the past 2 seasons and not making that significant jump like his other peers, like Ayton, like Luka, like Trae Young, not making that significant jump. I think that also affects his playing time. But at the same time, you got a guy who's young, who still needs, minutes to contribute. I think he was still an all right contributor enough to get some minutes. You know what I'm saying? Guys like Maurice Harkless is playing over him and stuff like that. Like, I think he at least can get some solid minutes in there with him. So I think the Timberwolves and the Pistons are definitely a spot for me because this is still a pretty significant young guy, a guy who's one of the best players in high school at his class, a guy who's one of the best players in college, and I think he has a lot left in the tank. He can still be a solid player in the league. He just needs the right environment. And Sacramento hasn't shown the ability in a long time that they have a great player development team, so I'm not surprised. I mean, they lucked out with De'Aaron Fox, but even Buddy Hield, he wants out. He still doesn't want to play. Davion Mitchell was still going to wait and see Halliburton. He looks good there, but they haven't shown the consistent ability to develop talent, so I'm not surprised.
I just want to reiterate this point. I haven't even mentioned this actually yet. You mentioned him being a small ball 5. Up to this point, Marvin Bagley has been one of the worst defensive players in the league. Not only defensive bigs, worst defensive players. He has a 117 defensive rating, which is one of the worst. So he's a horrible defender, so I don't know how beneficial it is playing him at small ball 5. And he's not a good free throw shooter. He shoots 57% from the line.
If I'm going to be honest, if he's not getting burned on Sacramento when they already have a need for his position, where is he really going to get burned? I'm looking here at the Pistons. Obviously, it makes sense. They don't have the most talent. I'm looking here at the Blazers as well, who probably could use a man at his position.
Really?
Yeah, they could. I mean, obviously, you still
they don't need
Nurkic.
more no defense.
Very true.
Larry Nance and Cody Zeller are there.
True. I don't know. They just haven't been doing that much either. I mean, if he really can't have success in Sacramento, what makes me think that he can go somewhere else and have success? I can understand that obviously a change of scenery can impact a player. We saw with Julius Randle. We saw with basically everyone who's left Los Angeles and gone to a new team. But I feel like that's a specific situation. And I'm looking at what he's done, and he's only regressed since his first season. Averaged 14.7 his first year, then averaged 14.2, then averaged 14.1. Now he's barely getting any burn. I just have a hard time putting faith in someone that can't have success with Sacramento and putting him in a different team right now and expecting him to surpass that 14 clip. I feel as if he passes that 14 clip going to a different team, that's credit to Marvin Bagley. It would be a borderline miracle at this point.
This team that I'm about to say is going to really surprise you guys, but I think him on the Nets wouldn't be that bad. I really think him on the Nets wouldn't be that bad. I think the change of scenery, playing with players like James Harden, Kevin Durant, players that can get the most out of you, and then on top of that, like Nicholas Claxton, like he was our starting five.
He's better than Marvin Bagley.
I don't know about that, bro. I was
trolling.
I was about to say, yeah, because I wasn't too high on Nicholas Claxton this year anyway. I thought he was going to get much better.
I feel like every single Nets fan was so high.
They were high last year.
Everyone wanted Nicholas Claxton to get some
Claxton
burn.
ain't giving up no 117 defensive rating.
No, but I'm saying I think that's him playing unmotivated. He's already in his head. He's decided he doesn't want to play for Sacramento. I mean, he proved it the other day when he didn't check in the game.
You got De'Aaron Fox, and I'm sorry that you're giving your point. You have De'Aaron Fox as one of the cornerstones of the franchise to grow with you, and you don't want any part of that. De'Aaron Fox clearly showed that he could be one of the better scoring point guards in the league already. You had a chance to be a part of that and really grow together, and he's ascended while you have descended.
I don't know. I think
Go ahead. You just mentioned De'Aaron Fox, one player, for a reason why Marvin Bagley should be motivated.
You look at Buddy Hield. You still have another guy who has talent there.
He was in New Orleans.
It's like the reason why I'm not totally bought in on that statement is because
they both.
I don't know if any player is saying I got to play harder tonight because I have De'Aaron Fox. I don't think that's happening.
Why do you say that though?
Because that's not happening.
Because you look at Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton. It's like DeAndre Ayton understands. Listen, I'm not what Booker means to this squad.
Ayton started playing better because of Chris Paul.
Good point. Fair enough.
Devin Booker.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
Not Devin
That's a good
Booker.
point.
And De'Aaron Fox ain't no Chris Paul.
No, but De'Aaron Fox is a great scorer, obviously. I'm just saying
Chris
he's a
Paul
great
has
ball
a track history of
making players better.
Making the playoffs.
We're getting away from my initial point. All I'm trying to say is you had a young core in the making with De'Aaron Fox. Obviously, you add Halliburton to that mix. You have him. Rashawn Holmes is up there in age, but you added him into the mix as well. You had a very firm starting five, and you saw everyone else increase their level of play, and you just slowly but surely went on a decline. I don't understand how that correlated. You would think that...
Is that not the same thing that happened to Kuzma?
No, because Kuzma didn't have... Marvin Bagley did not have these guys just randomly put in, as in LeBron, Anthony Davis, where now his role is completely diminished. Marvin Bagley's role was not... He did that to himself.
I don't know. You go from 1 year with Dave Yeager, then going to Luke Walton.
True.
Luke Walton said he wanted to play small. No, yeah, that's also been a big issue. Fair. Marvin Bagley has played in only 118 of 226 possible games. So he has missed about half of his games, basically. I was just speaking to your point about I don't know that any player is wanting to play harder because of De'Aaron Fox.
But De'Aaron Fox is a dog. You say that it kind of sounds disrespectful.
He's taking a step back this year.
No, because I am not talking about De'Aaron Fox as a player, as an individual player. He's like a very talented player.
But he's on the squad already.
Yeah, but you're not going there saying I got to play hard for Fox.
I'm not. That's not how I meant to word it. I'm saying as alongside, like, yo, I have De'Aaron Fox,
who's improved,
who is a beast. I also, in my own head, am a beast.
Yeah,
why
but
isn't this working?
Me personally, if I'm back, I'm not thinking like that.
You're not thinking like I have someone that actually matches my talent level?
No offense. All right, I don't mean to do this, but I feel like I got to do this. No offense. Why do you think he's looking at De'Aaron Fox, somebody who's accomplished the same things as him, which is nothing?
No,
legit. Why is he doing that? He's saying
never averaged over 25 points in his life.
I mean by like he's never been an All-Star. He's never been on an All-NBA team. He hasn't accomplished anything. So while he's looking at that and he's like, oh, I got to get better because he got better.
He's top 10 under 25 though.
Yeah, but he's a guard. Bagley's a big.
It's like, was Devin Booker an all-star up until last season? He barely made it.
But it's different, though. You can't compare. Well, first, you can't compare a guard to a big, and it's a different situation. And one guy has played only 100-plus games.
I wasn't comparing a guard to a big. All I was simply saying was, I have a guy in De'Aaron
Joe,
Fox.
I'm just gonna.
I don't want to keep repeating this.
I'm just gonna ask you this question.
I just keep thinking.
If you're on the Kings, and you're Marvin Bagley, or let's say you're yourself, you're Andrew Velez, you're playing on the team. You're a center on the team, whatever.
So in my head, I am the number 2 pick overall.
Yes.
I know I'm a beast.
Hold up. Let me just ask you this question. Are you, let's say somebody shoots a shot, you're playing defense. Somebody shoots a shot, they miss. Are you going to box out better because De'Aaron Fox is on your team?
Yeah,
I don't think.
Nah, you guys are taking it too far. Yeah, taking it too far.
That's
Yeah,
what you're saying, bro.
I feel like
I don't think he's
I feel
saying
like
that.
coaching.
That's not what I'm
I feel like coaching is a much more. It's a much bigger factor of trying to play hard.
Well,
I
to the
think
Nets.
all I'm
Like,
saying
him
is
to the Nets would
you
be
got
bad.
more talent
I don't
on your
think
squad.
it'd be bad at all,
You
bro.
would think that with the more talent, it would benefit him. That's all I'm saying. I think you guys are misconstruing what I'm saying.
runner.
It's the more talented the Kings got, the less talented he got.
It was a little bit. You worded it differently though.
Yeah, that's all it was.
Not really.
Because you said
what I meant?
you
I
said
get what he's saying.
you were like, I'm Bagley and I'm looking and I'm like, we got De'Aaron Fox. Like
That's the only. You said they got talented.
No,
but
but
yeah,
I
that's the only person.
I
you
said
named.
Halliburton. I said Rashawn Holmes. I mean, you guys slept on Harrison Barnes. He's been their best player up until this point, offensively at least.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
not
bro.
yet. I mean, he's dropping off since
Good.
that time.
I mean, he's still averaging 22 points.
Yeah, he had 25 the other night.
So again, there's talent on
No,
the
I
squad.
get what he's saying, bro. He's saying that like
No, I get what
the
you're
emergence
saying.
of
Yeah,
De'Aaron
nitpicking.
Fox is like it should make him want to like propel himself as a
Motivate, like,
player
yeah, that's
to
it.
get better.
I'm
Yeah, I
sorry.
get it.
Just I don't think the
Yo,
emergence
Joel.
of De'Aaron Fox is gonna make
be
somebody
bad.
better.
You're saying
Right?
it very disrespectful towards De'Aaron.
I just don't think an emergence of De'Aaron Fox is gonna make somebody any better.
So to my Brooklyn take with him playing with James Harden and Kevin Durant, do you think that would motivate him more?
I mean,
I think he needs to be in a
definitely.
situation like
No,
that.
I think
Definitely.
that's something.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I want to get
You're
better
with
for James Harden
Yeah,
and Kevin
he's
Durant.
MVP.
No,
You're
but I'm
picking
saying
he's
but
MVP.
he's a rim runner. He can run. He can catch lobs. You're playing with a team that's
Yes.
in win
Marvin
now.
Bagley will want to get better.
But
if
then,
he sees those
but then
guys.
after that, if James Harden decides to opt out and Kevin Durant leaves, he can be one of the young cores going forward. I don't
So-
think it's a bad move.
Your pick is Minnesota and Detroit.
yeah,
Your pick is the Brooklyn Nets, and your pick is you didn't have a pick.
no team.
He said the
he's
Lakers.
like he's done.
That
He-
boy
he, said-
cooked.
he said the Lakers.
We don't
No,
need
I'm not
another
joking.
big. We don't need another big.
You need
I
a
would love to see him on the
What
Nets,
do you
bro.
think? What do you say?
He's better than DJ, bro.
He's way better than DJ. He's better than Claxton, bro.
He's better than DJ, bro.
Nah, but look, I haven't look.
Jordan,
I haven't really
hate
look.
him, bro.
Like I've seen like highlights of the kid, but like I haven't really watched the full game. Is he really that bad, or does he just look disengaged?
He's not a bad.
I know
player.
he's not that
No,
bad.
he's
though.
not. He
just He doesn't want to play there.
He's not good defensively though. He's too.
But I
he
feel
gets
like
pushed
defensive.
around.
I feel like defense is partly effort.
Hold up. You know Claxton gets pushed around.
He gets bodied.
Marvin Bagley's worse.
And at
Worse
least
than Claxton?
No,
Whew, I don't
defensively,
know.
yes. Defensively,
Claxton
yes.
be-
Claxton
no,
has
defensively,
effort.
yes.
He has some sort of effort.
But he has a better offense.
I was
Marvin
gonna say,
Bagley is
Marvin
just
Bagley
not
was supposed
effort
to be
though.
like
He's
that
just not.
offensively.
He has more
doesn't
talent
have
than
the
Claxton,
strength to
bro.
Rookie season, he averaged almost
Compete with bigs.
15
He can put the
points.
ball on the floor and create his own shot
for
too.
big,
Slightly.
you gotta understand, guys. For bigs, defense is more important than offense.
Fair point.
I just look at this as a lob threat. James Harden doesn't really have that lob threat. I think that
Bro's gonna get a lob threat and then go down the court and give up 30.
I mean, when
Nah,
KD's
he tried.
averaging
No, I'm dead
30
serious.
on
It won't be that
57% shooting,
Why wouldn't
the
he be
Nets
that
are
bad?
it
good.
won't be that bad.
Well, why would he
Because
be
he
that
probably
bad?
wouldn't be starting, bro. I'm talking about
Bro,
coming
he'll
off the
give up-
bench.
He'll give
Oh, so
up
you telling
30.
me? So you're telling me if he was starting, he's giving up 30.
I don't know.
No, I'm telling you, he's giving up 30.
I
bro.
don't know. I mean, how do y'all know that though?
Defensive rating
he's a
of
bad defender.
117.
All right, but he's a bad defender there. You have to see him in a new situation.
No,
bro.
but he's
he can't be. So he can't improve on defense at all. So that's
JC,
what y'all saying.
I think
He's capped on that
I
end.
think
he can't get better.
What you think is that his problems on defense is just effort. It's not just effort. It's on the perimeter. He can't keep up with any guard. He doesn't have the foot speed to keep up with any guard.
You gotta
it's
watch
that,
the film.
It's just
And then
I
that
don't watch that kid,
Yeah.
bro.
I-
Keep it
it's
stacked with
just
y'all.
on
He
the
hasn't
block.
played that much.
It's just on the block. He cannot compete with centers. He's not strong enough. He gets bullied.
He's not smart enough to anticipate
He's
a
a
move.
power forward, to be fair to him.
In this league, he's
Yes.
probably more suited as a center though.
Yeah.
In this league,
Okay.
6'11".
I understand what you're
Is he
saying.
really?
I mean, where
he
can
gets
he
bullied
really?
by centers,
Where can
so,
he
like,
really be a four at? Like, where can he be a natural four?
Unless he
At?
learns to get to the jump shot.
I mean, Sacramento really is the perfect spot for that. That's
No,
what's-
it's not because Harrison Barnes is the four. It's a four right now.
No, he's a play. He plays the 3. Buddy Hield comes off the bench.
Yeah, but it's
Harkless the 4.
same tomato.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Why
Yeah.
is Harkless playing the 4
Because
over
Harkless
him?
plays defense.
He does play really good
and he
defense.
hits open threes.
He does.
Sometimes.
Better than him.
Between that 3
not
and
really a
4
shooter.
combination,
I
it's the
understand what
same
you're
thing.
saying. Yeah.
They want wings in this modern NBA. Most teams are constructed in a way where you have those 2 guards, you have 2 forwards who are more so wings, and then you have that true big man. Like, for example, Phoenix. Mikal and Jay Crowder are both 3s, but Jay plays the 4 because that's just they play smaller. And they want to be more versatile on defense. Like in this modern NBA, unless you're a great defender at that position, which Marvin Bagley isn't, no team wants to run out 2 big men out there.
Fair.
Unless you're Cleveland. And hoopla to you.
They're like,
and that's because they're
4 bigs.
They only do that because of Evan Mobley. That's really why they do that. And Jared Allen.
So versatile. Yeah.
But that's the only reason why they do that. I actually think the best place for him is Detroit. You know, I've seen a track record of that. Josh Jackson revived his career in Detroit somewhat. At least he's not out of the league in Detroit, Josh Jackson. And I think right now Dwayne Case is just looking at trying to get
Frank
talent.
Jackson, too. He's been all right
Frank
there,
Jackson,
too.
yeah, but he wasn't a hot
We've
pick.
seen
You know what I
Killian
mean?
Hayes too.
So Killian Hayes, who knows what he's going to be.
We've seen Killian Hayes.
I mean,
We've seen Jeremy Grant regress a little bit.
with Killian Hayes, at least you see
Jeremy
something.
Grant just dropped 30
Yeah,
points.
he's 35. Yeah, so we
Killian
got to
Hayes, at
continue
least you
that.
see something. You know, he plays
Who?
really good
Killian.
defense. Killian Hayes. He plays really good defense. At least you get something.
I'm gonna keep it a stack on him.
Nah, for real. Like, with him, you get, like, almost nothing. So it's like he's not on the court, and then when he's on the court, he's really bad.
I feel like somewhere else he'll
He's
be
just getting
better
cardio
player.
out there.
Huh?
He's getting cardio out
Nah,
there.
he's not Tony Snell in it. Chill.
He's not even getting cardio, bro.
Bro, he sits the bench the entire game. I think he averages.
I think
2
somewhere
minutes
else
a
he'll
game.
be better, bro.
He didn't want to come in the other night.
I wouldn't
Really?
He didn't want to check in now.
either.
I can't respect
That's
the
OD
thing like
though.
that.
Yo, he
Somebody
just
else
doesn't
did
wanna be
that.
there.
And I think Buddy Hield did that one time.
Nah, it was Rodney Hood.
Rodney Hood?
Yeah. He was
Tough.
supposed to check in the finals. He's like, nah, bro, you could go for me.
Tough cookie.
Yeah, he really didn't check in. That's funny as hell.
We see like an Andrew Wiggins with his career fake if he goes to another good team. Like, you know how Andrew Wiggins, everybody was down on him as a player.
Yeah,
Now
but
he's
was
on
good in
gold.
Minnesota.
Yeah, that was complete.
Was he really good? Like
He
he
was
was
good
good,
in
but
Minnesota.
like I feel like he's way better with Golden State.
Well, he was.
Like
Wiggins was way better than him.
He has a role
but
in Golden State.
there was people like the Minnesota Timberwolves organization was like, yo, you got to promise me you're gonna get better. So like you know
He
what I
just
mean when
never
they gave him
grew.
that contract.
You know what I'm saying?
I
It's
think
not
he has to
even
go
that,
to
it's
another.
that
He has to go to another situation.
Wiggins
bro.
finally has a role in Golden State. In Minnesota, he was never bad. He just was never number 1 overall pick.
He averaged 24 points one
Yeah, but
season.
Marvin Bagley's not doing that.
No.
with another team.
Yeah, no.
Marvin Bagley was just. I mean, Andrew Wiggins. It was just they weren't using him right. And then you bring in Jimmy Butler and then
And
Cat.
Karl-Anthony
You just get a
Towns.
reduced role. So
Well, I'm just
Wiggins was always
the
pretty good,
revival of his career, I guess.
Listen, Jimmy Butler left and he went back to 22 points.
Who?
Andrew Wiggins.
one of the biggest situations that happened this past week was the Nikola Jokic, Markieff Morris scuffle that happened. Markieff Morris hit him from the side, then Jokic went behind his back and then elbowed him to the ground, basically. And what are your thoughts of this situation? Jokic, I believe, got suspended while Morris got fined and suspended. What do you think of this situation?
I love it. I love it for the NBA. I like that his brothers jumped in to defend him. I like that Markieff brother jumped in and was like, it's lit for you. I can't wait to that Denver Clippers game. I want to see what Marcus is going to do. But nah, honestly, I saw the play. Markieff did do a little cheap shot thing. You know, that's the type of players they are. They've done that for over a decade now. They've been doing that in this league for a while. But Jokic kind of hit him a little hard from the back. You know,
Little
so,
pause.
yeah,
Pause.
pause. Thank you. Woof. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, that's all it
Yeah,
is.
nah, thank you. I appreciate you. They would have let it slide. So you see how them two would have just let it slide?
Because we're comfortable, bro.
Yeah, I
we don't
know.
be caring
Yeah, but we
about
know
that.
you care about that type
Yo,
of stuff.
oh my
You
God,
said pause. I was
Lord,
going to keep talking.
but
you care
Nah,
about
but
that type
JC,
of
you know what's crazy? I was really going to keep talking.
Oh, you was?
Yeah, I was dead.
I'm surprised because usually always
Nah,
say
I was
pause.
dead going to keep talking.
He usually
And you-
always says
I was going to keep
pause.
talking. You said
In my
pause.
head, I'm just like, oh yeah, he sets him out of pocket.
I was
shit
just
right
gonna
there.
keep
I was waiting for the pause with it. You just
Nah, I
kept
was
talking.
dead going to chill that time. I was just like, I'm going to just keep going.
Yeah,
And he was like,
back that
pause. And I
hard.
was like, all right, pause. Then. Like, you peep. You know, so I was like, all right. Yeah, nah, the Joker, I heard his brother's a boxer. Like, UFC, he really.
They used to both play basketball, too.
For real, both of the brothers?
Yeah, they're thorough.
Yo, and they Serbian too, right?
Yes, and they've been to jail.
For real?
Yes.
Oh,
Stephen A. Smith's like, look up their track record. I dead went to go look it up. Yo, there's some goons, bro. There's some goon.
I didn't even know that.
Now, Jokic doesn't play around.
But Marcus ain't no punk.
No,
I'm
they're
not
from
saying-
Philly
I'm
too,
not
though.
saying-
You know what I mean?
Markeith.
Yeah, but what's a goon to a goblin?
Talk
We gonna
to
see.
him.
Lil
Talk
Wayne.
to him.
Philly
Shout
ain't
out to
no
Lil
joke.
Wayne. I don't know. I don't think you want that smoke with those brothers, bro.
Nah, I
With the
won't lie.
Serbian
Jokic,
brothers.
every single time that smoke's brought into his face,
You seen what they
meets
did
it
at
head
Devin
on.
Booker? You saw how they was going. You know,
I mean, it's easy
Nah,
to do
but it's
that.
Devin Booker though.
It's easy to do that in a basketball game. You know somebody gonna break it
Only
up.
thing
I
I'll
think
say
they
that
really
was,
like that,
Only
though.
thing I'll say that was slick was Jokic going and just blindsiding him, where he's not even looking. That's the only thing I'll say that was
I kind of like
dirty
that.
on that sense. That being said, Markeith fouled the mess out of him. That was definitely a hard foul. So I don't blame Jokic for going and retaliating. But at the same time, you don't do it while a guy's back's turned. That's soft. That's soft.
Yeah.
If you hit me first,
If you hit me first, I understand.
If I hit you first and then you wait till I turn around, you gonna hit me?
Exactly though. That's what I'm saying. If you lay your hands on me, it's not no. I'm waiting for you to turn your back and then I'm sneaking you. That's whack.
Then we in the game. And y'all
no,
up.
if you hit me first, I'm gonna go shove
Immediately.
you.
That's it. No, but immediate. It wasn't no immediate. It was like he got shoved.
His
He
back
thought
was
about
turned
it
the whole time,
He
though.
thought about it for a second, and then he was like, nah. And he went and he turned.
It was like he shoved him, and then the process went
It
his
hit
brain. Like
exactly.
he just did that to me, and then he was
But
like,
yeah,
nah.
he had to process it first though.
Yeah, but at the same time, his back was turned. Like you could have really. I don't know. It could have been handled differently, in my opinion. I just thought that was a little.
What would
punk.
you have done?
I mean, if he's pushing me, it's smoke.
He fouls
immediately.
you, what do you do?
It's smoke immediately.
So what do you do? Like walk me through the situation.
That same exact thing happened.
yeah.
He shoves you from the side. You jump up in the air, and then he starts to run back.
Run.
I
is a
guess I have to
stretch.
get in his face. That's
Speed
the only,
walk.
like
Yeah,
I
speed
get, I
walk.
get in his face. If he really tries to do some extra shit, then it really pops. But like if his back's turned, that's soft.
I don't know. You guys think it's soft?
I just
Just think about it on your sense.
not in the situation. That's tough because it's like think about it. Jokic is probably mad as hell.
Yeah.
And his back is already turned, but you already mad as hell, so you're not thinking. So you probably like, nah, I got to get my get back. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I
he
understand.
probably
Like
was-
you black out and then
Yeah,
you
he
just go
probably
to a
was
different
OZ tight.
space.
We already up 20. You doing weird shit like
Yeah.
that. Like you over here bumping me like a weirdo. You probably ain't even
They
scoring
have a
too.
track record of doing that stuff.
Yeah, you ain't scoring no buckets. You not nice, and you coming in here bumping me like that's weird. And you whack. So now I got to do
Oh,
something.
listen, I fully support
Dumb whack.
Jokic. I fully support it.
He's dumb.
Now, Markieff Morris compared to Jokic, yeah, he's done.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And
It's
then
night and
like
day.
it's like you did that, and then now people looking at me in the blind eye, and now your brother jumping on the gram, and I see him 4 times a year, so I know I'm gonna see him down the line. Like it's
Jokic
weird.
brothers definitely gonna be at that game
But what they gonna do? Like honestly, what are they gonna do?
after the game.
What?
What you mean?
Security's
Bro,
not
did you
letting
see-
none of
You
that
can meet
happen,
him after
bro.
the game. Bro.
Also,
You cannot meet him
we
after the
haven't
game.
spoken about Jimmy Butler.
You can't meet him after the game.
Why not?
Fake tough
Bro, it's
too.
almost impossible to meet players after the game. It's so much security, and they're gonna make sure once they see the brothers, they're gonna make sure they get them to the bus.
Did you see the
bro.
picture after the game of all the Miami heads in the locker room waiting for the Nuggets players to go?
Yeah, but I heard Jimmy Butler was talking to somebody else.
Bro, Jimmy Butler
Who
was
was he
being
talking to?
extremely suspect, man. Bro was chatting to the bench, but really just keeping his distance. Just
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking.
yapping.
Like, who was he talking
Nobody
to?
really cared, bro.
Yeah, like he was
looking
just
at him,
he
bro.
was just yelling, screaming, and I'm just like, word, okay.
Yeah,
I
I
mean-
didn't understand that either.
I don't know.
You say that it was soft to Jokic to do that, but isn't it kind of the same thing with Markieff shoving him from the side?
Oh no, I
like
agree.
Jokic isn't looking at him.
Listen, I'm not upset at Jokic retaliating at all. You're a bigger man than Markieff obviously is.
We're playing the bigger man card.
No, I'm just saying, no, bigger man as in like physically, like you know that you can.
Markieff is older than him. He's 30.
But that has nothing to do with anything.
Talk about frame.
I'm talking. It was like size.
I get what
like,
you're saying, but it's
physical
like-
attributes. Like
I think
Jokic's not a
that
pushover.
if
He's from Philly, bro. He don't care about
I think that it's different if you sucker punch somebody. That's a big
Like when
of a
Melo
difference.
Okay, but
Like,
he
it's-
no, but
Derek
he
Jeffries?
shoved he shoved
he
the
decked him.
hell out
Yeah,
of
but like
him.
when you shove somebody, it's kind of you just saying, if you do that again, something else is gonna come to
That
you.
shove was
like
wild,
the,
though.
The
Nah,
shove
he
is
shoved
just
the hell
the
out
shove
of
is
him.
just like, okay, now you know. Like now you know you can't fuck with me.
Yeah.
That's what I think it was. Like a sucker punch is kind of a little bit different.
It's like Melo.
Yeah.
Man, it ran.
Yeah, he backed up. It wasn't a rain. It was a backup.
He did, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
Nah,
was out.
Markieff really got injured though, yeah.
Whiplash.
He did.
Yeah,
Because you got to think about it. Jokic is 7 feet, so the way he hit him, the
Jokic-
shoulder probably hit the neck. So it was probably like
his neck's
He's a
yeah,
big
he's
boy.
a big dude. Like it's
Hell
different. So
yeah.
he probably hit the neck.
yeah. Nah, it's just funny because when
neck's so big.
Markieff shoved Jokic, he probably thought that shit wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he
He
wasn't excited.
thought he was just running back on
Markieff
defense.
all
and
dramatic.
nothing
He
was gonna
he
happen.
fell on the
That's
floor.
crazy.
He like he just falling.
he
It's
died or
like, bro,
something.
get up. Like, what are you doing?
I don't know. I mean,
So who y'all taking in the fight?
They're
the,
bullies.
The Morris twins and Jimmy Butler or the Jokic brothers?
It's
I mean, I'm
easy for
assuming
Jokic
the
brothers.
Jokic brothers have an average height of like
I feel like y'all being
6'7".
racist. That was just funny.
I'm like, how?
I'm just
How?
the Jokic
I
brothers.
might go with the hood kids.
Jokic brothers.
Philly.
Well,
Well, what if they bring Meek Mill with them? I'll take them.
Meek Mill can't fight.
I was about to say
He
Meek Mill
dead
is.
can't fight. Have you
Thank
seen him
God
punch?
he's a
Have you seen him
rapper,
punch the
'cause-
Nah,
bag?
yeah, I've seen it.
I'm taking Jimmy because he was homeless.
He's hungry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
think he's beating up the Jokic brothers.
How big are the Jokic brothers?
I mean,
They're
They're as
tall.
tall as Jokic.
Yeah,
Dead ass?
Bro,
and
it's
they've been to
dumb.
jail.
I
They
see
have
the
a track record, bro.
Nah, you know what it is? I saw the vids. They look really small. That's what. I didn't know they were
they're
7
big,
feet,
bro.
Yeah, never mind. I'm taking the Serbians.
Yeah, I'll take them too.
Somebody say he live in a war zone.
They do.
I'm taking them.
Serbia looks dangerous, but
Hey, bro,
Philly a war zone
bro,
too.
they
though.
created an account just to just to get back at him. They really like that.
Twitter,
We'll see.
the joke. Jokic.
I know Jimmy
brothers.
Butler and James Jones are best friends though, right? So if he call that back up,
James Jones.
James Johnson.
Oh,
Oh, James Johnson's nah, he's on the Nets though.
What that mean?
He
He
in
not
Brooklyn.
going over there. He ain't worried about
Just
them.
slide over, back up. you know?
James Jones.
bro
Now,
shit.
if it was
Yeah.
James Jones, this is a different story.
James Jones. Yeah.
James Jones is like that.
James Jones who?
I mean,
Wait,
James
what?
Johnson.
James
Pardon
Okay.
me. Pardon me.
I was like, y'all
you,
talking
you
about-
set it off with the
Y'all
James
talking about
Jones.
the Suns
fixed
GM.
Yeah, nah. James Jones.
Word to James Jones.
Talking about James
Nah,
Jones.
Yo,
James
did y'all
Johnson
see?
is like
Did y'all
that.
see when Tyler Harrow threw the hoop to Hass?
Oh my
Oh,
god.
he fell.
bro.
He
That
his knee buckled.
He looks so
Yo,
old.
I automatically looked at the Heat bench to see if anybody would laugh, and nobody laughed. But if somebody on that bench was
Because that's
laughing,
the OG. You can't.
Bro, I'd
laugh
have
at
laughed.
him.
I'm not gonna. I would have laughed. Like he looked so old.
Did you see the mid range shot he hit?
Yeah,
it hit
bro.
like every part of the rim and went in. I'm like, yo, he's so whack,
Why would
bro.
a hero throw that? Like he just looked so.
You have
old.
faith in him.
Nah, he's old, bro.
didn't
He,
even
he
judge
didn't even.
that.
Yeah, he just fell.
And then, yo,
Like,
nah,
the
what
knee
happened,
died.
yo, it's just he slowly fell.
Yo, the knee died and everything. I was like, nah, Haslam is done, bro. He is toast.
Why
I
did
seen
he,
the
why did he
game.
sub into the game?
I don't know.
I don't know, bro, but he was toast.
It was
bro.
in the second quarter too. It's not even like it was the end of it. He was getting some real minutes.
That's when they're really in depth issues because you throwing Haslam in the game. Oh my god, he's atrocious.
He's a player coach at this point.
He not even in player coach. I wouldn't listen to him because what you talking about? Honestly, like what you genuinely about to say to me? Like you whack. You still like why are you still
He's
here?
dumb.
Like, nah, he's 40. Like why are you still like you're not even playing the Vince Carter role, bro? You just here to collect the check, bro. Honestly, that's just how I feel. But that's just me.
Nah, he was good at a point.
Yeah, that was like 12 years ago, 13 years ago, like 14. Like it's over, but you know, whatever. He got roots still. Him, D Wade, they solid in Miami. So whatever.
His best season.
It was like 10 points.
12-9.
What was that? 07?
Yeah.
I knew it. Trash bag. Trash.
What did he average in 2012?
5.
4.
Yo, I'm nice. I'm nice. I was close. Yeah, he's trash, bro. What he do? What's his skill set? Defense?
Who you though?
Yeah.
Yeah, defense.
Defense?
Leadership.
He looks dumb skinny.
Leadership.
Nah, he's not.
He's not skinny?
Now that he's older,
Wasn't he like
Leaner.
a really good mid range shooter at one point?
he was.
Was he?
Mid range, he was
Really?
pretty solid.
You think so?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Trash.
Nobody cares.
It's trash.
Yeah. I mean,
Bro got what, 4 rings just sitting?
nah, he played.
3.
3?
He played.
06 he played.
Oh, for sure.
But then after that,
He played with us.
What the hell?
Me and LeBron in Miami.
Oh,
With
yo,
us.
you're so annoying, bro.
I was so confused.
Oh my
like, what?
gosh, bro.
Yeah, you crazy, bro.
I don't care.
Bro got 3 teams.
Bro's a Lakers fan, a Heat fan, and a Cavs fan. Now you're sick mentally.
That's all right, man.
LeBron
Hopefully,
fans,
LA's the
bro.
last stop. You're a Nets fan too, so I don't want to hear you, bro. You're
I'm
on
a
team
James
2.
I'm a
You're
James
about to be
Harden
on
fan.
team 3 after this season because the Nets not gonna have him back if they lose.
Oh man.
You're talking about them losing. They're going to lose.
So,
Word. Y'all gonna lose, bro. We have the best duo in the league, bro. We're gonna win. I can feel it. Y'all not. That's
Who?
You're
Who's
not.
the best duo in the league, bro?
Zach and DeMar. Facts. What the fuck?
Yeah, I'm not siding with you, bro.
Bro,
No.
right now they're not. No, like all jokes aside, like I don't care if it's 10, 9, 12 games. I don't care. I'm
Oh, now you don't care.
Yeah, duh,
now
it's
you
my
don't
team.
care.
I don't
now
care.
You don't care.
Right now,
All right,
they're
so
not
now
the
we're
best.
not answering that question then. If you're not
Who
going to
you
be
rooting for
objective
tonight,
about
though?
it.
You're saying your team. Who you rooting for tonight?
Oh, Bulls.
He capped for the
He
cameras.
cap, bro. He cap for the cameras big time.
I don't
You
cap for the
cap
cameras.
He cap for the cameras
I
big
don't
time.
cap for the cameras,
Nah,
bro.
it was gross
I'm
how
rooting
much
for,
you
look, I'm
just
gonna say I'm
capped.
rooting for a Bulls win, but Steph 40 points. That's what I want.
You're weird, bro.
But you just said earlier
Hold
in
on,
the segment it's a win-win if the Warriors
Because
win, you don't care.
Yeah, if the Warriors win, that's
You're
cool.
not a fan then. You're always supposed to want your team to win, bro.
What?
You always supposed to want your
See,
team
at
to
least I
win, bro.
You didn't want your team to win during that 12 and 70 season. You wanted y'all to
Why are you
tank.
going back to 2010?
No, but you wanted your team to tank before.
That
So
ain't
don't do
nothing
that.
to
Like, why?
Nah, 'cause
what?
no, hold on, hold on,
You
hold
guys
on.
are a
What is
winning
he
team
talking
right now.
about?
Hold on, hold on.
Nah,
I
this
hate-
is
dumb as hell.
I hate that narrative.
dumb.
I hate that narrative.
All right, so watch this.
You wanted your team to tank before.
If the Knicks and the Nets play in the ECF, who do you want to win?
He
Go
said,
Knicks all day.
All right, because that's your
He
team.
capped.
Wait,
JC,
that's your
JC,
team
stop.
mode.
JC, stop. Because he said it on here
capped,
before.
he capped,
He said if
he
it's
capped.
Harden,
He
he said
capped.
if
What
it's
he say?
Harden versus the Knicks in the finals,
Yes.
he said,
No, you
I'm
didn't.
rooting for Harden.
Yes.
That's what he said,
Yes,
bro.
bro.
So
Oh,
you-
Rockets versus Knicks back in
No,
the day.
No, Nets.
No.
He said if they was
He
to play,
said
he's rooting
Nets.
for Harden, bro. Don't let him
It's
fool
on
you.
TikTok.
It's
I don't
on
know.
here. It's on
TikTok.
here, bro. We have it on
I'm gonna
film.
look it up. I don't know. I don't.
He had it on
I
film. Don't let him lie to you.
Bro said I'm rolling Knicks all the way. He lied.
He's a
I gotta see. Yo, y'all gotta send me that. Yo,
Bro, don't let
I
him
gotta see
cap
that.
you. Don't let him cap you. We're all. No, you're the only non-bandwagon over here. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you.
Whoa,
do you
how
mean
am I a
bandwagon?
Like you're the only person that doesn't bandwagon over here.
How am I a bandwagon?
You bandwagon 3 teams in 8
That's
years.
not a bandwagon.
That is
No, no,
legit
you did it.
bandwagon.
No,
That
no,
is
no.
legit. No, you are the biggest
I rolled
bandwagon
with
here.
one
Yeah, you
player.
are.
I never
Exactly.
picked the team.
One player, 3
But
teams.
every team you liked has been one of the best teams in NBA at one point.
No,
Because
a ba-
LeBron's
a-
the
the
best.
A
Cavaliers,
bandwagon
the
is a
Heat,
person
and the
who
Lakers.
jumps from team to team. You went from Cleveland, Ohio,
Bandwagon?
then you went to Miami,
Miami.
Florida,
Then you went
then
back
you
to
went to
Cleveland.
LA. Oh, you went back
No.
to Cleveland, then you went
And
back to
then
LA.
you went to the
and then you
West.
said, and then you just said you might leave again.
No.
If he leave again, you might go. You might go to
LeBron
retirement.
signs a one-day contract with the Cavaliers.
You're going back to
Cavalier
Cleveland.
Nation for
That's
the
what I'm
rest of
saying.
my
You're
life.
the
I
biggest
pray.
bandwagon, and then
I
it's
pray
him.
to
Then
God.
it's me.
No, I pray to God he goes to Cleveland because then I'll never be considered a bandwagon ever
Wait, no,
again.
wait. It's definitely you.
What?
You root for
Oh
the
my
Atlanta
God, name
Hawks.
it.
You root for the you root for the Warriors. Then you root for your team Chicago.
You know what? You're right. You really
I root
can't
for
call me a
one player.
bandwagon, bro.
I tell you
Did-
what's a
did you see
bandwagon.
what I tweeted
No,
about the
you
Spurs
can't.
the other
I root
day?
for one player, and I'm a bandwagon.
Yo, Spurs are sneaky my second favorite team.
Bro knows he's caught. Bro roots for Cam Reddish. Bro roots for Paul George.
bro.
Roots for Steph Curry.
I
Now
never
apparently
said
he's a
I
Bulls
wasn't
fan.
a bandwagon. I said I am a
No,
bandwagon.
but you said you're a bigger.
I'm the biggest. He said I'm the
No, he
biggest.
said I'm
you
the
have
second
7
biggest
different
bandwagon.
jerseys in here.
Also, if you didn't own a Kyrie jersey,
that's- look.
I'd be clean.
Wait, hold on.
That's the only issue.
Hold on. I can't own basketball.
Not a
jerseys.
Kyrie
You
jersey.
own different jerseys of
Not a
you
Kyrie
don't,
jersey.
you don't
He
have
owns a Kyrie jersey?
Yes,
owns a Kyrie
he has a Kyrie
jersey.
and Harden
Really?
jersey,
Wait,
and he has a KD jersey. He has your whole team
No, I don't
jersey.
have.
You
KD.
have a KD
I don't have
jersey?
KD.
Oh.
I just have Kyrie
Alright.
and Harden.
Oh, okay.
But I
I have
got
Kyrie.
Kyrie because it's the city edition jersey of Brooklyn. I like the jersey.
I know.
Wait, so what jerseys do I have then?
You have Kyrie, KD.
The Tom Brady one.
You have a Tom Brady jersey. And you're a Jets fan, and then you have
But
a
we're
Houston.
talking basketball right now, though.
Okay, so you have a Houston jersey. You're
He's
not-
getting cop out, but fine.
No, it's not a
He
compliment.
doesn't root for Houston anymore. He's
doesn't.
done with
He-
Houston
he
because they're
just
whack.
keeps it for Harden.
He just keeps it
That's
for
what
Harden.
it is. You have more other team jerseys than the Knicks.
And
That's
we're
a
not even
fact.
talking
I
about
have a
football.
Julius Randle jersey.
You have one. You have 2 Nets jerseys, which is crazy.
No,
and
I
you
had
have one.
I had a
Do you have an
Kristaps-
RJ Barrett
And you had a
jersey?
Melo jersey.
Not yet.
You had a Melo jersey.
I had a Melo jersey.
You have a Melo jersey.
I
It's
did
in
it.
picture. I
have it in
remember it,
picture.
yes.
Yeah.
You have the
I
shirt
also
with
have
the
a
jersey.
Kristaps
Jersey.
Porzingis. I also have the Kristaps Porzingis shirt. I didn't get the jersey. The reason why I haven't bought in the Knicks jersey was because I wasn't sure if these players were going to be on the roster year to year. Now that we have stability, yeah, I'm going to buy more jerseys. The only jerseys I have are James Harden in Houston because James Harden is my favorite player. I got James Harden in Brooklyn because he's my favorite player.
the Arizona State
I got
one, too?
James Harden in Arizona State
Tough.
where he went to college.
Super tough.
And the only other player jersey I have is Lou Will on the Clippers because I went to the Clippers game and I bought that as a memory.
So you got a Clip jersey before me. Who's really
No,
the
but
bandwagon?
You.
That's
But
crazy.
it's because when I go out to places, I like to buy things from that place to remember it from.
Fair enough. Yeah, hell yeah.
You know, like I went to a J. Cole concert. I bought a J. Cole shirt when I was there.
Oh, no, yeah.
Wasted your money.
Nah.
Oh my gosh.
shirt
I know that was
fire.
mean. That
That
was
was
mean. They're not gonna
incredible.
like
He
that.
got the Buccaneers hat over there too.
Yeah, I bought the whole Super Bowl gear for the Bucks.
Listen, you're honoring.
You know what?
Buck
You know what
that
he
season.
does have? He does have the James Harden beard.
Yeah,
That's pretty.
That's tough.
I've never seen that.
that's insane.
That's a good cop.
Yeah, so what are you talking about? But you root for the most teams here, bro.
By far.
Like NBA teams, you definitely
By
root for
far.
the most NBA
I
teams.
1,000% do. I do.
Time out. So now I gotta start rooting for teams now. Then
Nah, just root for players. You don't root for teams. You root for
I gotta
players.
start rooting for teams now.
'Cause that's how really the NBA has turned
So
out.
now
It's
when
a
the Nets
players'
lose, I'm
league.
gonna choose another great team. So it's not really.
I mean, I don't choose great teams. Memphis wasn't a great team. Atlanta wasn't a great team.
Oh, so Memphis is being added to the teams now?
Yeah, I never heard you root for Memphis like that.
No, I watch John Moran all the time.
John Moran.
I love Donovan
Mitchell.
I watch John Moran all the time.
You like Giannis,
I don't watch him.
but do you like him?
Yeah, he cool.
You used to be a big Donovan Mitchell fan. You're
I
not
still
that,
am.
You're not
I like
that,
Donovan Mitchell.
But you're not as big as a fan of Donovan Mitchell as you.
He's my
you
second.
once
He's
were.
my second favorite player.
You don't talk about him.
Who's your number one favorite player? Kyrie?
Nah, LeBron.
Respect.
Is it?
Yeah, it's always been
I thought
LeBron.
one was Mitchell.
Nah, LeBron 1, Donovan 2, Kyrie 3, Klay
Giannis
Thompson
isn't 3 no more?
No, Klay Thompson 4 and Giannis 5. I always like Klay Thompson. I always try to tell you that, but you always thought he was whack. But without him, there's no dynasty.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, no,
cool.
no, it's not.
No, that's cool.
No, it's not.
Doesn't really matter. Bro, I don't care.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
There's no splash. There's no championships
So
without Klay
Drew's
either.
rooted for 3 teams. You root for 4.
Come, I've rooted for one player. Can
Atlanta.
I get that, please?
One player. In
So
3
damn, I
situations.
really only root for one team then.
I root for 5, bro.
Jeez.
So you're the biggest bandwagon here. Then
Oh.
second is you. Then third is
How
me.
am I second? I root for one player.
Well, it's different because he's die harding for those 3 teams. I don't die hard for Memphis. Like if they lose, it's life. I don't die hard for
So
Atlanta.
you really follow Atlanta for Cam Reddish? That's
yeah, that's
literally the only
legit. That
reason?
is legit.
That's
Yeah,
bad.
like
That's terrible. Like he's doing it for LeBron, he does it for Harden. You're doing it for Cam Reddish, bro. Are you kidding me?
wait, you were following
Cam
the Nets
Reddish?
for Karis LeVert. What the hell?
He's a Nets fan, bro.
What are you talking about? I'm not Sebastian, bro. What are
Bro.
you talking about? I'm not Seb, bro. Seb is the biggest Karis LeVert fan. He thought I was Seb, bro.
Party.
He thought I was
So
Seb.
is Seb a Pacer fan now?
Nah, he keeps up with him though.
Okay, I
Yo,
respect that.
That's a
Yo,
weird,
he
that's a
came up
weird
to me
thing
the other day.
keep
He's like, yo, you saw LeVert the other day? I'm like, bro, he's not on my team, bro. Nah. Yo, like he's not on my team.
You saw LeVert.
Nah, but he's big LeVert.
I mean,
LeVert's his favorite player.
I watch Cam, but I don't run up to people talk about, yo, you seen Cam Reddish last night. I don't do that.
I don't know. I mean, every time he has a good game, you get a little happy.
Yeah, me personally, inside.
He goes like,
me,
Cam.
like
Like
me.
when you said Cam was averaging 12 points, he's like, yeah.
But when I tweet, I don't never tweet. Like when I tweet, you see Steph's name or PG's name. That's always what it is.
I wish you had your Twitter account. You could go through people's tweets.
You gotta create a new Twitter, bro.
I can't. I'm still blocked. They find me.
Wait, what do you mean? How are you block? How do they find you though?
Like I'll make an account and then like they'll be like, "Oh, we found who you are. You're
All right,
still
just
suspended."
Use a new
Oh
email.
my
I
gosh.
did. No,
yo,
I
what
did.
you
Like
do?
there's nothing I can do to get it back.
I cook you up.
Okay, you say that.
What if I just give you something I have?
I had Sebastian's last time, and they got me.
a Sebastian.
Keep it stacked.
I told somebody I'll kill them on Twitter.
Yeah, that'll get you suspended.
on the
That'll
feed.
get you
No, but we were going back and forth, and they literally only suspended me.
You
So
said
I was,
that to
Oh,
me
it was a
before.
real argument?
Yes.
Nah, we was playing. Like, I've said that to
exactly.
Drew
He said
too.
that to
So
me
who
OD
reported you?
times.
Twitter just saw it. And
Yeah,
they just like,
that's something to get you.
That
suspended.
sucks.
yeah, they always get me, bro. And it's
What do
like,
you- he said he's gonna kill him on TL.
I was playing.
Nah, I'm not gonna lie. I said something very bad the other day.
What'd you say?
No.
Did you get suspended?
I don't want to say it.
Yeah,
is
I said
bad?
something very bad.
Did you get suspended?
No,
That's
I deleted
see,
it.
See the shit I'm talking about?
But it was so bad that Joel had to private message me and be like, "Yo, bro, you wilding right now, like you bugging out." And then I had to think about it. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm bugging out. Let me take
Damn.
that."
Did you
down.
screenshot it?
Yeah, that's
I gotta see
Oh,
this.
yo, you always.
You gotta show me that. You gotta show me that.
Upper, you always gotta be careful with Twitter, man. Always.
That's why I don't tweet crazy, bro.
I stopped tweeting almost completely.
For
Bro,
real?
I literally
Yeah.
created a new Twitter in like 2018. So none of my tweets from when I was
I
younger.
don't want my handle to
Are there.
ever leave me.
I'm gonna try
Andrew
to
with
get back
5
on.
A's is something I want to go to the grave with.
It's kind of whack, bro.
To
Oh my
you,
God.
Now your name does suck.
to y'all.
Not your like full name, like your Twitter name.
I know what you're saying.
Your shit is like Andrew the Weekend or some shit like
That's all right. Like
the Weekend Warrior.
a
What does
lot-
that mean?
so
Oh my God, they
there's
going.
people that in weekdays their lives are miserable and they look forward to the weekend. Weekend warriors. That's a thing. I'm a
What's the
weekend
next
warrior.
topic?
Next topic is the MVP race. Who do you think is top 5 right now? I'll start with the Weekend Warrior. What do you think?
Andrew.
So right now, my MVP's got to be Steph Curry. He's been absolutely incredible.
He's whack.
I wouldn't say whack
tired
is
of
the
him,
word.
bro.
I mean,
Tired
his
of him.
his team's only lost
Tired of
one
him.
game.
No, I'm
I mean,
joking.
and
He's up
his
there.
defense really has been the most impressive factor to me, obviously outside
Tired
of
of
what
him.
he's been doing on the offensive side. Then I go and I look at Kevin Durant and the fact that he's averaging almost 30 points on 57%
Leading the NBA in
shooting
scoring.
from the field. That is absolutely insane. Then I look at Jokic. Obviously, Jokic is playing borderline perfect. I think he, at one point, had a PER rating in the 40s, and I think that's never been done. I think the next highest was Wilt Chamberlain. Obviously, that's the record. Then I got Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler has been excellent for the Miami Heat this season. Defensively, he's been a pest with steals almost every single game. I have him in fantasy basketball. It's a dream come true. He wins me the steal category every single week, but he's doing it scoring-wise, defensively, rebounds, facilitating the offense. He's been fantastic. And then at 5, I got Riv's boy over here, DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan, up until this point, has been the best player on the Bulls right now.
You look like him. No, he's not. You got the braids because of him.
DeMar DeRozan's averaging 26 points per game this season. Obviously, he hasn't had
they
to.
got the brace because of DeRozan.
Yo.
That jacking that. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, but that's my 5. I got Curry. I got KD. I
I hate your 5.
Jokic, Jimmy Butler, DeMar DeRozan.
He has your man's
Hate
number
your
1.
5.
What's wrong with it?
He has
So
your
at
man's-
number
So
one,
hold on. Name your 5 again.
Okay, I got Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Jokic, Jimmy Butler, DeMar DeRozan.
my turn.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant at 1 right now. You know, he's playing out of his mind. We call him the efficiency king because his efficiency is through the roof right now. He's just dominating the game at an offensive level that we don't see too much nowadays. So I got him at number 1.
Agreed.
Unicorn.
Number 2, Steph Curry. You know, 10-1 record. He's improved as a playmaker, which I didn't even think was possible for him. He's improved on defense. The shooting strokes aren't there, but he's had his moments, his 50-point game, his 40-point game. So he's been there consistently, and he's, of course, leading his team to 10-1. Number 3, I got the Joker. With all those injuries, stop talking. With all those injuries, you know, he's still doing what he do, and it's just ridiculous how he puts up those numbers. He's able to impact the game from an offensive standpoint and still able to do this. Number 4, I have Paul George. Because with all those injuries, he's still able to lead his team. This guy's a clown. And then defensively, he's still able to do his
Give him his credit. I'm a crowd. Yo, get out of here,
he's still
bro.
defensively, he's been phenomenal. And then number 5, I got DeMar DeRozan, 8-3, second best record in the East. He's been dominant on offense.
Beat the Nets.
Second, what is he? Top 4 scorer in the East. He's just been on a different level. He's improved his 3-point% shooting. He can shoot the 3 ball. His mid range is on money, and he's playing somewhat defense this year. So that's what I like about him. So that's my 5.
You
All
had
right,
one
so
different player than me. My
I
list
have
is trash.
basically the same 5%, but I mean, I have Kevin Durant. Obviously, number 1. I'm a Nets fan, but like he's leading the NBA in scoring. He's giving you 8.5 rebounds a game, 5 assists, almost 50,
Jesus.
40. He's kind of down on the free throws this year, but he's
What
been
is it?
playing 83.
Oh,
It's kind of just like one of his lows.
Bro, be tired carrying Harden.
Yeah. After that, my number 2 is Steph Curry, 10-1 record, playing great basketball. The efficiency's not there, but his team's winning. They have the best record in the NBA, so I can't have him anywhere out of the top 3. My number 3 is Jokic. He's putting up 25, 14, and 6. I mean, he's carrying this team with all the injuries. He came into the season without Jamal Murray, second best player, playing really well. Nothing more needs to be said. Paul George averaging 27, 8, and 5, carrying the Clippers. They were started 1-4. Now they're tied with the Phoenix Suns for the highest win streak in the NBA. That alone propelled them to this part of the list, being my number 4. And my number 5 is DeMar DeRozan. Obviously, I mean, he's had a resurgence for his career. I mean, he's putting up 26, 6, and 4. I mean, this is a completely different player than what I saw from the Spurs. I saw what you tweeted the other day. Maybe the Spurs were misusing him and he wasn't being used to his full ability. He looks like he has just...
What did you mean by that,
There's
though?
no talent around.
That's
him to
1,000%
really
when it
blossom.
was.
What did you mean by that, though?
I think that what DeRozan is doing now is showing us that the Spurs were misusing him when he was there. Before he got to San Antonio, he was averaging 25 points per game.
Oh, you mean like
in
as a
Toronto.
scorer?
Yeah, and then he goes to San Antonio.
He had a season in Toronto where he averaged 27.
No, we're letting him. Like, we're just.
He's good,
He
bro.
didn't. DeMar DeRozan
The
didn't get
best thing
the
you guys could have done.
DeMar DeRozan didn't get the chance to really flourish in San Antonio. Now in Chicago, you see that he probably should have been averaging 24 to
He's going to
26
be an all-star this year.
for the last couple of seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we got
Keeps
the
us
we got
up
the
at the
proper
start.
spacing too, so we just throw him that ball on the other side, or just run the ISO, do your thing, and he just go get a bucket.
So yeah, DeMar's my number 5, and then like just for honorable mentions, I got Jimmy Butler at 6, Giannis, Rudy, Ja, and then Joel Embiid. But he's probably gonna go down because he hasn't been playing.
So what's your list, 1 through 5?
KD at 1. I got Steph at 2. I got the Joker at 3. Paul George at 4, and then I got DeMar DeRozan at 5.
Exact one.
Same exact one?
Same exact one.
Oh, that's a pretty good list.
What about? Did you have a list?
Nah, I didn't have it. I told you I'm just going to be the host today.
You want to just throw a list off the top
Throw it,
of
hurry
your,
up.
or top of your head?
Well, KD is obviously 1. I think anybody who doesn't have KD 1 is...
Who didn't have KD 1? You didn't.
The guy whose team is 10-1.
You stink. Anyways,
but I think Kevin
for
Durant...
Jokic number
listen,
2 be made, Joel?
definitely.
Yeah.
Over Curry?
Yeah.
Having KD.
But Curry, anything lower than 3 is dumb.
I'm not against KD1. Obviously, he's averaging.
You just don't like him. You've expressed that you don't like him.
Yes,
So
everyone knows I don't like him. That being said, 30 points on 57% from the field as a jump shooter is unheard
You should
of.
see a therapist about that hate.
No.
No.
He did it to himself.
KD's 1. Steph is 2. I think 3 is probably Jokic. 4 is Paul George, and 5 is DeRozan.
You just stole what me and JC said.
No, I literally have it. I
you
have
did?
just this. I had John Moran here, but he's not top.
What is he, like 7, 6 for
I
you?
think he's probably
KD is
around
4 for 5 tonight, 80%.
This guy is ridiculous. You need to seek a therapist about that hate.
Joe Harris is 5 for 5.
You're mad at him
because
because he wins.
No, I'm mad at him because he's a snake.
Because he took rings from your goat?
Yes.
That's really weird.
Think I care?
It's
You
not
think
weird.
I care what you
It's
tell me?
not weird for
Do
you
you?
because it benefited you and your favorite player getting
Exactly.
championships.
No, I was upset KD went there. I wanted to see
You
Steph.
must have been. Thank you,
I wanted to
KD,
see
for
Steph
saving
average 30 again,
Steph.
honestly.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Without you, we wouldn't have
no,
more than
no,
one ring.
no, no, no,
Oh,
no,
KD,
no, no,
God
no,
bless you.
No. You got it wrong. I didn't want KD to go Golden State. I wanted to see Steph
He
go
didn't
on
want
a
him, but then
stretch.
once he got there, oh, KD, you're our savior.
That's
I
not
love
true.
you.
I didn't know. First of all, Steph already had his 1. He was good.
That
Yeah,
was an
but
asterisk.
Doesn't matter. Who cares?
No one would have respected that one ring.
Who
as
cares
they
what you
respect the
respect?
3 now.
He was in the Hall of Fame after that.
Look, I will say
He was
say
in
one
the Hall
thing
of
though.
Fame after one championship.
after that,
No,
after the 7-3-9 season, he was in the Hall of Fame.
Nah,
Oh, yes.
yo,
He was in the Hall of
I
Fame.
will say
Yes.
one thing. Steph Curry did win 73-9. He lost in the finals, but if he would have won that, if he would have won that championship with
That's
that
without a
record
doubt.
with the United, he would have been top 10 player of all time.
I mean,
He
he's
would have been
already
if he would have capped it over the championship. With,
the way that he's been playing right now and how he's
I
been
mean,
getting better with age.
Without that, he's still top 15.
no,
clean.
but I
Oh,
think with
man.
that season, he's top. With what he's doing now, but if he had won the championship with the 73-9, that's the.
Well, he's gonna
top
win
10.
this one, so you have to put him in your top 10.
I hope he plays the Nets.
Listen,
so
if
Kevin
he
Durant can
wins
cook
this
him.
One, there's nothing anyone can say.
There's
including-
nothing anyone can say now.
Now, there's really nothing you
Debatable.
could say.
Doesn't have a Finals MVP.
Doesn't care. Doesn't care.
That's a little bit of a a mark,
doesn't
but it's not too
care?
big.
You mean doesn't matter?
No, whatever. you got
Bro
to
said doesn't care.
He
He should
doesn't
have won.
care.
He probably should have won the year Iguodala won.
Oh, he'll argue to death about that.
You think Iguodala deserved it?
I think Iguodala did deserve it.
He'll argue to death
Yeah.
about
Didn't he
that.
average 26 and 7?
Not against LeBron.
He led the team
No, in
in points
2015.
and assists.
Yeah, he did. He dead should have won.
Now when Iggy was guarding
If we're keeping it
LeBron,
stacked,
did a great
LeBron
job.
should
he
have
did he really held him
MVP.
in check.
I'm not a fan of giving losers
I
the
agree.
trophies.
I agree.
Yeah, no, me neither.
I
I don't even
LeBron
think Jerry
def-
West should have got. I don't like losers
Fair
getting
enough.
trophies.
Fair enough.
Kareem won an
Jerry West
MVP
should
without
got-
making the
got-
playoffs.
shouldn't
Finals
have won.
Yeah, he
MVP.
won an MVP when he lost.
Yeah, I don't
How about
think-
MVP without making the playoffs?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, Kareem
got
dead
one. I don't-
won one
I'm not
like
a fan
that.
of that either. Because how are you the MVP?
I mean, wasn't Russ's team like the 6th?
Yeah, but they made the
7th seed?
playoffs.
No,
Made
but
it.
that was also the first time anyone ever, obviously
Since
outside of
Oscar.
Oscar, triple double.
He thinks James Harden should have won the year they were the 4th seed when he averaged 36.
That's
Easily.
fair.
Harden
averaging
yo,
36.
Harden was,
He
yo,
averaged
Harden was
36 in
different
the
that year,
regular
bro.
season.
Yeah, he should have
You didn't know
won
that?
MVP that year.
36 is crazy.
36 and 8.
You know who else did that?
Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
I was going to say the only one
37.
I knew was Jordan.
Yeah.
Kobe put up 36 one year too.
Yeah. You know who else he won that year? MVP, DPOY. He won a lot that year. All-Star Game MVP, led the league in
Not the
steals.
finals.
Nah, he couldn't get there. It sucks. Oh, you want to play that game? You sure you want to play that game?
What happened last year?
Listen, Michael,
Your GOAT what?
he has enough.
Enough what?
He's fine. He's the
Fine
greatest
with what?
ever.
Greatest ever?
He is.
In hockey?
No, bro. He
Michael
plays
Jordan did
basketball.
all that in 12 years, bro.
Good for
crazy.
him. Like,
It's half his
upset.
career. This guy needed to play 19.
You're upset.
Not really.
You're upset.
I mean, it took KD going to the Warriors to stop LeBron.
But why are we talking
Prime.
about KD? He's not in the GOAT conversation.
Because he wants
That's
LeBron to win more rings.
that's what's halted LeBron from being
So win this year, LeBron.
undisputed greatest ever.
So win this year, LeBron.
There would never be an undisputed GOAT in the NBA.
If he goes those 2 back-to-back years and wins, yes, he's
If.
the greatest ever. I agree.
You see how you have to use it?
I'm just saying, yeah. Listen, I'm very well aware that
With Michael Jordan,
we're
we
stolen
say he did.
away from me.
Well,
He did.
he won't win this year, so.
Listen, you better hope not. Because if he does, I will not shut up. I won't.
You don't shut up now.
Correct. Exactly. Now
You don't
imagine,
shut up now.
imagine it times 20.
Imagine he tells what?
Times 20 when we win a championship.
Bro, you're a clown, bro.
We gonna see. I'm not counting the Lakers out, bro.
This shit, bro.
Don't count the Lakers out, bro.
I'm counting.
The best
Don't
thing
count
that
'em out,
happened to
bro.
the
You
Lakers.
guys, the Lakers are playing other teams in Westbrook.
I counted
can't
them
wait.
out. I've counted out LeBron. I counted them out in that game against the San Antonio Spurs when Ray Allen hit that 3. I'm like, they're done. Counted up against the Warriors when they were. I wanted the Warriors to win that year when they were up 3-1. I counted them out then. Don't count them out, bro.
I didn't count him out when he played the Suns, and I looked stupid as hell that day. So I'm done. I'm off.
He never had up until that point. He never lost in the first round, so that's fair that you didn't count him out.
That means the clock's ticking, boy. It's over.
He's about to be 37 next month.
For your sake, you better hope you're right.
I'm good.
Eventually, we are going to be right. He's 37.
Yeah,
About to
I
be
mean,
37.
eventually, sure, but not this year.
We'll see. We'll see. He's injured right now, so
I
He's
hope
out for a
these-
month.
I
Believe it or
hope
not,
these
this will
injuries-
be the best thing that happened to the Lakers.
Probably.
Because we need to learn how to play without LeBron. Simple.
Oh,
That's true. Yeah, it is true.
Simple.
His teams
And
don't clearly perform well without
Anthony
him.
Davis has been otherworldly.
I'm sick
Wrap
of
it
hearing
up,
about
Joel.
Anthony Davis.
we're going to move on to the Patreon portion of this podcast.
Talking about 80.
So if you're subscribed to our Patreon, you guys can ask us questions, and we'll have them on the show and answer them. And we have 4 right here. First one from George Espin and Garcia. Will Jalen Green have an Anthony Edwards type of rookie season?
I think he's in that realm. I don't think he'll have the second half that Anthony Edwards had last year, but I think for a fact he's going to have the inefficiency woes. He's going to have the those nights where he's struggling from the field because he's a high volume scorer. And he's a guy who takes a lot of shots. So I think he'll definitely have that inefficiency woes throughout his rookie year.
What did Anthony Edwards average? 23 points his rookie season?
In the second half.
He averaged 24 in the second half.
Yeah.
But in total, it was 18.
It's 19, I
19.
think.
Okay. I mean, he's averaging around 15 right now. It's not impossible given the fact that he's going to get a boatload more opportunities in terms of shot attempts per game, every single game, because the Rockets are not going to be good. They're just going to trust him to do what he wants. So I can see it being a possibility of him averaging around what Anthony Edwards did, but I just don't think that he could reach the talent level of Anthony Edwards. Can he have a season like Anthony Edwards? Sure. I think it's possible, but I don't think that he'll come close to what Anthony Edwards did in the second half of the season.
When I look at the rookie seasons, Anthony Edwards obviously started out inefficient, started out not being able to hit shots. The same things can be said about Jalen Green. I think there's only a matter of time before somebody who shoots that many shots and shoots that many three-pointers starts hitting. Obviously, he's not hitting right now. He's had a couple of good games, like the 23-point game, the 30-point game against Boston. It's been here and there. It's been like really spread out. But I think that I wouldn't be surprised like after the All-Star break if he has that Anthony Edwards type where he starts hitting his jump shots. Because it's only a matter of time before I think a player like that with his talent level and his scoring ability starts to hit his shots. So I think he can have that Anthony Edwards second half of the season.
I think that's right on. And even before the season started, I said that his rookie season is going to be up and down. It's going to be like Anthony Edwards. He's going to be inefficient. He is a volume scorer. He's a volume shooter. And Jalen Green, I don't know if he's going to have the second half that Anthony Edwards had because Anthony Edwards played like a top 7 shooting guard in the league in the second half. He was averaging 24 a game on great efficiency. I don't know if that's going to be Jalen Green. I think Jalen Green will probably finish the season averaging 16 to 17 a game, shooting 42% from the field and like 35% from 3. I think that'll be a stat line. So, yeah, pretty similar to Edwards.
Wouldn't be bad at all.
Yeah,
think he can do that.
pretty similar to Edwards, but not quite what Edwards was. And now, second question from Sean Triplett. Mid-season awards predictions for the NFL. So, MVP, Coach of the Year, Rookie of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year, and DPOY.
This guy wants it all. I could give it to him.
MVP, I'm going to have to go. You could what? No, I didn't hear what you
knew
said.
it was
I didn't hear what you said. I
Nah,
didn't
yes,
hear-
you did, bro.
No,
Yes,
I
you did.
did not hear what you whatever. MVP, it got to be Tom Brady. Like, no doubt it got to be Tom Brady. He's playing phenomenal at an old age.
What's wrong with this guy?
Yo, bro, I asked you a
I'm
simple
sorry, bro.
question.
This guy.
You need help.
I need help.
Yes.
Okay. MVP, Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? Coach,
You know what I'm saying?
Coach of the Year, this one going to sound whack, but I'm going to go Sean Payton if they make the playoffs.
Okay.
Look, let's just go from MVP to the final award. So MVP first, yours is Tom Brady
Why you cut me off?
because you're making it longer than it has
Sorry.
to be. So yours is Tom Brady, MVP.
Yes.
Yours is who's Drew?
I mean, right now, I feel like the front runner has to be Tom Brady. He's played up until this point perfect, and he's one of the only players right now to be doing that. So, Brady.
Thanks.
Yeah, Tom Brady. Yeah,
I'm going with Tom Brady easily. And that was my pick before the season.
I was gonna say Kyle Pitts, but no, I'm joking.
Coach of the Year.
I'm going to have to go with Sean Payton. With all them injuries to his team, if they make the playoffs, I don't see how you can't be the Coach of the Year.
Believe it or not, I feel like after this past Sunday, I know it's against San Fran and that they're not the greatest of teams, but to play without your starting QB and your by far and away your best skill position player in DeAndre Hopkins and still be the dominant force that you've been basically all season, I'm going Cliff Kingsbury. He's been calling excellent games week in, week out, every single week. He's been excellent up until this point, and I think that he can continue.
I'm gonna go with Sean McVay. I got Sean McVay.
Not going to offer an explanation.
Huh? Oh no, I'm going with Sean
It's
McVay.
the way I'm just going to go with Sean McVay.
Nah,
It's
Sean
just-
McVay. I think obviously the Rams are one of the best teams in the league. They're contenders. I think they're going to finish with a high record. I think with the acquisition of Odell Von Miller is only going to make their team better. I think they're going to probably finish first or second in their conference, and I think that'll be good enough. But to get them Coach of the Year, but I still think there's a shot that they could get number one in the NFC.
Yeah, I'm going Cliff Kingsbury too. I think they'll probably finish with the best record in football. And because of that, Cliff Kingsbury will most likely win the award. If not, Brandon Staley. Next up, Rookie of the Year.
Chase.
It's got to be Jamar Chase at this point. You know, he's one of the most dominant offensive players in this league as a rookie. So I'm going to go with Jamar Chase. I feel like his impact on the game has been unforeseen. So I'm going to go with him.
Listen, my Rookie of the Year is Jamar Chase. That being said, the NFL's Rookie of the Year is probably Mac Jones. If Mac Jones gets his team to the playoffs,
Wait, what?
Mac Jones.
No, wait, you said I'm going to pick Jamar Chase.
So my Rookie of the
All
Year
right,
is Jamar Chase. But knowing the NFL and knowing that they're biased towards the quarterback position, Mac Jones, for what he's been doing with the Patriots, a.k.a. winning football games, putting the Patriots in a position to compete for their division as a rookie is going to bode well with the voters.
I got Jamar Chase. I think, we've all discussed, I think he can ultimately end up breaking a receiving record as for a rookie. So I think if that happens, you have no choice but to give him the Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
Last year, the race was between Herbert and
Jettas.
Justin Jefferson. Herbert won it because he had a historically great rookie season for a quarterback. And just as a quarterback in general was great amongst his peers. And it was still a close race. Jamar Chase is about to have a historic season for a rookie wide receiver. And Mac Jones isn't at some historical rookie quarterback pace. Because of that, Jamar Chase, I think, will easily win this award. For the defensive side, I think it's probably going to be Micah Parsons, though.
You think
Parsons has been stellar.
You think if Mac Jones makes the playoffs?
No, I don't think it matters. I think
If he wins the
Jamar's-
division,
it depends on his numbers. It's still going to be Matt. I think it's still going to be Jamar Chase.
listen,
if he has the
I
numbers.
think it should be Jamar Chase because he's going to break every rookie record in terms of probably receiving yards for sure. I think that's a lock already. What's the record for touchdowns? Do you know off the top of your head?
33.
No, by a rookie. For
17.
really,
Randy Moss.
he had 17 in his rookie season.
Yeah.
That's insane. I don't know if Jamar could touch 17 touchdowns, obviously, but if he breaks the rookie receiving record, it should give him a strong chance to win.
Comeback player of the year.
Has to be Dak for me.
Yeah.
Has to be Dak. Comeback team is the best team in the division, one of the best teams in the NFC. Dak for me.
Yeah, I mean, Dak's the easy choice here. He obviously had a gruesome injury last season. He destroyed his ankle, and he's come back and been the Dak Prescott we know.
Yeah, I agree. Everything they said, I believe, is Dak Prescott coming off the injury. I mean, we're all reiterating the same thing, but Yeah. What's so funny though? Let me stop. Go ahead.
I think it's between Dak Prescott and Joe Burrow.
like
And
this.
Dak
Joe
is
Burrow's
having,
definitely in that conversation.
Dak is having a better season than Joe Burrow, so it's probably going to be Dak Prescott. Now, defensive
I forgot
player of
about
the
him.
year.
I gotta go Trayvon Diggs.
Really?
He's completely changed the landscape of the Dallas Cowboy defense, and he's leading the league in interceptions. So I'm gonna go with Trayvon Diggs.
It's between Myles Garrett and Jalen Ramsey for me personally. I feel like just the impact that Jalen has for his team, he completely holds down the secondary for them. You don't have to think about it. Jalen Ramsey has it covered. Now, Myles Garrett's leading the league in sacks, and obviously defensive ends and leading the league in sacks always goes hand in hand with winning Defensive Player of the Year, and obviously he's that impact-type player. He's a physical freak of nature, and that only helps his case as well. I think if I had to choose one, it would be a miracle if a corner won it, so I'm going to lean.
Stephon Gilmore just won it.
He did, but that was surprising to me, truthfully.
Tough.
So I think.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was surprising. You know what? I am going to go Jalen. Thank
That was
you.
a dominant year
I'm
for
gonna
him.
go
Yeah, I'm
Jalen.
saying
You
no.
know Jalen Ramsey?
Jalen Ramsey.
For defense player of the year.
Yeah, man.
He picked Jalen.
Okay.
You laughing because it was a bad pick?
Yeah.
He's just surprised.
No, he's laughing because it was a bad pick.
But why so though? Nah, give your
No. Go ahead.
I don't really care. I don't care.
It's not because he's not a great player. We know he's the best
He's
corner.
been playing great though.
He's the best corner in football.
By far.
But you got to have the statistics to also back up that defense player of the year.
The thing is, no one's throwing to him.
Which is
No one's throwing to him, and he still has how many interceptions? At minimum, what?
Did Revis
3,
ever
4?
win one?
No.
Reeves did win
Yes,
one.
he did.
Reeves got one.
09?
The 09 season.
09.
Yeah,
he
Reeves
did.
got one.
Well, that was different. Jalen Ramsey's not doing what Revis is doing.
I mean, Gilmore just won Defensive Player of the Year,
Gilmore had the stats too, though.
and Jalen, no one's throwing to him.
That's literally not our
That's
fault.
the
Ramsey's
stats.
not gonna win it, bro.
Listen,
Diggs will win it before Ramsey,
I
bro.
agree, but I've said it early on the season. I thought that Jalen would be my Defensive Player of the Year. He's playing at a Defensive Player of the Year level, but
He
Myles
always
he's
is.
Garrett has
he's
the
the
numbers.
best corner in football.
He always is.
There's no
But
doubt.
that's when he's playing at that type of level.
Diggs is gonna get it before him.
Diggs, I'm be honest, bro. He's done.
Numbers are better.
No, he's giving up how many yards every single game? He has the interception, sure, but he's getting burnt.
Hey, for a corner, that's lit.
Yes.
Look, Trayvon Diggs isn't gonna win it either because he hasn't had an interception in the last 2 games, and I know it's only been 2 games.
Basically his crutch of winning it.
But Trayvon Diggs, if he doesn't get more interceptions, he's not going to win the award. Xavier Howard had 10 interceptions last year. He didn't even sniff the Defensive Player of the Year award. Because of that, I'm going with Myles Garrett. I think Myles Garrett has been the most dominant force in football outside of Aaron Donald this season. Myles Garrett's just on a different level. And if it's not Myles Garrett, it's probably going to be TJ Watt. It's one of those 2 players for Defensive Player of the Year, in my opinion.
Yeah, that was my pick was going to be TJ Watt. He's second in the league in sacks. I think he's top 3 in forced fumbles as well. He's only a half a sacks behind Myles Garrett.
He was in the race last year.
Yeah, I think
Should have won last year.
I think he's gonna get it this year.
Only reason he didn't win last year is because Aaron Donald had the numbers he did, and he was getting double and triple teamed.
And now,
He's a
third
goat.
question. This is from Jay Aqua.
Good old Jay Aqua.
What are your thoughts on the Lakers?
He asked that specifically for me.
He wants an in-depth, deep analysis, by the way.
Okay. How do I put this deep analysis? The Lakers have a lot of problems. They're injured. That's number 1.
Yep.
Number 2, Westbrook has yet to find his identity on the team. LeBron's not playing. That's also a big factor. But at the same time, I think this team just lacks that defensive intensity that it's showed in the past. They're trying to play big, and I think they just don't have the personnel. Anthony Davis refuses to play the 5, and I think their best ability.
Wrong. He's been playing the 5 a
Nah, he
lot
has
this
been
season.
playing
He's been, but he still hasn't committed to it fully. I want to see him commit to it fully. That's what I want to see
be
from
honest,
start
though.
to finish.
He has.
No, he didn't. DeAndre Jordan just started, but
You can start at the 5, but as the game goes along,
I want
AD's
to
the 5.
see him commit to it fully. I don't want to see DeAndre Jordan
Okay.
and Anthony
All right.
Davis. I don't want to see those lineups
Fair.
anymore. I don't want to see Rondo and
I don't
Russell
either.
Westbrook in those lineups. I want to see Anthony Davis commit to the 5, and when LeBron comes back, he slots at the forward spot. And I want to see Westbrook find his groove in his offense. I want to see THT back. I want to see how that's going to go. Trevor Ariza, when he is fully healthy, I want to see how that's going to go. But for the most part, this team just has to get healthy and find their identity and find their strengths and their weaknesses. Because right now, they're just trying to figure it out.
I guess if I had to say specifically our biggest weakness right now, truthfully, yeah, it is shooting. But Wayne Ellington last night or 2 nights
Malik
ago,
Monk, Malik
Monk, God bless that man, Carmelo Anthony has been absolutely outstanding for us. Right now, it just rides on Russell Westbrook's efficiency, truthfully. He's been very inefficient. He's been turning the ball over an egregious amount. I think he just needs to slow it down is just something impossible to ask Russell Westbrook to do because he just plays at such a fast pace 24/7 every single game that he plays. So to tell him to slow it down is probably impossible. But that's what he really needs to do. He needs to let the game come to him. I'm seeing him get a little bit more comfortable on defense, but even still, his defensive side of the ball has been very sketchy. I absolutely love the way that Anthony Davis has been playing. I think that we're okay. Obviously, we have two bad losses against OKC, 2 losses we shouldn't have on our name at all. But I think we'll be okay. I mean,
lost OKC twice.
We did lose, and
Wow.
we were up 20. We were up 26, and we were
19.
up. Yeah, there you go.
Oh wow.
We shouldn't have lost to them, and that's 2 losses that could take us from the 7th seed right now to the 2nd seed overall in the West. So again, I'm not overanalyzing it. I think we're going to be all right, and I'm happy that LeBron's out right now. I said it a little bit before. I'm happy he's out because we need to learn how to play without LeBron, and once we do that, we're going to be better off come playoff time.
You going or me?
You.
All right, bet. So what do I think of the Lakers? I mean, obviously they have 2 bad losses, but just Russell Westbrook's play. I mean, he's kind of erratic. Cause last night against Miami, he had a really great game. He was good in the clutch, 25, 12, 14. But then I looked 2 games before against Portland, 1 for 13, 8 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 7 turnovers. Then against Charlotte, 5 for 15. 17 points, 12 rebounds, 14 assists. So he's kind of like erratic with his play. I think the fate of this team kind of relies on him because with this what LeBron and Anthony Davis can deliver. They've delivered a championship, albeit not the same team, but the contributions of Carmelo Anthony, hopefully Malik Monk can sustain the shooting. They need to give these players that are good shooters that can space the floor. They need to give him some more time. But if Russell Westbrook can kind of find himself as that third option, as that man who can get a low-end triple-double, 20, 10, and 10, play efficiently and take care of the ball, I think this Lakers team will excel. But right now, I just think they're filling the process out. I agree with you. LeBron being out, that's going to force Russell Westbrook and Anthony Davis to kind of learn how to play together. I don't think LeBron is that hard to play with. He's played with other superstars before. He's modified his game for the better of the team. So I think that the fate of this team really relies on Russell Westbrook. If Russell Westbrook can be efficient, can get his triple-double, which he loves, but if he can shoot 44, 45% from the field, limit the turnovers and get his triple-doubles and make smart plays, I think the Lakers are a championship team.
Westbrook being efficient is a long shot, buddy.
I say 44. That's how bad it is. I think 44 to 45% is efficient for him.
It's very
Not
early in the season. And because of that, I'm not thinking too much about the Lakers' struggles.
Damn right.
So I just want them to get healthy. Those are my thoughts on the Lakers. I want them to get healthy. Kendrick Nunn, I want him to get healthy.
THT.
I want THC to get healthy. I want to see this team. I want to see this team finally go small and see how it looks at that point because they're still starting DeAndre Jordan. I want to see AD, LeBron, Melo, Nunn, Monk, Russ, Ariza, Ellington. I want to see all these guys, THT. I want to see how this teams look once they have all their perimeter players back so we can see how the shooting and the spacing looks.
For sure.
And because of that, I'm not looking too deep into the struggles right now or what they're not doing so well because there are so many injuries and the lineups they have out there right now aren't the lineups that they're going to have later on. Now, 4th question. This is from Hikari. Who has surprised you in the NBA this year? Could be a team or a player.
Got to be Washington. We just talked about it. Got to be Washington. I'll even shoot a player out there too, Miles Bridges. A guy who kind of rejected that contract and banked on himself, and now he's playing at a phenomenal level. He's improved in all aspects of the game. He's been kind of that sidekick for LaMelo. And like I said, Washington would probably be my surprise team because they've just shown the ability to come together and lock down on the defensive end that I didn't think they could do, and also maintain an average offense at this point where they can still win games and be effective on both sides. So my surprise team would be Washington, and my surprise player would be Miles Bridges.
I mean, it's got to be Washington, truthfully. The fact that they're the 1 seed, correct, right now?
Tied.
That is crazy to me, truthfully, because I had them being a lottery team, truthfully. I did not look at this roster and expect them to be as productive as they are on the defensive end of the ball. And I got to give them their credit. They've been the most surprising by far, and it's upsetting to me, truthfully.
So a team that surprised me obviously is the Washington Wizards, 8-3, tied for the number one spot in the East. But a player that's actually surprised me this year is DeMar DeRozan. I had no expectations for this guy so far into the season to be top 5 in the MVP race. I had no expectations for him to average close to 27 points per game and be a top 10 scorer in the NBA. I thought he would hover around his 21 points per game with the Bulls, being that Zach LaVine was going to be the leading scorer and Nikola Vucevic was going to be playing much better. So the surprise player for me this year has been DeMar DeRozan. I definitely didn't expect an MVP level leap so far to come out from him. But, he's the player that surprised me the most.
Zach's still almost averaging 26.
On a bad hand.
Bro, he's been insane too.
I got a surprise team and a surprise player. I'll start with my surprise player. My surprise player has been Grayson Allen. I think Grayson Allen right now is averaging 15 a game on great efficiency. The Bucks haven't been winning, but in the absence of Middleton and Drew Holiday in and out because of injury, he's definitely stepped up at that guard spot, especially since they thought they were going to get more out of Jordan Nora, and he really hasn't been as effective. My team is the San Antonio Spurs, and I say that because even though they have a 2-7 record, the record's not amazing, they play every single team tough every single night, and they easily can be a 7-2 team right now. That's how close their games have been. They have a positive point differential.
It's like plus 37.
This team isn't a bad team, and I think they can possibly get it going as the season progresses.
Did you guys see that stat that they have a plus 37? I think
versus another team, right?
I just point differential is plus 37. The Mavericks is -4.
It's weird.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that
blowout wins, blowout losses.
Yeah, exactly.
Great point. You made a great point right there. Knicks just lost to the Hornets.
Yeah, what's up?
I know.
I mean,
when I
what
saw
the
the score on the computer,
What?
I was like,
Really? But how much?
But you can't say that like the Hornets are slouches.
No,
They're
they were
not.
up, but they were
6 and
dominating
7,
the game.
True.
Like they were.
Damn.
You should beat them, bro.
You need a hug right now?
Nah, this is ridiculous.
How much I lost
Gordon
by?
Hayward had a really good game.
How much I lost by?
By like 8, but we were down 5 with 2 minutes left. So, I'm actually going on a Knicks podcast Monday.
With who?
Yeah. His name is Alex. He's a host of that pod. It's called the Knicks Jets podcast. He's a producer for Knicks Fans TV.
Dope.
He's a producer for there. So I'm going on their podcast and
Let's go.
talk about the Knicks and stuff.
We're about to yap it
Talk
up.
about their woes.
Yeah, talk about how bad they've been as a recent.
you lost.
It's all right,
So
bro.
you
They're
guys-
going to bounce back.
So you guys lost again.
Yeah.
Rough.
Third seed still?
Early in the season, I'm not too worried.
What's the
about
record?
7 and 6.
All right.
6 losses. Rough.
Boston's beating Milwaukee.
Oof. Damn.
Can't relate.
Cannot.
We beat y'all though,
You definitely did. You'd never beat us again.
and then when we go, we're not going to the Bulls game, but Knicks Nets.
Can't wait. I'm excited.
Hopefully for you. You need it more than me. Nah, his team needs it, bro. His team's 7 and 6.
Yo, now your dad got 6 losses. That's hilarious.
They beat you though.
Yeah,
Hey,
we
I
beat
can't
y'all.
talk. We're
So you're not
7-5.
better than us though.
But we beat y'all.
But you're not better.
But
Are
we
you better
beat
than
you
us
guys.
though?
Yeah, we are better
So
than
you're
you
so you're a championship contender. People are looking at you as a contender. You're the
People
favorites
are
everywhere.
definitely looking.
Stop, bro. Stop talking.
People are looking.
Yo, go on with the show, bro. They're not doing anything. They're not doing
wait.
So they're contenders, bro. Are you kidding me right now? Out there walking out
Relax,
saying they're contenders, bro.
relax,
Oh, I was about to
relax.
say you wildin', bro.
Wait. Shh.
You
people
wildin'.
are looking at you guys as contenders. So why are you jumping in my face as if people are looking at the
Nah,
Nets as contenders?
because you like, yo, we better than you.
Because you tried to be
like,
funny.
we beat you.
You was like, no, because you said
Yeah,
they
I
beat
know,
y'all.
I
And I'm
did.
like, okay, but we beat y'all.
Yeah, but we're better than y'all. But we're
yeah,
better
they beat us. He could talk to me.
Are you better than us? But are you better than the Nets?
Yes.
Are you better than the Nets? You are?
Yes. We have a better record. We have a better record, and we beat y'all.
We have the same amount of wins. What are you talking
Bulls
about?
are contenders. They're contenders
For what?
to go to the
Yo,
championship.
To go to the finals?
Yes.
I'm done, bro. All right, bro.
What are you contenders for?
All right, no.
Why
go ahead,
can't
go
they
ahead,
be?
go on.
Why can't
that
they
just got
be?
me dumb
You think
tight,
KD
bro.
gonna carry
can't
out
they
to
be?
the
just got me
promised
dumb
land?
tight.
Or are you gonna
That-
tell us?
that-
Are you gonna tell us you're a
that-
foot away from winning the
That
series?
just
What are
got
you
me
gonna
dumb
do?
tight.
You gonna do that
He
again?
just said Chicago could go to the chip,
They
bro.
could.
All right, bro.
I don't know what are you talking about. Yeah, I can't.
All right, bro.
Why can't they?
Word. What do you mean word? They're not better than the Bucks when they're healthy. They're not better than the Heat. They're not better than the Nets. Like, who are they beating? What top 4 teams are they beating?
They might be better than.
I mean,
who knows?
Slow your roll because you're not better than the Bucks and you're not better than
The
the
Bucks
Heat.
are 6 and 6.
But
And
why
they're
can't
all
that
banged
apply to
up.
us?
They're
Wait a
all
minute.
banged up.
You
They're
see
all
how he
banged up.
flips
But
that?
wait, we're not better than the Bucks. We could beat the Bucks, bro.
You could, or you're
beat
a
the
foot,
Bucks.
or you're gonna be a foot away again.
Nah,
What you gonna
we're
tell
gonna be
me?
healthy this time. We're gonna beat them.
Oh,
We're gonna beat them.
healthy. You're healthy now.
We're gonna beat them. I hope we run into y'all.
With Harden
I hope
barely
we run
averaging-
into y'all.
I hope
It's
you
only
do,
been like 10 games.
I hope you do run into us.
I hope we run into y'all.
I hope you do run.
We're gonna
into
beat you in 5.
5.
Guaranteed.
Okay.
Watch.
Yeah.
Word.
I'm not worried.
Now you can't talk like Zach isn't like that.
Bro, nobody's saying Zach's not like that. You just said they're contenders though to win the championship.
Zach DeMar
Come on,
averaging
bro.
26 apiece.
You're not contenders right now.
How?
So it's like
we're 9-4. We're 9-4 right now.
They are contenders. Come
what
on.
are you
That's a
talking
bad
about?
team. See,
No.
What is his guy saying?
Because this is what blows.
So time out. You'll call the Bulls contenders before you call the Nets contenders? Yo, y'all are out of this world right now.
You're putting words in our mouth.
He said that.
No, you said listen. You said we're not contenders. Okay, fine. You can say that.
I started off by saying, let me clarify. I started off by saying that y'all weren't better than us.
The Bucks can be better than us. The Heat can be better than us. But the Bucks are better than y'all. And the Heat are also better than y'all.
The Heat aren't better than us.
Okay.
No way,
the Bucks are better than y'all. So it's like,
I don't know about that. I don't really know about that.
I don't know about that. They got this record right.
I don't know about that. We gonna see.
We gonna see what?
KD almost took him down by himself last year.
KD almost what?
He almost took him down by himself last year. James Harden's healthy. Yo, y'all better hope Kyrie don't come back, bro.
James Harden's healthy right now.
Y'all better hope Kyrie don't come back.
James Harden is healthy right now. He looks like what he looks like.
Have you seen James Harden the last 4 games? He's getting better. What are you talking about?
He hasn't even cracked. He's cracked 20 twice.
I don't know.
Y'all don't watch the games, bro.
Yeah, I know.
We're talking about.
We don't watch the games. I watched the game against y'all. We whipped y'all ass. We put 40 on y'all.
That's fine. Y'all also lost to the Knicks.
Yeah, y'all lost to us.
Yeah, but when you play, so when you play us again, you go win. Why can he talk to you? His team's 7-6. What are you talking about? You're crazy. You're crazy. Yo, I'm gonna pop it off. I'm gonna end it like this, bro. If y'all see us in the playoffs, y'all getting smoked in 5. I guarantee you. And we could bet any amount of bread that you want on that.
Did you beat us?
You could bet any amount of bread you want that we gonna beat you. That's fine. In a regular season game, bro. Put any amount of bread that y'all beating us, bro. That's all I'm saying.
James Harden notorious.
Wait, he's saying regular season game like the Nets are a big time matchup in a playoff game. You gotta relax, bro, because y'all ain't been shit just like us. So please slow your roll over there, bro. Like don't do that because you talking about regular season game.
We're contenders because we're contenders right now. Because you hype because your team 8-3, bro. It's like 12 games.
I'm gonna be excited.
So when other people was hype for their
team, you've been
team,
at the bottom of the barrel too.
Not last year, I wasn't.
Okay,
and this year I'm not gonna be bottom of the barrel either.
You said that last year.
Y'all was in the playoffs last year.
But now we're back. So what's
talking about?
Now we're lit. We're lit.
All right. So when you play us in the playoffs, we gonna see what's up. We gonna see what's up. We gonna see what's up, bro. We gonna see what's up. I can't wait for that.
You said 5, right?
We gonna humble y'all. You gonna humble that little bullshit y'all got going over there in Chicago real quick.
Ain't humbling nothing.
Get that Alex Caruso bullshit out of here in the playoffs. Yo, come see us in the playoffs. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
Joe Harris?
You know I don't like Joe Harris.
Blake Griffin?
You know I don't like Joe Harris.
Bruce Brown?
What do you mean?
You're playing Javon Carter 20 minutes to run around and do nothing. You need to relax off the Caruso
Javon Carter. We haven't been playing the last couple of games. What are you talking about? Bro, we have Kevin Durant.
Better than every single one of your role players.
Like, come on, bro. Come on. He's except maybe Patty Mills. He's better than everybody.
He is.
That's fair.
Yeah, it is.
I ain't gonna lie though. You called him a contender though. You're wildin'.
I'm not.
You're wildin'. No, you're absolutely wildin'.
I mean, we beat.
You're absolutely.
Defensively, they
bro,
got
it's
it.
10 games, bro.
They got it.
We smoked the contenders.
So that's gonna do it for this episode of the Pick Aside Podcast.
Let's see what y'all do tonight against the Warriors.
You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Pick Aside Podcast, on Twitter at Pick Aside Pod.
Wait till we play again.
Thank you guys for listening or watching, and we'll see you next time.